never would have imagined that the queen of the Silver Dragon clan, my enemy for a decade, was actually a white-haired, mature beauty. And the first thing she did to get her revenge on me was to give birth to a pair of human-dragon hybrid twin daughters, and forcibly turn me from a dragon slayer into a dragon knight. It was all because I had cast the curse of blood on her while I was imprisoned. After tasting my blood, her whole body grew feverish. As the queen of the Silver Dragon clan, how could she willingly suffer such humiliation? Moreover, the dragon race had always followed a rule of monogamy, and from that moment on, she lost the possibility of finding a partner of her own kind. What made her hate me even more was that, in the end, I chose to die. You wretched man, I will make you pay back the humiliation you inflicted on me tenfold. From now on, you will obediently raise my children for me. As it turned out, dragons were the strongest race on this continent. Although few in number, they were masters of ancient magic. But humans were the dragon's greatest enemy. The human-dragon war had lasted for over 100 years, with countless casualties on both sides. But in the year 2024 of the Genesis era, I, as humanity's strongest dragon slayer, led an army to attack the Silver Dragon clan, determined to eliminate our #1 rival, the Silver Dragon Queen, Laswas. However, I was betrayed by my own compatriots and ended up as a captive of the dragons. At this moment, in the dungeons of the Silver Dragon clan, Laswas approached with the air of a victor, planning to thoroughly humiliate me. After dismissing her two subordinates, she looked at me with contempt. Is this the great dragon-slaying hero of humanity? How does it feel to be a prisoner of our dragon race now? I knew I could not escape death, so I told Laswas to give me a quick end. Otherwise, I will surely slaughter your entire dragon clan in the future. The Silver Dragon Queen chuckled. You wanna die? It's not that easy. As she spoke, she pinched my chin, sizing me up with a playful gaze. However, you are indeed a handsome and virile man. I'd like you even more if you had a few more scars on your face. As her fingertips scraped across my cheek, leaving a fine cut, I felt a twinge of pain and told Laswas to stop her humiliation. Kill me or torture me, whatever you want, just get it over with. But she lit the blood from her finger with amusement. You are so powerful. If you hadn't been framed by villains, you wouldn't be in such a sorry state. Why don't you surrender to our Silver Dragon clan from now on? Hearing this, I sneered. You want me to serve you, a she-dragon? Are you even worthy? The moment I finished speaking, a murderous glint flashed in Laswas's eyes. She immediately whipped her tail, slamming me heavily against the wall behind me. Before I could react, she stepped on me. You scrawny mutt, you dare be disrespectful to me? I gave you an inch and you took a mile, didn't you? Do you still think you're the great human hero celebrated by thousands? Stop daydreaming. Wake up. You're about to die here. You overconfident failure. Perhaps you could have had a chance for your descendants to enjoy a good life with you, but unfortunately, you, who will have no heirs, will never see that day. Laswas, do not underestimate humans. Suddenly, she began to wrap her dragon tail around my neck. Such a stubborn fellow. I'll let you suffer a bit first. With that, her tail tightened continuously. The intense feeling of suffocation nearly made me pass out. Finally, I gritted my teeth and spoke with difficulty. Your Majesty the Queen. Hearing this respectful title, Laswas thought I was about to beg for mercy. You made two mistakes from the very beginning. She was stunned upon hearing this. First, you shouldn't have been alone with me, the strongest dragon slayer. Second, you shouldn't have tasted my blood. After speaking, I immediately activated the curse of blood, and blood-red magical sigils appeared in my pupils. In the next second, the same magical sigils appeared in Laswas's eyes, and her tail subconsciously loosened from my neck. She hastily took 2 steps back. At this moment, Laswas only felt her body burning with heat, and her consciousness gradually blurred. An intense feeling of weakness caused her to collapse onto the ground. Why is my body out of control? What in the world is happening? I slowly walked up to her. Your Majesty the Queen, you will live your entire life in the agony brought by your soul. But just as I finished speaking, Laswas suddenly lunged into my arms, pinning me against the wall. I could feel her heart racing. Was she aroused? Laswas lifted my face and forcefully kissed me. After a long 2.5 hours, the magical sigils in Laswas's eyes began to fade. After regaining consciousness, she suddenly realized she was no longer pure and turned to roar at me fiercely. You bastard, what did you just do to me? But I explained to her with a very calm demeanor. I used a forbidden art on you, the curse of blood, which can only be used once in a lifetime. Because you tasted my blood, a soul link has been formed between us. If I die, the curse will plunge you into endless suffering. Laswas thought I was talking nonsense. If it's a curse that only takes effect after death, then why just now? I didn't expect an accident. The curse of blood had a side effect on you, making you. Before I could finish, Laswas shouted with a flushed face. You deadbeat scumbag. Shut up. Seeing that she had finally fallen into my trap, my mood instantly improved, and I didn't forget to tease her. As far as I know, your dragon race follows a rule of monogamy, right? After I die, not only will the great Silver Dragon Queen be unable to find a new mate, she also won't be able to have offspring, nor can she explain the reason for all this to the dragon race. It seems I really used this forbidden spell correctly. Listening to my heavy sarcasm, Laswas was both ashamed and angry. At this moment, I continued to rub salt in her wounds. Your Majesty the Queen, didn't you say I would have no heirs? And now, you will have no dragon successors either. Bastard, I'll kill you. Laswas furiously extended her dragon claws and attacked me, but I just mocked myself. You don't need to kill me yourself. myself, Your Majesty, this broken body of mine will die soon enough, and you, the high and mighty Silver Dragon Queen, will live your life in agony, filled with hatred for me. This is my curse on you. As a human, Laswas immediately stopped her attack because she was now extremely conflicted. A mere human had actually used such a despicable method for revenge. Seeing that I had already fallen unconscious, she kicked me angrily a few times. You want to take advantage of me and then just die? In your dreams. With that, she used a special healing magic of the Silver Dragon clan to treat me, who was on the verge of death. Unknowingly, I slept in the Dragon Fortress for 2 years. In my dreams, I recalled my short yet legendary life. At the age of 5, to save the little girl next door, I killed a vicious dog with my bare hands and was spotted by a top dragon-slaying master who took me in as his disciple. At 14, I graduated from the Dragon-Slaying Academy with the highest evaluation in its history. At 15, I stepped onto the dragon-slaying battlefield, killed countless evil dragons, reclaimed territory, and accumulated numerous military honors. From then on, I was called the strongest dragon-slaying hero by humanity, the only hope to end this war. Until later, I became the captive of the Silver Dragon Queen. Perhaps it was my inner unwillingness to accept my fate that awakened me from my deep sleep. I was surprised to find myself in a strange and luxurious room. At that moment, a little girl appeared at the door, looking at me curiously. You're awake? Seeing such a cute little girl, my boyish heart was instantly captured, but I quickly fell into contemplation. It must be because of my great contributions to humanity that I could reach heaven after death. You must be a legendary little angel, right? The little girl was a bit confused because her mother had never taught her what an angel was. I, on the other hand, looked at her with a doting gaze. Little angel, what's your name? She happily said 2 words, Mune. I smiled after hearing it. That's a really nice name, but why is this angel's hair color a bit strange? Black hair with a bit of white. At this moment, Mune said that her mother gave her the name, and it means moon. I was a bit puzzled. Angels have mothers? But I also told her my name. My name is Leon Kasmod. Mune looked excited. I know, Leon means lion. My mommy told me. This couldn't help but make me even more curious. I quickly asked Mune, your mommy is? When I heard the name Laswas from her mouth, I instantly turned to stone, and a bad premonition suddenly arose in my heart. With a slight tremor, I pointed my hand at myself. Mommy is Laswas, then I am. Before I could finish, Mune blurted out, your daddy. Seeing her serious little face, my heart felt as if it had been struck by a thunderbolt. She was actually my child with the Silver Dragon Queen, but I'm a dragon slayer. Just then, Mune saw her mother approaching and called out, Mother. I quickly turned my head to look. It really was Laswas, but her expression was extremely cold. Mother, Daddy is awake. Mune wagged her little tail and happily ran over to hug her. Suddenly, Laswas's gaze shifted to me, and the corner of her mouth lifted. You're finally awake. Mother must be very happy to see Daddy awake, right? Because you came to visit Daddy every day. Hearing Mune's words, she gave a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Yes, that's right. Mommy loves Daddy very much. Mune, you go out and play for a while. I have something to say to your daddy. After sending her daughter away, Laswas slammed the door shut and locked it with her tail, then moved closer to me. Well, do you like the daughter I gave you? I was so scared I took a few steps back. You should hate me to the bone. Why did you give birth to the child? And why did you save me? Laswas sneered. Did you think that after sleeping for so long, I would forget what you did to me? I will make you suffer for the rest of your life. Upon hearing this, I was both angry and afraid. I didn't want to do that back then. Humans and dragons are different. We can't coexist. Under normal circumstances, I would never have touched you. Hearing this, Laswas brought her face close to mine. Are you saying that touching me is a form of torture for you? I replied with a serious face. Of course. Laswas wrapped her dragon tail around my calf. Then with a forceful pull, I lost my balance and fell onto the bed. Laswas ripped off my shirt, preparing to carve her exclusive dragon sigil on my body, completely ignoring how badly I was cursing her. With a light touch of her index finger, a dragon sigil appeared on my chest. Leon, this is my revenge on you. From now on, it will be your mark of shame, and you will never be able to leave me in this lifetime. When your fellow humans see the dragon sigil on your body, do you think they will see you as a great dragon-slaying hero, or as a traitor who defected to the dragons? At this moment, I was enduring the pain from the dragon sigil and questioned her. Why go to this extent? Laswas gently lifted my chin. Don't you understand yet? I want you to live in this shame for the rest of your life. To be relentlessly humiliated by me for the rest of your life. I never thought this was her so-called revenge. On the third day in the dragon fortress, 2 maids were happily gossiping in the hallway. The queen seems to be in a good mood today. You don't know, do you? Her husband suddenly woke up yesterday. I didn't expect that she-dragon to actually announce to the outside world that I was her husband. I couldn't help but worry. Could it be that this she-dragon has fallen in love with me? But her combat power is too fierce. Being with her, I'd die sooner or later. I will absolutely not stay here obediently to be punished by her. With this thought, I began to plan how to escape the dragon fortress. I then discovered that there were several dragon guards stationed at the entrance, making it obviously impossible to get out from there. What puzzled me, however, was that there were far fewer guards today, completely different from 2 years ago. Just then, I inadvertently noticed a hole in the wall nearby. Could this be a trap? But I can't worry about that now. I must leave this place no matter what. Even if it's a trap, I have to break out. Although my daughter daughter Myun is very cute. I can only temporarily entrust her to the care of that perverted she-dragon. Unexpectedly, as I was escaping, Myun, who was upstairs, saw everything. Mother, look, Daddy is so amazing. He's crawling through a doggy door. Myun excitedly pointed at the hole in the distant city wall, and Laswas, who was eating breakfast, chuckled lightly. I see him. Your daddy is quite amazing. Myun happily clenched her little pink fists. When is Mother going to fetch Daddy back? Myun wants to play with Daddy, but Laswas leaned over and placed her index finger on Myun's small mouth. You can't use a word like fetch back for Daddy. It would seem very impolite. Myun tilted her head, looking puzzled. Then what word should I use? A wicked smile appeared on Laswas's face. Of course, it's capture and bring back. After some time, I had already escaped the dragon fortress. I just needed to cross a few mountains to reach human territory. At this moment, I stopped, thinking that since I had run so far, that she-dragon probably wouldn't chase after me. But the moment I looked up, I saw Laswas in the sky, charging towards me. At this moment, she had transformed into a blue-eyed white dragon. You run pretty fast. With a boom, she landed and blocked my path. Laswas was very happy to play with me like this, because the reason the guards were so few was that she had moved them away, and she had also specifically left that doggy door for me. Although I knew it might be a trap, I didn't expect Laswas to catch up so quickly. She believed that returning to human territory now was useless, because with her mark, no one would acknowledge me as a dragon slayer anymore. But I stated that even being an ordinary person was better than being tormented by her every day. Unexpectedly, this angered her. You really don't know what's good for you. Laswas flapped her wings, instantly creating a fierce gust of wind. Then, with one claw, she grabbed me and soared into the sky. You she-dragon, let me go. Where are you taking me? Of course, I'm taking you back. After flying for 3 hours, we arrived near a border city of the Empire. Laswas suddenly released her dragon claws, and I fell directly from the high altitude. Fortunately, there was a forest below to cushion the fall, so I wasn't smashed into a pulp. This she-dragon, she's really ruthless. After getting up, I found that the brightly lit place below was a human town. At this moment, Laswas transformed back into her dragon-human form and stood beside me, seeing a long-lost human town. Do you think that by just stepping across, you can return to the human world? But Leon, you can't go back at all, even if it looks so close. As soon as she finished speaking, the dragon sigil on my chest suddenly flashed with a purple light. Seeing this, Laswas stepped forward to explain. I forgot to tell you, for two people marked with a dragon sigil, when one party wants to fight the other, the dragon sigil will react. Are you feeling your whole body heat up now? Your heart itching, finding it hard to resist that impulse? As she spoke, she placed her small hand on me. I looked at Laswas with disbelief. Are you insane, you she-dragon? Don't you see where we are? But she just smiled. I deliberately brought you here, in front of your own hometown, to make you understand what shame is. But do you think this can make me lose my conviction? Even so, I will wait patiently. When the time is right, I will return all the humiliation you've inflicted on me tenfold. Laswas paused for a moment, then smiled playfully. I'll be waiting for our fight to the death. 2.5 hours later, Laswas was particularly satisfied with my performance. I can give you a 9 out of 10 this time. One more point and you might get too proud. I, on the other hand, lay on the grass, listless and weeping. This dragon knight job is really not easy. At this moment, Laswas leaned close to my ear, and with a wicked smile, poked my chest with her finger. How about I bring you here to visit your old home every month? Terrified, I sat up. You think I don't know what's going on in that she-dragon brain of yours? Afterward, Laswas spread her huge dragon wings, ready to take me back to the dragon fortress, because our daughter was waiting at home. But I stopped her. I am a dignified dragon slayer. I refuse to be captured and taken back like prey. I will walk back. Behind me, Laswas chuckled. You men are really stubborn. From here to the Silver Dragon Sanctuary, it takes even me 3 hours. For you, it would take at least half a month. Can your weak body handle it? In response, I turned back and shouted at her. Don't underestimate human endurance. Then I'd like to see how long you can last. Laswas said as she folded her dragon wings. After walking for some time, I was already panting heavily. She followed haughtily behind. Can't walk anymore. If you beg me, I cut her off directly. Who said I'm tired? Can't you see I'm full of energy? The only thing I see that's hard on you is your mouth. Faced with Laswas's mockery, I had to swallow my pride. Just then, we both looked ahead. I realized that the passing soldiers were actually the dragon-slaying army. Just as I was about to rush forward to escape this she-dragon, I saw her face instantly darken. If I called for help, all those dragon slayers would die here. But the soldiers noticed us in the distance. Are you too lost? To avoid involving innocent people, I quickly smiled. We're just out for a stroll. But a soldier dismounted and walked over. He thought the forest was full of wild beasts and offered to give us a ride, introducing himself as Walker, captain of the 47th Squad of the Imperial Dragon-Slaying Army. I saw Laswas's face grow darker and darker. I hurriedly thanked Walker for his kindness. We've had self-defense training. We can protect ourselves. I then extended my hand, signaling him not to come closer. But Walker found me particularly familiar and asked if we had met somewhere before. This remark instantly made Laswas decide to kill them to silence them. I turned to see her gathering magical energy in her hand. I immediately clasped her small hand, then pulled her into my arms, and at the same time, I responded to Walker. Sir, you must have mistaken me for someone else. I just have a common face. My wife often gets it wrong too, right, dear? This move stunned Laswis on the spot. Then I whispered to her, pleading, I'll go back with you obediently. Just cooperate with me to get rid of them first. And so, Walker saw us displaying affection publicly and waved goodbye to us. Watching the dragon-slaying squad walk away, Laswis looked at me with disgust. You guy, have you hugged enough? Coming to my senses, I quickly let her go. She thought I was smart for not calling for help, but then suddenly pointed at me angrily. You need to be clear about your position. Even though we have a child, it doesn't mean I'm your wife. I responded disdainfully. That was just an act. I never thought of being your husband either. Laswis turned away haughtily. Let's go. There's still a long way to go. But my palm suddenly felt a sharp pain. It turned out that when I forcefully grabbed her hand just now, I was injured by the magical energy. Combined with my already weak body, I soon collapsed from exhaustion. Seeing me in this state, Laswis shook her head helplessly. Such a fragile human. With that, she began to transform back into her dragon form, a large amount of purple energy swirling around her. Then, she picked me up with her mouth, gently tossed me up, and after I landed on her back, Laswis flapped her huge dragon wings and flew towards the dragon fortress. The next morning, I slowly opened my eyes and saw my daughter Mian excitedly leaning over the bed. Daddy, you're awake. I sat up and scratched my head, asking her how I got back. Mian wagged her little tail and said, it was mother who brought daddy back. Sure enough, I was captured and brought back like prey in the end. At this moment, I noticed a bow-tie bandage on the wound on my palm. Could it be that she-dragon? Seeing my puzzled expression, Mian looked at me, seeking praise. I bandaged it for daddy. I couldn't help but fall into deep thought. I remember dragonologists saying that from a young age, dragons spend their entire lives in violence and bloodshed. Although Mian has obvious dragon features, she shows no hostility towards me and completely treats me as her father. Is this because she's a human-dragon hybrid? I immediately stroked her head and praised her for doing a great job. Mian is so cute. You can't be like your mother when you grow up. Unexpectedly, the she-dragon outside the door heard this. She asked with a displeased face, what's wrong with being like me? Startled, I quickly said, nothing. You heard wrong. Mian held up my hand for Laswis to see. Mother, Mian followed your instructions and bandaged daddy's wound. But she replied coolly, this is what you should do. I didn't expect Mian's mood to not drop at all after not receiving praise. It seems Laswis is a really strict mother. So I knelt down and stroked Mian's head. How about daddy plays a game with you? You go hide in the garden first, and I'll come find you after I count to 100. Mian was overjoyed. Great, daddy is going to play hide and seek with Mian. Then I started counting 1, 2, 3. Mian ran and said, daddy, count slower. After she darted out the door, I began to discuss our daughter's education with Laswis, feeling she was too strict with the child. But she thought it was normal. The dragon race has always been like this. Being strict with children from a young age cultivates strong warriors. But Mian isn't entirely a dragon, and besides, she's so cute. How can you bear it? Unexpectedly, Laswis said that cute is a derogatory term for dragons. After hearing this, I don't know what got into me, but I actually said she was cute too. Laswis's anger was thus ignited. She grabbed my clothes. You are just a slave for me to vent my anger on. Don't push your luck. Seeing her so angry, I subconsciously swallowed. After I submitted to her, Laswis's anger instantly dissipated. It's good that you understand. I am the king of the silver dragons. I have many political affairs to handle, so the task of raising the child is up to you. By the way, that child Mian seems to quite like you. When I arrived at the garden, the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Can a dragon king just not raise their own child? It's like I, this dragon slayer, was born to be responsible for raising children. At this moment, I suddenly saw a familiar figure hiding behind me. It must be Mian. This child is still too naive. Thinking I wouldn't find her like this, I quickly turned and pointed at her. Found you, Mian. But she just looked at me like I was a fool, and her attitude was completely different from before. I couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Could it be that the child is angry? Seeing her staring at me without speaking, I scratched my head and explained with a smile, sorry for making you wait so long. But before I could finish, she turned and ran away without looking back. Mian, what's wrong? After chasing her to a corner, I actually lost her. I couldn't help but marvel at how unpredictable a child's mood is. No wonder that she-dragon wanted me to be in charge of raising the child. Unbeknownst to me, Mian appeared behind me. Taking advantage of my inattention, she hugged my waist tightly. Mian caught daddy. Seeing my daughter, I was stunned for a moment and asked her, didn't you just run past from the front? But Mian had a question mark on her face. Daddy never came to find Mian, so Mian came out to find daddy. Hearing this, I guessed I must have seen wrong. Then Mian wanted to take me to see something up ahead. And behind us, the little girl who had just run away watched from a distance, clenching her small fists in anger. I followed Mian to a garden and watched her draw seriously. My soul felt so healed. Having a daughter is so good, but the thought of Laswis made me angry. Sooner or later, daddy will take you away from the clutches of that she-dragon. Soon, Mian held up the newly drawn picture and trotted to me. Daddy, look, it's a family portrait Mian drew. Before I even looked, I praised my daughter for her great drawing. But when I took the drawing and looked at it, I found that there were 4 people in this family portrait. So I pointed to one of the little girls and asked Mian, why are there 2 children in the drawing? Mian said, that's my older sister. As soon as she finished speaking, I was instantly stunned. How did I not know Mian had an older sister. It turns out I didn't just have one shot, one success. No wonder my sister was so angry when I called her by the wrong name in the garden just now and ran away. But Mian comforted me. I don't think sister is angry. She's just a little shy seeing daddy for the first time. Hearing her say that, I thought it made sense. I had never met my older daughter, so it was normal for us not to be familiar. I looked towards the distant silver dragon sanctuary. For such a big matter, why did that she-dragon hide it from me? I must go and ask her clearly. And in Laswas's study, she was dealing with the affairs of the silver dragon clan. Suddenly, a tap of footsteps from outside the door caught her attention. I opened the door and shouted her name. Before I could speak, she asked me, why is Immune with me? Of course she went to play with her sister. I'm asking you, why did you hide the matter of my older daughter from me? But Laswas just smiled calmly. You know now, don't you? Seeing her attitude of no remorse, I was instantly furious. I really have to thank you for working so hard to give me 2 children. When I return to my hometown in the future, I will definitely write your name, Laswas, in my family's genealogy. Her face darkened a little after hearing that, and she sneered haughtily. Do you know why I didn't tell you about the existence of our older daughter? I see you're jealous that I'm too close to Mian, so you won't let Noah acknowledge me as her father. Hearing me say that, Laswas's expression became solemn. Are you that anxious to see Noah? Isn't that obvious? How can I not see my own daughter? I'm not like you, a cold and strict mother. I need to cultivate a good relationship with her. But a wicked smile appeared on Laswas's face. Then don't you regret it? Not long after, in the kitchen, I plan to use food as the first step to get closer to my older daughter. Laswas, you just watch me today. I cooked a pot of fragrant cream stew. I once made this dish in my squad. Its sweet taste is particularly suitable for children. Just smelling this aroma, I knew my cooking skills had not rusted. I would definitely win Noah over. I could already imagine that happy scene. However, this scene was also seen by 2 maids outside. His Highness the Prince Consort, having just recovered from a serious illness, is personally cooking for his family. He's truly a good, family-oriented male dragon. At this moment, Laswas walked over with her 2 daughters in tow. She told the 2 maids they could go rest. You don't need to be on duty for tonight's banquet. Thank you, Your Majesty. And I was just walking out with the pot. You've come at the perfect time. We can eat now. I saw Mian trot over. Daddy, what's that smell? It's so fragrant. I heard you 2 love meat, so I specially made stew and steak for you. After speaking, I looked expectantly. Noah, do you feel Daddy's love? But I found her turning her head away in disgust, and she even snorted coldly. Seeing this, I was stunned. How is this completely different from what I imagined just now? Looking at the wicked smile of Laswas on the side, I estimated she had long anticipated this situation, which is why she never let me meet Noah. At this moment, Laswas asked her older daughter to introduce herself. Today is the first official meeting between you and your father. Yes, mother. Noah put her little hands on her hips and walked haughtily in front of me. I am Noah Melkwai, the eldest daughter of the Silver Dragon Queen Laswas, 1 year and 2.5 months old. I quickly knelt down to shake hands with my daughter. Hello Noah, my name is Leon Kasmod. I'm your daddy. I thought my polite greeting would leave a good impression on her, but Noah just gave a perfunctory "Oh, is this child holding a grudge against me?" Her attitude is so cold. Seeing this, Mian quickly tugged Noah's hand and whispered, Sister, say a little more. Don't make daddy feel awkward. Unexpectedly, Noah just crossed her little arms. He looks so weak. Is he really our daddy? Hearing these 2 sentences, I almost spat blood on the spot, as if a sharp sword had been thrust into my heart. What a filial daughter of mine. My career as a stay-at-home dad has just welcomed its first crisis, because I discovered that although my 2 daughters are twins, their personalities are completely opposite. Noah is obviously like her mother. I asked Noah with an expectant look, do you like the food daddy made? Unexpectedly, she spat out 2 words with a look of disgust. It's awful. This was the second blow I received from her today. Seeing my defeat, Laswas couldn't help but laugh out loud. Mian looked curious. Why is mommy so happy today? She smiled and told Mian, your daddy has finally reunited with our whole family. Seeing him so happy, I'm naturally happy too. Don't you think so, Leon? Why aren't you smiling anymore? At this moment, I really wished I could give this she-dragon a good talking to, but I could only force a smile. Being with my family, I'm very happy. At this moment, Mian raised her little hand and suggested, then can daddy have dinner with us every day from now on? Although I didn't want to eat with this she-dragon every day, I couldn't disappoint Mian. Before I could speak, Noah spat out 2 words. No. Mian looked at her sister in confusion. It turned out Noah wanted to go to the Young Dragon Department of St. Heath Academy. Laswas was a bit puzzled. The dragons there are all around 4 years old. Why are you in such a hurry to enroll? You're only 1 year and 2.5 months old. But Noah said she wanted to enroll early to defeat more dragon slayers. This remark almost choked me while I was eating. My own daughter wants to defeat me, her old father. So I told Noah, dragon slayers are very brave. You're so small, you'll get hurt trying to persuade her to give up the idea. But she just looked haughty again. Don't treat me like a child. I'm not as weak as you. After understanding Noah's true thoughts, Laswas actually agreed, believing that the earlier she learned skills, the sooner she could fight against dragon slayers. She then smiled and looked at me. Am I right, Leon? Or do you have any reason to stop Noah from going to school? Although I was gritting my teeth in anger, if I objected, Noah would hate me even more. It seems I can only gradually change her mind. In the end, I also agreed to this matter. Seeing her scheme succeed, Laswas was secretly delighted. I finally understood that this she-dragon wanted to use Noah to deal a spiritual blow to me during this dinner. The thought of this made me burn with anger. Laswas, you just wait. At this moment, she instructed Noah. The entrance test for St. Heath Academy will be in a month. During this month, your father will help you prepare. Noah nodded seriously after hearing this. As the family dinner ended, Mian happily showed her sister her full little belly. Seeing that Laswas was about to get up and leave, I quickly stopped her and pointed to the dining table. These still need to be cleaned up. Laswas was stunned. Does the mighty silver dragon queen need to wash dishes? Let the servants do these small things. But I told her, after dinner, the husband and wife cleaning up together is the way to a warm and harmonious family. Then I leaned close to her ear and whispered, don't you want to create a harmonious family atmosphere in front of your daughters? Now is a good opportunity. Laswas looked at Mian's expectant little eyes and finally chose to compromise. She sighed helplessly. Then let's clean up together. Mian raised her hand and said she wanted to help too. What a good daughter of mine. But she was directly dragged away by Noah. Sister, where are you taking me? After Laswas finished washing the dishes, she was a bit unhappy and asked me when I would come over to help. I looked at her with a serious face. Do you still remember what I said to you 2 years ago? Never be alone with a powerful dragon slayer. The dragon sigil on Laswas's chest flashed with a purple light. She quickly turned around and asked me what I wanted to do. Don't you know what I want to do? In the wild before, I was controlled by your dragon sigil and played with at your whim. But now it's different. But she thought I wanted to use this trick to escape and immediately whipped her tail at me. I easily blocked the blow with a punch and immediately grabbed her dragon tail. Who told you I was going to escape? At this moment, Laswas couldn't help but let out a scream. Her little face instantly flushed and her legs went weak, causing her to collapse onto the ground. You guy, your majesty, can't use your strength, can you? At this moment, I was pinching her tail with an arrogant look. It was because the dragon sigil made Laswas's tail incredibly sensitive. She was now just a little she-dragon for me to bully. But thanks to the new knowledge I discovered in the dragon lore books, I brought my face close to Laswas. Your dragon race craves to conquer and control everything. But have you ever been conquered? Today, I'll let you experience the feeling of being conquered. I saw Laswas panting heavily and demanding that I let go of her tail. But how could I let go of such a good opportunity today? Since I woke up last time, my dignity has been ruthlessly trampled under your feet, and you often make fun of me. How about we switch roles tonight? Thinking about what was about to happen, Laswas was both ashamed and angry. You bastard, you won't die a good death. Just then, the footsteps of two maids were heard from outside the door. I wonder if Her Majesty's loving time after dinner is over. As soon as they opened the door, they were stunned by the clean and tidy dining room. Even the plates are so shiny. The prince consort must have cleaned them, right? However, the conversation of the two maids was all heard by us hiding in the utility room. Seeing Laswas about to make a sound, I immediately pinched her chin. You don't want the maids outside to discover the high and mighty queen has become like this, do you? Until the two maids left the dining room, Laswas did not make a sound. My dear wife, you did very well. Now let's begin. The human-dragon war was over. Time came to the third day. My two daughters were looking at me, lying unconscious in bed. Daddy hasn't woken up for 3 days. Could he be dead? Noah said. Let's try and see. With that, she stepped on my face. The pain made me let out a thump. Noah crossed her little arms and said wickedly, not quite dead yet. I was speechless after hearing that. Is this how you treat your own father? And Mian, seeing me open my eyes, looked happy and turned to shout at Laswas not far away. Daddy's awake again. At this moment, I was completely bewildered. When did I pass out? Laswas glanced at me with her cold eyes. Do you need me to help you recall? As soon as she finished speaking, I suddenly remembered. After the great battle that night, the dragon sigil became ineffective, and as a result, I was severely beaten by her. I couldn't help but marvel. This she-dragon is really ruthless. If it were an ordinary person, they would have died several times under her claws. I just quietly looked at Laswas's side profile and found that she was still quite beautiful, although she was already a she-dragon over 200 years old. Mian stared at me with a puzzled look. Didn't Daddy just wake up? Why isn't he moving? Noah, however, snorted disdainfully. He's just dumbfounded looking at Mother. At this moment, Laswas accidentally knocked over the flower on the table. I quickly bent down to pick it up and thoughtfully put it on for her, wanting to establish a good husband image in front of her. This flower suits you well. But Laswas turned her head with a wicked smile. You actually have such a meticulous side? You haven't done this for other women, have you? Faced with her sarcasm, I wouldn't be polite either. Of course, I spent 2.5 years combing the fur of my master's she-donkey when I was a child. I'm very skilled. Mian on the side asked me with a curious little face. Daddy, what's a donkey? So I gestured to her in a lifelike manner. A donkey is similar to a dragon, 2 ears and 1 tail, but very stubborn. When it's unhappy, it likes to huff and puff, just like your mother. As soon as I finished speaking, Laswas quickly glared at me, then violently elbowed me, making me cry out in pain. Mian saw this and asked with concern, Daddy, are you okay? At this moment, Laswas gave her 2 daughters a task. Let Daddy teach you how to write your names. Mian was happy after hearing this. I can play with Daddy again. But Noah had a look of disdain. I can write it myself. I don't need him to teach me. Before she could finish, Mian excitedly pulled her to the study to find some nice colored pens. After the 2 daughters left, Laswas Laswas told me that her older sister would be visiting her today and asked me not to go anywhere except to accompany my daughters. To this, I gave a wicked smile. What? Are you afraid to let me see your sister? She leaned close to my ear. Leon, know your place. You are just a male dragon who married into the Silver Dragon clan. You are not yet qualified to meet my family. If it comes to a point where you absolutely must meet them, you must also act according to the identity I have created for you. Understand? Got it, Your Majesty. However, I just perfunctorily agreed on the surface. Looking at Laswas's departing back, I already had other ideas in my mind. You she-dragon, you really think I'll be obedient? I will definitely make you lose face in front of your sister. I went to the children's study in the Silver Dragon Sanctuary to teach my two precious daughters how to write their names. I handed the written notes to my daughters and let them practice writing them a few times. Mian happily wagged her little tail, while Noah still had a haughty look, picked up the note and glanced at it, even saying that my writing was not as good as my mother's. I have started to get used to her attitude. Then I stood up to take care of some business. Mian asked me with confusion what I was going to do. I made an excuse that I had forgotten to give something to their mother just now, and I was going to pay her back double. Before leaving, I didn't forget to remind my two daughters, Daddy will be back to check later. Noah, however, whispered to Mian, is he a fool? But Mian giggled and said, Sister, you seem a little happy. The stubborn Noah quickly denied it. Let's hurry up and write. However, her little face was flushed, and she felt particularly warm inside. Meanwhile, at the gate of the Silver Dragon Sanctuary, the Red Dragon Queen, Isha Melkwai, had arrived. She wore a gorgeous and noble red dress, and her figure was also perfect. Laswas took the initiative to embrace her. Long time no see. Isha began to make small talk. I missed you so much. My good sister, it's been 2 years. You look so much more radiant. Hearing this, Laswas touched her warm little face. Isha asked with a puzzled look, I heard your husband has woken up. Why don't you come out to meet him together? Laswas smiled awkwardly. He's not feeling well today, so we can't meet for now. Isha felt it was a bit of a pity after hearing this. I wanted to see what the Dragon King who stole my sister looks like. She smiled wickedly and brought her face close. For a long time, the union of Dragon Kings has been for the sake of benefit and the clan, with no love to speak of. But you and your man got married and had a child so quickly. Your feelings must be very strong, right? After hearing this, Laswas turned her head away haughtily. Does getting married and having offspring mean our feelings are strong? I haven't fallen for him, and I never will. Seeing her little face turning red, Isha knew that her sister was still as stubborn and prideful as ever. Then Laswas took Isha's arm, preparing to go for a walk and chat in the garden, and the figures of the two Dragon Kings were being watched by me all along. So this is Laswas's sister. At this moment, I planned to activate the Dragon Sigil to see how far its influence could reach. After a casual chat with her sister, Isha brought up the purpose of her visit. The Dragon territory has been a bit unstable lately, especially that Red Flame Dragon King. That guy has been very active. Laswas's brow suddenly furrowed. Is it Constantine? I remember he hasn't shown his face for many years. Isha believed he was a hot-tempered fellow, and perhaps he wanted to take the opportunity to expand his own territory. Just then, the Dragon Sigil on Laswas's chest reacted, flashing with a faint purple light. Her expression suddenly darkened. Of all times, Isha quickly asked her what was wrong. Are you not feeling well somewhere? Laswas forced herself to endure the reaction of the Dragon Sigil on her chest and smiled at her sister. You just continue. Although her outward appearance was calm, Laswas was actually cursing me inwardly. That damn Dragon Slayer, he really has no bottom line when it comes to disgusting me. Isha continued, to be on the safe side, we need to strengthen our border defenses. If there are any new movements over there, I will also send a messenger dragon to contact you. But Laswas didn't hear a word of it. She kept biting her lip, swallowing, and her legs were slightly clenched. She only felt the effect of the Dragon Sigil getting stronger and stronger. If this continued, Isha turned her head and asked with concern, are you really okay? Why is your face so red? Laswas was feeling extremely uncomfortable at this moment. She quickly told her sister she had an urgent matter to attend to and would be back in 20 minutes. Do you want me to go with you? No need, sister. After Laswas left, Isha covered her mouth and smiled wickedly. So it's the Dragon Sigil. Young people these days really play around. On the other side, I was comfortably lying down and sunbathing. You little she-dragon, I'd like to see how long you can endure. Laswas, filled with murderous intent, burst in, startling me. Why are you back so soon? She was very angry and pulled at my clothes. You deliberately chose this time for the Dragon Sigil to resonate, just to make me lose face in front of my sister? Seeing her fierce look, I put on a wronged expression and said, is it wrong for me to miss you? Laswas subconsciously let go, her little face instantly flushing red, which was particularly noticeable against her snow-white skin. Her heart was also racing. She covered her mouth and took a few steps back. I was secretly pleased. It seemed to have a good effect. At least she was disgusted by me now. Unexpectedly, Laswas began to mock me. Shameless, a defeated captive saying such garbage. Put away your thoughts. I came here to deal with him. How did I get flustered by his few words? The more I look at this bastard in front of me, the more pleasing he is to the eye. If we waste any more time, 20 minutes probably won't be enough to finish things. Laswas turned her head and snorted coldly. You're lucky this time. If there's a next time, I won't let you off. But I was making small gestures behind her back. I'm so scared. After Laswas left, I touched my chin and couldn't help but marvel. A single flirtatious line could take her down. It seems this dragon sigil effect is still very strong. But why does my little heart beat so fast when I think of her face? I quickly slapped my face, trying to force myself to calm down. Don't think about unnecessary things. My 2 daughters are still waiting for me to go back. And at this moment, Myun was waiting a little bored. Why isn't Daddy back yet? Noah, on the other hand, was seriously practicing writing. On the other side, at the gate of the Silver Dragon Sanctuary, the Red Dragon Queen Isha was also about to go home. She waved goodbye to her sister with some regret. Next time, you must let me meet your husband. Alright, we'll talk about it next time. Sister, be careful on your way. After seeing her sister off, Laswas's face immediately became stern. Damn Dragon Slayer, I haven't taught you enough of a lesson. I must punish you properly tonight. Meanwhile, I sneezed hard in my room, thinking it must be that she-dragon cursing me again. Seeing the 2 daughters already asleep in bed, I tucked them in and quietly walked out of the room. But suddenly, a slender, jade-like hand slapped on the door with a thump. Laswas looked at me with a displeased face. Where are you trying to run off to? I turned my head and smiled awkwardly. This she-dragon had come to seek revenge. Has your sister left? Laswas gritted her teeth in anger. Didn't we have something we haven't done today? Then let me reward you properly. Come with me. With that, she dragged me towards the bedroom, not caring whether I was willing or not. Is it going to be another human-dragon war tonight? But it turned out she wanted me to bring in a basin of hot water. Just as I was confusedly asking her what she wanted the hot water for, Laswas slowly extended her foot, her eyes lazy, with a hint of fatigue in her brows. I'm tired from walking today. You wash my feet. I was stunned for a moment after hearing that. Wash your feet? In your dreams. Laswas looked down at me with a queenly posture. Less nonsense. Just do as you're told. This is your punishment for what you did today. If you're not willing, then go lie down in bed. I have other ways to punish you. Helpless, I had no choice but to obey. I gently lifted her foot and took off her high heels. I never thought that I, the strongest dragon slayer, would now be reduced to a she-dragon's foot-washing slave. Looking at this big foot, the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Damn she-dragon, she really knows how to enjoy herself. Who knows how many dragon slayers this pair of feet has trampled to death. Laswas noticed I was staring at her foot, and the corners of her mouth were smiling. Is this guy a pervert? The thought of it was disgusting. Flustered, she subconsciously retracted her foot. I suddenly used force and roughly pressed her whole foot into the water. Soaked in the scalding hot water, Laswas screamed in pain. It's burning me. Leon, you bastard. As she spoke, she kicked me to the ground. Her anger ignited. She immediately stepped on my chest and questioned if I was being defiant and deliberately trying to get revenge on her. Seeing Laswas's furious look, I chuckled. Didn't you ask me to help you wash your feet? Seeing my arrogant face, she decided to teach me a lesson. You never thought one day you'd be stepped on by a dragon, did you? So how do you feel now? She applied a little force, and my face turned red at that moment. You she-dragon, get your foot off me. Laswas snorted coldly. I'd like to see how long you can endure. So I without hesitation grabbed Laswas's foot, revealing a wicked smile. Thank you, your majesty, for your reward. I've never eaten a dragon's hoof in my life. She was startled after hearing that. What do you want to do? Before she could finish, I bit down with a mouthful of white teeth. Extra meal tonight, raw-gnawed dragon claw. I have to say, after washing it clean, it smells pretty good. In the next second, Laswas's painful scream echoed throughout the entire dragon fortress. I'll fucking kill you. The next morning, the 2 daughters were both up. Myun rubbed her watery big eyes and looked puzzled. Mother, why are you limping when you walk? And why is your foot bandaged? Then she turned to stare at my swollen face. Why is your face all black and blue? After we both said it was nothing, Myun started to turn her little brain, then had a sudden realization and excitedly raised her little hand. You must have been playing some fun game without Myun, right? Myun wants to join in too. Seeing her sister's naive look, Noah was speechless. What a simple child. Laswas took the initiative to take me for a walk in the garden, but we kept a certain distance and didn't say a word. 2 dragon maids watched from a distance. The queen and the prince consort are on a date. Why does it feel like her majesty and the prince consort don't seem to know each other very well? Don't talk nonsense. They've already had 2 little princesses. How could they not know each other? The reason we became like this is because half an hour ago, Laswas took the initiative to ask me to go for a walk with her. I was very surprised. Her reason was to maintain a false image of a harmonious family in front of outsiders, and she also said this was what I should do, but I always felt that something was not right with her. She usually never takes the initiative like this. Could she be up to some new trick? Unexpectedly, our date was seen by our 2 daughters. Myun complained with a sense of disappointment. Daddy is so dumb. He can't even hold hands. Myun is going to help them. Saying so, she clenched her fists and trotted over, leaving them alone. Noah hadn't even finished her sentence before Myun had run far away. Mother, I turned my head and saw it was Myun, running over happily. I curiously asked Myun how she got here, but she said nothing, took my hand and Laswas's hand with her left and right hands, and then put them together. Daddy and mother should always hold hands like this and walk on. After speaking, she skipped away to find her sister to play. I couldn't help but wonder who Myun learned these things from. Noah pinched her sister's baby fat on her face. You really did it on purpose. Woo, Myun was wrong. I won't do it again. Sister, please let go. My hand and Laswas's were held together, as if an electric current current flowed through my body from my palm. Laswas's little face turned red. Let's just hold hands like this. This was probably the first time she had held a man's hand in her 200 years of life. She seemed to have become particularly gentle today, which made me a little unaccustomed, but she thought I had been tamed by her. Now that we get along well, I'm not used to it. At this time, the two daughters were secretly observing from behind a tree, Myun smiling sweetly. Laswas had always been a queen in front of others. I never thought she would be swayed by something as small as holding hands. Perhaps her image as a strict mother was also just because she didn't know how to get close to her children. I asked her why she made both her daughters call her mother in person. Laswas frowned. Is there a problem? I told her. According to the normal way of address, daddy is paired with mommy. Myun has always called me daddy, but calls you mother, which makes them seem a bit distant from you. Laswas mumbled, mother and mommy. Is there really a big difference? So I smiled and made a bet with her. As long as you let Myun and Noah change their address for you to mommy, see if they become more willing to be close to you than they are now. Laswas's expression suddenly showed she understood. Got it. I'll try it next time. Saying so, she pulled me forward. Suddenly she asked me if I missed home, but she couldn't let me go back. But there was something that could alleviate my homesickness. Arriving at the warehouse door behind the sanctuary, Laswas took out a string of keys, saying the thing was inside the warehouse. Seeing the scene before me, I exclaimed, this is a dragon's treasure hoard. I carefully examined a delicately crafted bracelet, my eyes shining. If this were in the Empire, it would sell for at least several 100,000 gold coins. Laswas explained, this is the bracelet my grandmother gave me for my coming-of-age ceremony. Besides spoils of war, there are also some things here that are meaningful to me. Hearing this, I was a little curious. Besides your sister, why have I never heard you mention other family members? It turned out that Laswas had never seen her parents since she was a child. She and her sister were raised by their grandmother. I felt her situation was similar to mine, because I grew up in an orphanage and never saw my parents either. It was my master and his wife who adopted me. I then asked Laswas, what did you bring me here to see? I saw her opening a treasure chest. Inside is something that can temporarily make you forget your worries. I looked inside the chest and my eyes widened in shock. It was my long-lost companion of 2 years, the black gold armor. It was an armor forged by the top craftsman of the Empire, which had accompanied me on countless campaigns, shielding me from fatal injuries numerous times. I felt like I was dreaming. Are you really giving it to me? But as soon as I touched the helmet, a zapping sound was heard. A huge dragon sigil actually appeared under my feet. I immediately questioned her what she had done. Laswas showed a triumphant smile. I've attached an attribute-enhancing dragon sigil to the surface of your armor. The moment you touch the armor, it can be activated. I immediately felt the dragon sigil on my chest becoming more and more restless. What a careless mistake, you despicable little she-dragon. However, Laswas just smiled contemptuously. 2 dragon sigils, double the experience. She slowly knelt down and lifted my chin with her hand. My dear dragon slayer, can you handle it? Laswas, you. With a slap, she pushed me down flat on the ground, my body completely unable to move. Laswas smiled. My acting skills are not bad, right? I couldn't help but roar at her. Were all those things you said to me today fake? You, like me, have never seen your parents. You would let Myun and Noah call you mommy, and holding hands. Although it wasn't the first time being a dragon knight, I could barely tolerate it, but I couldn't tolerate her deception. Those were all real, but that doesn't affect what I'm about to do to you. What did you say to me before? Didn't you say I like to conquer? It's finally over. She quietly admired my stubborn, resolute, and handsome face. I couldn't help but ask her, what do you want to do? You're still as good looking as you were 2 years ago. The scar on your face has faded a little, but it has added a bit of haggardness and vicissitude, making you look more like a mature man. As she spoke, she pinched my little face. The simple touch had already stirred the fire deep within me. I desperately held onto my last shred of rationality and turned away. Pa, trying to humiliate me again. I won't fall for your tricks again, you she-dragon. Laswas snorted lightly. You've gotten smart so quickly. Hearing those 2 words, I subconsciously turned my head to look at her. She smiled playfully. Your body is not as good as it used to be. Your body is not as good as it used to be. Body not as good as before. Not as good as before. As before. The next morning, I was awakened by a knock on the door. I got dressed and went to open the door, thinking it was Myun, but outside was actually Laswas and Noah, and her stubborn donkey daughter. Looking at my dark circles, Laswas greeted me politely. Looks like you didn't sleep well last night. I gritted my teeth in anger. Isn't it because of what you said? Laswas had a gloating look on her face. I don't remember. Little Noah looked at us from behind, unable to help but complain in her heart. Here we go again. I looked at Laswas. Is there something? Didn't Noah say a few days ago that she wanted to go to the Young Dragon Department of St. Heath Academy? The academy has very strict entrance tests. From today on, you will properly tutor Noah on the knowledge of the dragon race. Saying so, she leaned close to my ear and whispered, after all, with your current physical condition, you can only contribute in other areas for now. Hearing this, I was furious. Damn it, I was just not in a good state yesterday. I will definitely get Noah to pass the test, but in the same way, I want to exchange it for something of equal value from you. After a brief thought, Laswas made a concession. I can agree to that, but your request can't be too outrageous. It's a deal. Laswas smiled with satisfaction and waved goodbye. Then you two study hard. Before leaving, she added another jab. Don't Don't get too tired. Oh, she-dragon, are you ever going to stop? After Laswas left, Noah was a little puzzled. Why are you fighting with mommy? We're not, just a daily exchange. Wait, what did you just call her? I didn't expect Noah to have changed her address to mommy. My eyes lit up, and I excitedly knelt in front of Noah. Did she ask you to change back to calling her that? Do you like the old or the new address? Noah answered seriously, Mommy, I told you, you'll definitely like it. Although this she-dragon is a bit scheming, her efficiency is still there. Noah looked at me, who had suddenly become inexplicably happy, and felt a hint of fatherly love in her heart. Then she trotted haughtily, when can we start studying? Noah, slow down, wait for me. We stayed in the children's study until late at night. At this time, Laswas walked into the room. Yo, still not asleep so late? I calmly replied, because Noah has a strong ability to learn and comprehend. Simple teaching is no longer suitable for her. I plan to organize some key knowledge points combined with test questions to teach her. Thank you for giving birth to our daughter so smart, so I have the confidence to get her through the test within a month. Laswas sneered. That's inevitable. Noah takes after me. I was slightly stunned after hearing that. That's not necessarily true. I used to be a dragon-slaying genius who graduated with first place in both written and practical exams every year, winning all the highest level scholarships in the school. Then I looked into Laswas's eyes. So, Your Majesty, what championships have you won? Laswas was choked speechless. She really didn't expect me to be a top student. She had always thought I was just a reckless brute who only knew how to fight, but she would never praise me to my face either. Faced with my question, Laswas said lightly, so amazing? Then how did you still become my captive? This remark directly broke my defense. It's true that one misstep can lead to eternal regret. A tiger falling into a flat land can be bullied by a dragon. Laswas giggled and covered her small mouth. You're probably ridden by a dragon. Suddenly, her gaze noticed the yellow chili pepper on the table. She couldn't help but frown and ask me what I was doing with it. I told her I got it from the kitchen to help me stay awake. This is a dragon's yellow chili pepper. A human like you probably can't handle it. Before she could finish, I had already taken a bite and chewed it. My little face instantly flushed red. The stimulating sensation from that perverted chili pepper was like someone had stuffed a hot charcoal in my mouth. So spicy. Water, water, water. Is there any water here? I searched all over the children's room but couldn't find any. Laswas suddenly cupped my face with both hands, forcing me to turn and look at her. It made my little face even redder. She looked at me a little shyly. My hands are cooler. It will make you more comfortable. Her fingertips were cool and refreshing. The place they touched was really comfortable, not as sharp and stimulating as ice, but a very gentle coolness. Not long after, I expressed my gratitude to her. My mouth doesn't feel spicy anymore. Laswas withdrew her hand, but the atmosphere at this moment seemed extremely awkward. Finally, she turned away haughtily. Remember to rest early. Don't eat too many chili peppers. If your mouth gets ruined by the spice, you'll have to use sign language to teach Noah. Watching her departing back, a strange thought came to my mind. I really want Laswas to touch my face more. Just thinking about it is a bit perverted. No, I need to be more clear-headed. She's the evil she-dragon who tricked me into a small corner, squeezed me dry, and then said I was physically weak. After muttering a resentful complaint, I returned to my desk, wanting to find some way to help my body recover faster. So I started flipping through a book of medicinal herbs. Barefoot dragon fruit has the effect of regulating chi and blood. Not this one. Nether lotus grass, when taken internally, can regulate digestive function. Not this one either. A medicine called Dragon Vigor caught my attention. After reading its effects, my eyes lit up. This is it. The next day, I finished grading Noah's test questions. The full score is 100. Guess how much you got? Noah answered, 50. I looked at her happily. It's 60. A little higher than you expected. Unexpectedly, Noah angrily clenched her small fists. I didn't expect her to have high expectations for herself. At an age when she should be playing carefree like Myun, she took the initiative to ask to go to school. I stroked her head with a doting look. You got 60 points on your first try. That's already very impressive. A young dragon of your age would never even come across a test of this difficulty. It's really hard. Noah whispered 2 words. Really? Next, let's focus on these wrong questions. But suddenly I couldn't stop coughing. Sorry, little Noah, wait a moment. It must have been the too many chili peppers I ate last night that made my throat uncomfortable. Noah recalled what her mother had said to her that morning. What kind of study plan was your father making for you last night? That bastard. Although he usually looks unreliable, he's a top student, but he ate the Dragon Clan's special yellow chili peppers last night to stay awake. It would be strange if his throat was fine. Noah fumbled in her pocket and then took out a box of dragon throat lozenges. This is for you. Throat lozenges? I was stunned for a moment, somewhat incredulous. A gift for me? Mommy sent it to you, not me. I smiled after hearing that. Then help me thank your mommy. This child is just like Laswas. Although she seems cold on the surface, she's actually just not good at expressing her feelings. I took a throat lozenge and began to tutor Noah while soothing my throat. Our father-daughter relationship took another small step closer. It turned out that after I discovered the miraculous supplement Dragon Vigor in the medicinal book, I instructed 2 dragon maids to bring the medicinal materials I was looking for to the kitchen. I also specifically asked them to bring some irrelevant medicinal materials so that no one would guess what I was going to do. Although the materials for concocting Dragon Vigor are common and the refining steps are not complicated. The book said that even for an outstanding dragon pharmacist, the success rate of concocting dragon vigor is very low, but this was no match for a top student like me. I first ground and mixed the medicinal materials to be used, then put them into the pot in order in proportion to simmer. But after trying for several hours, I still failed. It really wasn't as simple as I thought. I had clearly followed the method in the book several times, but each time I failed at the final step of drug purification and separation. The medicinal book described a high-temperature separation method. If the temperature was too high, it would cause the drug to become inactive, and if it was too low, it would be impossible to extract the pure drug. I couldn't achieve the separation effect just by shaking it manually. There were no professional instruments here either. My master often said, if one path is blocked, look for other paths. Just as I was thinking about what other effective methods for separating medicinal drugs there were, the sky outside the window suddenly flashed with lightning and rumbled with thunder. It looked like it was going to rain soon. I went to close the window, my brain still thinking about the lightning and thunder. I remembered my alchemy teacher once said that electrolyzing impurities sometimes has a higher success rate than baking with fire. Maybe I can try refining with the thunder element, which is not mentioned in the book. Moreover, I am best at thunder element magic. Although my magic power has only recovered a little, it is more than enough for this kind of fine operation. 30 minutes later, dragon vigor was really refined by me. I was secretly pleased. I didn't expect the dragon's medicine to be so simple to refine. But at some point, Mian came to the kitchen, looking at me with excitement. Daddy, what are you doing? Is that candy in your hand? I was startled for a moment, then quickly stroked her head and told her, it's nothing. This isn't candy. It's medicine Daddy made for Mommy. Mian was stunned for a moment, immediately put away her playful mood, and asked with concern, is Mommy sick? I saw that your mommy has been too tired lately. This medicine is to supplement her body. Don't worry. Mian nodded as if she understood. Then Daddy, you must take good care of Mommy. That's what Daddy should do. Although I said this to Mian, in reality, after my body recovers, I will definitely make that she-dragon pay. Soon, a heavy rain poured down outside the castle. I lay on the bed, lost in thought, because dragon vigor is a dragon's nutritional supplement, and I don't know if it will have negative effects on me as a human. Maybe I should store it for now. Just as I was hesitating, someone suddenly knocked on the door. I hurriedly hid the dragon vigor under my pillow, then said to Laswis, Your Majesty, why are you here? She snorted lightly and asked me directly, I heard from Mian that you made a special chocolate-like medicine for me to regulate my body. I was a little speechless when I heard that. My little padded jacket had leaked the secret so quickly. Laswis approached with a smile. Don't be nervous. She didn't come to question me. She was just very surprised that I could refine medicine in such a simple environment. What medicine did you refine? Can you show me? As she spoke, she extended her small hand. I hesitated for a moment, but still took out the dragon vigor from under my pillow, because even if I said no, she would use violent means to snatch it away. Laswis took it and observed it carefully. To be able to refine dragon vigor of such perfect quality under these conditions, you are indeed very powerful, Leon. She smiled and teased. How does that saying go? A man of both letters and arms? I was stunned for a moment after she finished speaking. This she-dragon didn't mock me, and for a moment, I was a little unaccustomed. Suddenly, Laswis's tone changed. You can keep it, but you can't take this medicine now. Saying so, she threw the dragon vigor to me. I asked her why with some confusion. It turned out that dragon vigor, as a dragon supplement, its medicinal effect is too fierce for a human body. Laswis's tone was quite serious. I'm kindly reminding you, as a human, you can't withstand its power. I took out the dragon vigor and looked at her seriously. So what if it's the power of a dragon? I've defeated countless dragon kings. A small pill can't kill me, can it? Laswis, don't underestimate me. As I spoke, I put the dragon vigor in my mouth and swallowed it. Courage is the anthem of humanity. Because I ate it too quickly, Laswis didn't have time to stop me. I immediately felt a burning sensation in my stomach and knelt down, clutching my stomach. That burning sensation instantly spread throughout my body. Laswis on the side was extremely anxious. You bastard, my healing magic isn't proficient yet. Seeing me gritting my teeth and enduring the pain without a sound, she placed her hand on my waist. Instantly, a warm magical energy flowed from her palm into my body. She was trying to help me break down the medicinal effect of the pill. I, on the other hand, grabbed her wrist. Laswis anxiously told me not to move. Watch closely, Silver Dragon Queen. This is human courage and determination. The hand I was clutching to my chest burst forth with a ghostly blue electric light. Laswis's face was full of astonishment. Using thunder magic on his own body? What in the world is he doing? A moment later, the electric light of the thunder magic on my body also gradually dissipated, and my body was about to fall. Laswis quickly supported me with her hand, then slowly let me lie flat on the bed. What a madman. Just as she was about to go find a court physician, but just as she turned around, my hand quickly shot out and grabbed her dragon tail. She turned her head and saw me smiling dizzily, my eyes unfocused, my face slightly red. Just as she was about to ask me what was wrong, I hugged her tail and rubbed against it. Wife, where are you going? Laswis's little face turned red. Who's your wife? Let go of me. As she spoke, she tried to push my face away with her hand, but it was no use. I won't let my wife go. Laswis turned her head, frowned and thought. Dragon vigor only has the effect of strengthening the body. It shouldn't have have this kind of mentally confused symptom. Could it be that the thunder element magic just now changed the medicinal effect? But she saw that this idiot was temporarily not in any danger of life, so she just let me hold her tail. Wife, alright, I'm here, what's wrong? Say it. Laswas couldn't stand it anymore. The blush on her face grew even deeper. Wife, I want a second child. Upon hearing this, her head almost failed to react. You haven't even taken care of the two from the first litter, and you want a second one? Save it. I want a second child, please. I hugged her tail and kept acting cute. Laswas silently covered her face. To avoid any further complications, she thought it was better to just go along with what I said. We'll not only have a second child, but a third and fourth too. Then you have to go back to my hometown with me. We'll go back after we're settled. Seeing me let go of her tail, I was very happy. Laswas felt that my cute acting appearance was even more annoying than usual. At this moment, I pouted my lips and went to kiss her. Wife, you're so good. But she quickly raised her hand and pushed my face away. Stop trying to take advantage of me. When will this drug effect wear off? Idiot. As she spoke, she punched me in the face. Oops, I couldn't help it for a moment. Seeing me clutch my chest again with a painful look, Laswas worried again. She found that the dragon sigil on her chest was glowing. Wife's tail smells so good. I love it the most. Laswas knew she couldn't let this continue. While pushing me away, she said helplessly, my tail drags on the ground all day. Aren't you afraid of getting dirty by putting it in your mouth? I directly pressed my index finger on her lips, then looked at her with deep eyes. Melkwai, you are so beautiful tonight. She wanted to say something, but found that the words wouldn't come out. What's going on? This man's attitude is completely different from just now. The next morning, I woke up from extreme fatigue and was surprised to find Laswas lying next to me on my pillow. She stared at my eyes with a haughty expression. The memories of last night flashed through my mind. Laswas smiled wickedly. Remembered? Last night it was you who kept begging me. I admit I went a bit too far last night, and you should be very clear about my physical condition now. Laswas's eyes narrowed, and she slowly leaned towards me. Just as I was wondering what she wanted to do, she grabbed my chin and stared at me, her silver dragon pupils enchantingly alluring. I hope you can maintain this state in the future. At this moment, Laswas brought up the bet we made about changing her name. Her little face was a bit red. Have you thought about what request to make? So straightforward? I scratched my head and said I had already thought about it. I hope she can send someone to the Empire to see my master and his wife. Laswas touched her chin. Our Silver Dragon clan is not very good at this kind of infiltration mission, but if it's just to visit people, it's no problem. My eyes lit up after hearing that. Then I'll trouble you. Not long after, I went to the garden of the Silver Dragon Sanctuary to look after little Myun. She looked at my face and seemed a little worried. Is daddy sick? I looked at Myun with a calm face. No, why do you ask? Myun proudly put her little hands on her hips. Mommy told me everything. Daddy ate the medicine himself that day. Daddy is a man. A man can't say he's sick. This remark made me very embarrassed. That she-dragon even tells the children such things. Don't I have any face? Isn't daddy better yet? Is the medicine not strong enough? Or did you eat too little? If you ask any more, it will be rude. Myun noticed that my mouth was bleeding and was full of worry. She came up and hugged me tightly. Myun can't live without daddy. Daddy, please don't die. Woo-woo. I quickly smiled and stroked her head, saying that I was really fine. Myun is indeed Laswas's daughter. She's just like her in being merciless with her words. I immediately changed the subject. How about daddy makes you a new toy today? The little dragon girl's eyes lit up. Myun loves toys the most. Not long after, I had finished a delicate little Rubik's Cube and happily handed it to Myun, letting her twist it as she pleased. I had learned the principles of some simple mechanical linkages in my alchemy and mechanics class at school, and I never thought I would use it today while taking care of my child. Am I a natural at taking care of children? Suddenly I felt the gaze of a dragon. I thought it was Laswas peeking, but after turning my head, there was no sign of that she-dragon. Myun asked me with confusion what was wrong. After I told her it was nothing, I remembered that direction was where Noah was doing her physical training, but that child wouldn't take the initiative to come and join us, so I should make a Rubik's Cube for her too. When Noah went back to her room to sleep at night, looking at the sleeping Myun, she found the Rubik's Cube I made during the day next to her. Under the Rubik's Cube was a note. A toy for Noah. Try to restore it. She complained haughtily. I'm not interested in this kind of toy for little kids, but she still tried to twist it a few times. The clear mechanical clicks from her fingertips made Noah's little face turn slightly red, but the next day, Myun found that her sister had been acting a little strange lately, often hiding things in a box under her bed. So while her sister was away, she secretly checked to see what good things were inside. Detective Myun on the case. Inside were a Rubik's Cube, the name Leon had written, a fragment that had fallen off the black old chariot, and a piece of paper with her sister's name written on it. It seemed that everything was related to Daddy. Myun had a triumphant expression. I understand. There's only one truth. Actually, my sister. Unbeknownst to her, Noah had already appeared behind her. She directly covered Myun's mouth, tied her up with bandages, and haughtily held up the treasure chest. Don't peek. It turned out that the Silver Dragon Queen, in order to create a false image of a harmonious and loving dragon family, decided to take the whole family on a trip to the Sky City. It was because her daughter was about to start school, and St. Heath Academy was a noble academy among the dragons, with strict standards for admitting students. The academy believed that whether they were cocoon-born or born through normal parental reproduction. Only in a harmonious, loving family that upholds dragon clan ideals could qualified young dragons be cultivated, and the academy only admitted such students. After the Silver Dragon Queen flew us to the Sky City, I reached the ground and opened my arms to catch Myun. She asked with an expectant look, "Daddy, why didn't you turn into a dragon just now?" Myun wants to see Daddy turn into a dragon, and I could only smile awkwardly. At this moment, I wanted to die. Dragon slaying Daddy is very good at it, but as for turning into a dragon, let's just forget about it. Seeing my lack of action, Noah crossed her little arms and said softly, "You can't transform, can you?" Seeing my flustered look, Laswa smiled calmly. "Your daddy's body hasn't fully recovered yet, so he can't transform into a giant dragon for now. When Daddy's body recovers, he'll transform for you to see. Then Daddy, you must get well soon. Daddy will try his best." Although I knew it was impossible, Laswas and I, each holding one daughter's hand, walked towards the entrance of the Sky City. Passing through the city gate, we officially entered the City of Dragons. As far as the eye could see, there were dragons with tails. Myun and Noah were also seeing this scene for the first time, and I couldn't help but swallow, my legs trembling slightly. Laswas glanced at me. This guy must be seeing so many dragons for the first time since he woke up from his coma. Then she snorted with a laugh. Scared? Can't you see I'm excited?" I pointed to the dragon citizens ahead. "The streets are full of merits. Taking them back would make us rich." Laswas silently covered her face. "The dogman's occupational disease is acting up again, isn't it?" My worries were really unnecessary. Soon, our family of 4 arrived at a photo studio. The photographer was a middle-aged she-dragon wearing glasses. "Welcome, Your Majesty the Silver Dragon Queen. It is a great pleasure to serve your family." Then the staff wanted to take us to try on clothes. Seeing the artistic photos everywhere, the 2 little dragon girls were overjoyed. I leaned close to Laswas's ear and asked in a low voice, "Aren't you the Silver Dragon Queen? Why do you have to come to the shop yourself to take pictures?" It turned out that the dragon kings of a clan could only command the people of their own clan, and the dragons of the Sky City did not belong to any clan. I took the opportunity to tease her. "Then your position as queen is a bit low." In the next second, my leather shoe was stepped on by her golden high heel. Laswas haughtily continued walking forward. "Anyway, it's higher than yours." Selena's photography skills were top-notch in the dragon race. After she and the Silver Dragon Queen exchanged some pleasantries, she learned that I didn't like to show my tail, and the Silver Dragon Queen asked her to pick a suit with no tail for me. In fact, before coming to the Sky City, Laswas had tried to make me wear a dragon tail decoration, but it was strongly rejected by me. This concerned my dignity as a dragon slayer. As a veteran photographer, Selena did not show much surprise, because there were quite a few dragons who did not like to show their tails. After some time, the 2 daughters changed into beautiful dresses. When I came out in a white tailless suit, Myun was very excited and praised, "Wow, Daddy is so handsome." Selena also thought it suited me very well. The prince consort must have been very popular before, right? However, the last time I wore a formal suit was at my school graduation ceremony. After collecting my thoughts, I looked at my unsociable older daughter. "Noah, what do you think?" She shyly averted her eyes and stammered, It's quite handsome." I walked up and stroked their heads. "Your dresses are also very cute." Then Laswas also changed. It was a black off-the-shoulder dress, which looked particularly charming on her. My 2 eyes were fixed on her. After she saw my infatuated look, I scratched my head awkwardly and praised her for her suitable clothes. Laswas, however, showed a slightly regretful expression. "I think it would be better if you had a tail." "I will never wear a tail in my life." At this moment, Myun waved for us to come over quickly to take a family photo. Selena said politely, "We're about to take the picture. Your Majesty, Prince Consort, please move a little closer." But we both resisted inwardly, still keeping a little distance. Then, under Selena's guidance, a series of intimate family photos were finally taken. Myun was very happy today. The Silver Dragon Queen and I also pretended to be a loving couple, making a heart shape with her tail, and there were also photos of us looking into each other's eyes. Selena commented that we really looked like a married couple. The photos would take 6 hours to develop. During this time, we decided to take a good look around the Sky City. The 2 little dragon girls ran hand in hand in front, and Laswas and I followed not far behind them. I never thought I would one day go shopping with this she-dragon, but she said haughtily that this was just to maintain our family image, and Noah is taking this entrance test very seriously. "You've both worked hard for a month, so it's good to relax once in a while." I saw the daughters at a balloon shooting stall, Myun's eyes shining as she looked at a cute teddy bear. But after Noah picked up the toy gun and shot at the balloons a few times, she didn't hit a single one. I was slightly surprised. They have this kind of shooting game here too. Seeing Noah's pouting face, the result was probably not ideal. Laswas explained to Noah that the bullets of this toy gun were gathered by magical energy, which also required a certain degree of fine control over energy, but it was indeed a bit difficult for Noah. At this moment, the stall owner invited us. "Would you 2 like to try? Your daughters look like they really want it." In fact, the stall owner let the children try it out specifically to attract the parents to be the big spenders. I looked down at my 2 daughters. "Do you want that pair of teddy bears?" Although they answered no, from their expressions, they really wanted them. So I asked the stall owner for 10 bullets, and my wife would pay for it. This she-dragon was a little surprised surprised. I haven't held a gun in a long time. The last time was at the Dragon Slaying Academy. I fired the first shot, and the bullet went wide. The boss was secretly laughing behind my back because he had tampered with the toy gun, so no matter who came, it was not easy to hit the target. Unbeknownst to him, in the next second, his eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets in shock. The remaining 9 shots all hit. It seems my luck is good. The first shot just now was to test the sights. I didn't expect to hit all of them later. Noah and Mune's eyes lit up. Daddy is so amazing. Laswas also rarely praised me. Not bad. The stall owner handed me 2 small teddy bears, secretly hoping I would leave quickly. I gave the teddy bears to my 2 daughters respectively, and they happily thanked Daddy. Laswas never thought that although I was usually a bit unreliable, every time I got serious, I had a special charm. Suddenly she found me staring at her. Actually, I saw this she-dragon with empty hands, so I asked the stall owner for another 10 shots. I finally gave that profiteer a piece of my mind. A she-dragon holding her daughter passed by and was also attracted by us. Mommy, I want that one too. Laswas looked bewildered, holding a large teddy bear in her arms. Then she said with some dissatisfaction, if it were up to me, I would just persuade them not to waste time on that childish game. They're out to have fun, as long as they're happy. What, you don't like it? Since you're here, I can't let you go back empty-handed. Laswas gently rested her chin on the bear's head. Bears, as a species, are just unpalatable food not even worth eating, but this thing made into a toy pillow is quite cute. Then she shyly walked forward. Come find me after dinner tonight. Back at the Dragon Fortress, the 2 daughters opened the family photos taken today. Mian happily wagged her tail. Daddy and Mommy look so good together. I, on the other hand, opened a separate package and found a card attached to the photo. Laswas and I read the contents of the card together. May the silver radiance forever shine in the eyes of the one you love. In the next second, our little faces instantly turned red, and we said in unison, who's in love with him? Her. There must be some mistake. Let me handle this photo. You handle it. Late at night, I remember I had to go find Laswas. Just as I was about to knock on her room door, I found it unlocked. The living room was empty when I walked in. It turned out I had come early. She was still taking a bath in the bathroom. As I was trying to calm myself down, Laswas walked out of the bathroom. She was wearing a light purple slip dress, her damp silver hair draped over her shoulders. Where do you want it? Living room or balcony? I was slightly stunned after hearing that. The balcony isn't a good idea, is it? Then in the living room, it's the same everywhere anyway. I let out a long sigh and slowly closed my eyes. Then let's do it. After speaking, I spread my arms and lay down on the sofa. I heard Laswas say softly from the side, what are you doing? I opened my eyes with some embarrassment. Did I misunderstand something? Laswas snorted with a laugh and said with a hint of disdain and teasing, Mr. Casmod, you're quite insatiable, aren't you? But tonight is not suitable. Let's do it another day. Saying so, she placed a thick stack of test papers on the table. These are the past test questions for the St. Heath Academy's family assessment for naturally born families. They are all about the couple's living habits and personality experiences. We need to align our stories in advance to avoid being unable to answer and affecting Noah's admission evaluation. I found that these were all boring questions from a couple's chemistry game. I then asked Laswas in order, what's your favorite color? Laswas blurted out, black. Then she asked back, what about you? Silver. After answering, we both looked at each other's hair. My black hair, her silver hair. In the next second, we shyly turned our heads away. Just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. Laswas said haughtily, anyway, let's first test our understanding of each other. After 2.5 minutes of testing, the results were out. My score is higher than yours. It seems I know the queen better. Laswas snorted in defiance, then carefully looked at my answer sheet again. I didn't expect him to even notice small habits like which sitting posture I prefer and how I place my tail most comfortably. He observes quite closely usually. The mistakes were all in guessing my thoughts. I've always been used to keeping everything to myself and never telling others, so it's normal for him to guess wrong. Perhaps, this person, seeing Laswas staring at me since the beginning, could it be that she's holding a grudge against me because my score is higher than hers? I chuckled and put my hand on her shoulder. We haven't spent much time together, so it's normal not to get a high score. For Noah's sake, let's try to get to know me more deeply. Seeing my serious expression, Laswas couldn't help but feel her face burn and her heart race. She slapped an answer sheet on my face. Less nonsense. Hurry up and write down your correct answers. By the way, did you write this wrong? You actually said you've never been disappointed in me. If I have to say, it's that the dragon vigor was too little last time. In the future, I'll eat dragon vigor like it's a meal. Don't you regret it? I'll have to look forward to that. After a week of hard work, our average score on the test questions could reach over 80. If we performed normally, there would be no problem with the family assessment. Laswas leaned quietly on the sofa, her brows slightly furrowed, seemingly under a lot of pressure besides fatigue. But just as I said, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. She actually reached out and grabbed my clothes, then raised her finger and pointed to the bathroom in the room. There's a bathtub inside. Go take a bath before you go back. I was stunned for a moment. Take a bath in your room? This was a treatment I had never received before, but this she-dragon impatiently pushed me. Just go when I tell you to. Don't dawdle. I couldn't understand why she insisted on me taking a bath here for no reason. Could she be up to some bad idea? But these few days she's been so nervous because of the entrance test. It should be fine. I didn't think much more of it. it and decided to just enjoy it for now. This big bathtub is so comfortable for a bath. Suddenly, a click was heard. Laswas walked in, wrapped in a white bath towel. A lot of pressure has accumulated these past few days. It seems what's coming can't be avoided. You're stressed, so you're stressed. Why are you putting pressure on me? But she playfully closed one eye, the corners of her pretty mouth slightly upturned. By transferring the pressure to you, I get released, which is perfect. Besides, didn't you come here with that kind of mentality a few days ago? Being told that by her, I was unable to refute it. The next morning, we took our daughter Noah to St. Heath Academy for the admission assessment. Seeing Laswas's nervous look, I leaned in and started teasing her. What? Just finished de-stressing last night. The effect wore off so quickly. Laswas's little face turned red, and she hit my shoulder from behind. Go to hell. We arrived at the Young Dragon Department's admission registration office. The academy staff was a little surprised to see Noah's registration form. Noah K. Melkwai, Silver Dragon Clan, age 1 year and 3 months. She raised her head and looked at us with some confusion. Although the academy stipulates that the minimum age for young dragons to enroll is 1 year, in fact, all enrolled young dragons are between 4 and 6 years old. Is your little princess a bit too young? However, Laswas was already prepared and answered the staff member concisely. Noah is very smart. Age is not a problem, and we respect her thoughts. At this time, a school official not far away agreed to Noah's registration. Later, a special staff member would take her daughter to the written test, while Laswas and I needed to undergo a family assessment on the 4th floor. In the office, 3 white-haired old dragons sat in a row. Laswas leaned close to my ear and whispered, "In your experience, do you think these 3 are easy to deal with?" I carefully sized up these 3 dragons and finally commented, "They look quite easy to kill. Before I was captured by you, I could easily take their heads in 50 rounds. If they dare not to let our Noah go to school, I'll come see them with my sword." As the assessment officially began, the white-haired old man sitting in the middle was Wilson, the vice principal of St. Heath Academy. He told us not to be nervous and to answer their questions relaxedly. "Okay, principal." Laswas and I forced a smile, but our hearts were pounding, not knowing what strange questions this old man would ask. I saw Principal Wilson pick up a stack of papers in front of him and ask, "Do you two remember your wedding anniversary?" Laswas and I exchanged glances. This question had finally come. We had discussed this issue before. After all, we were not married and had a child out of wedlock. But there was indeed one memorable day. In the year 1733 of the Genesis era, we both said May 25th in unison, the day we had a love at first sight in the dungeon. Principal Wilson was slightly surprised by our couple's tacit understanding. Married for less than 2 years, and the child is already over a year old. This progress seems faster than the average family. Then the second question, in the 2 years of your marriage, have you discovered any shortcomings or bad habits in your partner that you can't stand? Laswas replied in a second. No, my answer was yes, because the answer had to be a mix of truth and falsehood to be believable, and Principal Wilson was interested in this. How so? I said with a solemn expression. Sometimes I feel like I don't have much of a presence. Then I continued with a happy face. My wife is too capable, whether it's clan affairs or housework with the children. She handles everything in an orderly manner, but she tends to accumulate too much stress. So I want to take this opportunity of the interview to tell her that I also want to do more for this family. Please rely on me. Laswas looked at me with a flattered expression. Actually, I just hoped she wouldn't squeeze me dry whenever she was stressed. What a considerate and good husband. Then Miss Laswas, what do you think is the most attractive shining point of your husband? As soon as the assessor finished asking, Laswas's little face turned red and she said softly, "He's handsome, has a good figure, is focused and serious, smart but not greasy, responsible, likes children, and doesn't lose his temper. Although his body is not as good as before marriage, my husband is also a good hand at refining medicine, and he will use various drugs to condition himself." My mouth twitched slightly after hearing that. Is she praising me or dissing me? As she spoke, Laswas looked at me affectionately. So I also want to take this opportunity of the interview to say to my husband, don't force yourself too much. I understand everything. After speaking, she squeezed my hand hard. Seeing this, the 3 assessors commented with great satisfaction. What a super loving couple. In the following question and answer session, Laswas and I were very tacit. At the end of the interview, the assessor on the left added a question. Do you have any questions you want to ask each other? The person being asked needs to answer truthfully. To avoid saying too much and making mistakes, Laswas replied directly, I have no questions for my husband. I know everything about him. Then Mr. Leon, what about you? At this moment, I leaned back on the sofa, stroking my chin with one hand, my brows slightly furrowed, and then asked her in a deep voice, you like that teddy bear I gave you, right? Laswas was stunned. She didn't expect me to ask such a question completely unrelated to identity, position, and grievances. Her pupils trembled slightly. She raised her hand to smooth the hair by her ear, lowered her eyes and nodded. Yes, I like it very much. I clapped my hands and said I had no more questions. This interview was finally over. The results of the assessment would be sent to the Silver Dragon Sanctuary by a messenger dragon in a few days. A week later, the long-awaited messenger dragon finally arrived. A bamboo tube was tied to the messenger dragon's back. I took down the bamboo tube and eagerly opened the letter inside. The 2 daughters looked on with anticipation. The content of the letter was concise and clear. clear. Noah was to report to the academy in 3 days to attend the opening ceremony. Past. Sister is so amazing. Daddy and mommy are also so amazing. Mian happily spun around holding Noah. Noah's heart was also filled with joy. Laswas looked at me and showed a brilliant smile. Thank you. Hearing her being so polite, I was a little unaccustomed. Thank me for what? It was mainly Noah's own effort. As expected of my daughter, Laswas decided to make a big meal to celebrate. Just as she took a few steps, she suddenly stopped and asked me, "You come and help, so you won't say there's no place for you in this family again." It turned out that on the day of the St. Heath Academy opening ceremony, Principal Wilson personally presided over the ceremony. The young dragons who had successfully passed the Academy's assessment and their guardians gathered in the auditorium. Among this year's new students, there are many with outstanding achievements. We believe that only a harmonious family can cultivate them. We take this opportunity to invite these families to share some experience. Now, let's welcome the student with the highest admission score this year, Noah K. Melkwai, and her family to the stage. Little Mian clenched her little fists under the stage, overjoyed. Daddy, mommy, and sister are going on stage. Laswas and I helplessly walked to the stage holding Noah. In fact, an hour ago, Principal Wilson found us and said that we were the most outstanding family in the admission test, and then mentioned to us about giving a speech on stage. There was no way around it. It was too sudden. We could only bite the bullet. Looking at Noah, she also had a look of despair. She just wanted to enroll quietly. Why did someone else have to do this socially awkward thing? Seeing that our family of 3 was not good with words, Wilson had to smooth things over. Noah, as the youngest candidate, you got a perfect score. What insights would you like to share with everyone? Noah thought for a moment and said, "My mommy is a very powerful dragon, and I want to be as strong as her when I grow up. When I proposed to come to school, my mommy gave me affirmation and support, and my little sister Mian, she has always been by my side. I am very grateful to her." My heart tightened a little after hearing that. I didn't know if my daughter would mention me. In the next second, Noah continued to speak. "The person I want to thank the most is my father. He helped me review for the exam every day, and often stayed up late to prepare materials. Thanks to him, I can stand here. As a father, hearing my daughter say that, I was so moved that my eyes became moist. That's all. Thank you." Noah finished speaking and bowed politely. Wilson smiled and praised me for being good at teaching children. "Since your daughter is so grateful to you, why don't you give her a kiss to show your fatherly love?" I stopped my lacrimal glands and looked back at Wilson blankly. This principal wants to turn the opening ceremony into a public display of fatherly affection, right? Because a month ago, Noah wouldn't even let me touch her. How could she let me kiss her in public? So I could only whisper to her, "Noah, you don't have to be so embarrassed. We can just hug." Unexpectedly, Noah's face turned red with shyness. "Kissing my cheek is fine. Just kiss it quickly and end this socially awkward ceremony." As soon as she finished speaking, I was stunned for a moment, then quickly picked up my older daughter, and in the cheers of the crowd, gently kissed Noah's forehead. The relationship between us father and daughter finally showed some signs of breaking the ice. Mian under the stage was envious and wanted to go up and kiss her sister, but was stopped by a dragon maid. Looking at Noah's flushed little face, Laswas on the side was secretly glad. Fortunately, he didn't say to kiss me just now. Unexpectedly, Wilson's next words completely stunned us. "Excellent dragons will not forget to be grateful to their families. The way the Melkwai family gets along lets us feel what a real family should be like. Mr. Leon, you've already kissed your daughter. How can you forget your wife?" Upon hearing this, Laswas and I were both shocked. This old dragon is really pushing his luck. I should have killed you on the day of the assessment. Although I was cursing like this in my heart, this was Noah's most important school opening ceremony. I, Leon, have been through 100 battles. How could I be scared by such a small scene? I boldly extended my hand to Laswas and invited her. "Come on, my dear wife. Aren't we the happiest and most harmonious family?" Noah couldn't help but look up, wanting to see how her mother, who had always been unexpressive of her feelings, would accept this public kiss. Laswas lowered her voice and said, "Are you really going to kiss me in front of hundreds of dragons? There's no other way. Both daughters are watching. Just cooperate with me. This is so embarrassing." After we got together, we had basically done everything we should have, but we had never kissed, except for that fateful day 2 years ago. As I got closer, Laswas's cheeks became redder and redder. "Forget it. Whatever." She closed her eyes tightly, anticipating that kiss. Then, a warm touch came to her right cheek, but only for a brief moment. After Laswas opened her eyes, she looked at me with surprise and joy, then touched her kissed little face. But the melon-eating dragons under the stage were still catcalling. "Why not kiss on the lips? One more kiss." I smiled politely and said this was all I could do. Then I turned to look at Laswas and whispered with some smugness, "Finally de-stressed." She was furious in her heart. "How dare you use me to de-stress? If it weren't for the crowd here, I would have pinned you to the ground." Seeing that the process was almost over, Wilson also stood up to smooth things over. "Thank you very much to this year's model family for bringing us laughter and joy. Please go down and rest." The ceremony ended, and Noah was about to start her academy life. Our family of 4 said goodbye at the academy gate. Laswas was not good at expressing herself. "We're about to leave. We'll come pick you up next weekend. You must take good care of yourself." Mian said a lot to her sister, but the core theme was only one. Sister must miss Mian. "I will miss you." Finally, it was my turn. I walked up to Noah Noah and half knelt down. Remember to eat on time. Don't be a picky eater. Study hard. If you don't understand something, wait until the holiday to come home and ask me. If you get sick, you must go to the academy's school doctor. You must not be stubborn. Noah listened carefully and remembered. I'm not a child anymore. Then I pointed to the she-dragon behind me. Actually, these words were said by your mother when she was drunk. She was too embarrassed to say them to you in person, so I'm doing it for her. If you meet classmates with bad personalities in the academy, stay away from them, but if they dare to bully you, just fight back. Daddy's got your back. Noah held back the corners of her upturned mouth. Did you do that when you were in school? It's just that every time I fought at school, your grandfather would take me back and beat me up. But don't worry, your dad won't beat you up for such a small thing. Noah obediently nodded. I remember. I will take good care of myself. It turned out that in the Silver Dragon Sanctuary Queen's study, Laswas was bent over her desk, studying a compendium of blood magic. The seduction of blood was a charm magic that could only be used once in a lifetime. Using blood as a medium, the caster would fall into a state of extreme weakness and fatigue. Laswas's thoughts stirred slightly, and she murmured, so that's another reason why Leon was unconscious for 2 years. With a little modification, it might become a good way to play. Just then, a figure flew into the room, and she was a little surprised. The person who came was her trusted handmaiden, Shirley. She had previously instructed her to investigate the matter of Ted Lawrence and his wife, but Shirley expressed great apology. She had not found any trace of the two in the Empire, as if they had disappeared, their information completely erased. Laswas frowned slightly. According to Leon, his master was just an ordinary old farmer, but now it seems he's not that simple. Continue to investigate while ensuring your own safety. Inform me immediately if there is any news. The next day, in the practice field in the back courtyard of the sanctuary, I was playing a night game with Myun. Come, like me, swing the stick down hard. Myun's eyes had learned, but her hands had not. She swung the wooden stick wildly without any order, so I taught her the exercises step by step, hand in hand. This scene was also seen by Laswas. Seeing her mother and the dragon maid approaching, Myun happily greeted them. I also turned my head to look. It turned out she had finally returned after a day of inspection. Laswas rubbed Myun's little head. Did you listen to Daddy at home today? Yes, Myun was very obedient. Daddy also taught Myun how to hold a sword. It's almost time for dinner. I've instructed the chef to make steak. Go change your clothes first. Myun excitedly clenched her little fists. Great, because she loves steak. After the dragon maid led Myun away, Laswas was about to say something to me, but before she could finish, I swished and swung a tree branch at her, finally stopping steadily at her throat. Laswas didn't flinch, finally decided to make a move on me. Pointing a weapon at me in the Silver Dragon Sanctuary is a capital crime, punishable by extreme punishment. I quickly explained, Your Majesty, you call a tree branch a weapon? Weren't you once the strongest dragon slayer? This branch can also be a weapon for killing in your hands, right? Hearing her say that, I put down the branch and sighed softly. She-dragon, if you want to praise someone, just praise them. Why be so sarcastic? Laswas said haughtily. Who praised you? I explained to her honestly. I just wanted to scare you, but if you're not scared, it's no fun. But she felt that with my current physical condition, I couldn't hurt her with a small branch. Then we sat on a long bench. Laswas mentioned that Noah had written her a letter yesterday. The letter said that she had been doing well in the academy these few days and told us not to worry. Although the content was short, it was already rare for her to take the initiative to write back to report her safety. I pondered for a moment and commented, in this respect, she is very much like you, always with a straight face, making it hard to guess what's on her mind. But as long as you find the right way, it's still very pleasant to get along with her. Laswas also told me a secret. Noah actually admires you a lot. She has a very typical dragon mentality, admiring the strong and yearning for the strong. You are now a top student in her heart, so she said she wants to get many firsts in the academy and absolutely doesn't want to lose to you. Hearing this, I smiled with relief. I thought in her heart, her old man was just a weak bookworm. Laswas, while taking off her high heels, continued, when you just woke up, Noah always hid from you, but in fact, during your coma, she often ran to see you. Occasionally when I discovered her, she would make an excuse that she was looking for Myun. When they were little and cried, no one could coax them, but as long as they were placed by your side, they would immediately become quiet. Perhaps before they were conscious, the blood relationship had already tightly connected you together. Hearing the word blood relationship, a strange feeling of relief rose in my heart. I am an orphan. I never experienced parental love as a child and didn't know what family affection was. At the age of 5, my master and his wife adopted me. Even without a blood relationship, they treated me like their own son. I had the concept of home for the first time, but occasionally a sense of melancholy would arise in my heart, wishing that my master and his wife were my real parents. I remember my master's wife once said to me, you will also become someone else's daddy in the future. They will be the family you want to love, protect, and give everything for with all your might, a family of blood. The thought of this made me clench my fists. They are the family I cherish the most now. Laswas looked at me with confusion. What are you daydreaming about? We should go back. Coming back to my senses, I smiled awkwardly. Thank you for telling me this. Then let's go back. But Laswas used her foot to push her high heels towards me, then said with a wicked smile, since you want to thank me, then help me put on my shoes. This remark made me full of question marks. Last time helping you wash your feet was humiliating enough. And you still want me to put on your shoes? Don't I have any face? But before I could finish, Laswas's foot slapped directly onto my face. You stinking man, I haven't settled the score with you for that kiss at the opening ceremony, and now you won't even help me put on my shoes? Others don't even have the qualification to help. Alright, I'll do it. I knelt down, picked up Laswas's fair and delicate jade foot with one hand, and tried to put on her high heels with the other. Laswas smiled with great satisfaction. You say you're reluctant, but your actions are quite nimble. Of course, putting on your shoes is much easier than shoeing a donkey. She gritted her teeth in anger after hearing that and kicked me in the face. Fortunately, I reacted quickly and easily dodged, and I didn't forget to mock her. As long as I run fast, you can't hit me. Who knew Laswas would be out for my blood tonight? Our family of 3 stood in the front courtyard of the sanctuary, looking up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. Mian excitedly raised her hands and shouted, "Here it comes! Here it comes!" I saw a huge dragon flying in the air. I roughly estimated that this dragon was several times larger than your transformed form. After hearing this, Laswas gave me some popular science. This is the giant dragon Leviathan. It's huge but not strong in combat. Because of its outstanding endurance and stable emotions, it generally serves as a transport worker in the dragon race. I was very puzzled why she added the description emotionally stable. According to her, a Leviathan, from birth to death, might not even get angry once in its several thousand years of life, so the Academy uses them to transport young dragons. As a magical light pillar shone from the Leviathan's body and connected to the ground, a moment later, Noah's figure appeared in the light pillar, slowly descending to the ground. After Noah landed safely, she said, "I'm back. Welcome home, Noah." As soon as Laswas finished speaking, Mian couldn't wait to pounce into Noah's arms. "Sister, I missed you so much." Then Noah looked at me again, stammering and not even calling out daddy. It seems my older daughter is not used to calling me daddy yet. Seeing this, I quickly smoothed things over. "It's good to be back. Your mother and I have made a lot of your favorite dishes." After dinner was almost over, Noah took out a few report cards from her bag and placed them on the table. Basics of Alchemy and Machinery, 1st place. Introduction to Magic, Young Dragon Edition, 1st place. History of the Dragon Race, Young Dragon Volume 1, 1st place. At this time, Noah held a report card in her hand and said seriously with a straight face, "There is one last subject, the comprehensive physical fitness test, only 95 points. I didn't get 1st place. I'm sorry, Mommy." Laswas smiled and told Noah, "There's no need to apologize. You're already very amazing." "That's right, sister," Mian said. Mommy is right. In Mian's heart, sister is the best. However, despite the comfort and encouragement from her mother and sister, Noah's mood didn't seem to change much. I found that of these two, one was not good at expressing feelings, and the other expressed feelings a little too much. It was still up to me, the old father, to personally step in. I took the report card and looked at it carefully. Running, bench press, pull-ups, these are all basic physical training. The other students in your grade are 4 or 5 years old, so it's normal for your physical fitness to be a little worse than theirs. Then I seriously analyzed with Noah. In your practical combat training, you won 9 out of 10 matches, which is the highest win rate in the class. This shows that although your strength is not as good as those little kids, you are far ahead in terms of strategy and combat skills. So you don't have to be overly hung up on about this 3rd place. You will have plenty of opportunities to surpass them in the future. After my analysis, Noah's expression finally softened a little, and she said awkwardly, "But I heard Mommy say that when you were in school, you were 1st in every subject." Hearing this, I, the old father, was overjoyed. It sounds like Noah is taking me as a role model, but the current situation is not the time to be smug and show off. Actually, Daddy wasn't 1st when I just entered school either. I climbed to the 1st place through hard work and perseverance later. You still have a lot of time. Don't let one failure wear down your spirit. I believe you can do better. "Okay, I know," Noah answered seriously. Seeing her sister's mood improve, Mian curiously looked at me and Laswas. "Daddy is so amazing. If he fought with Mommy, who would win?" Upon hearing this, we both patted our chests and answered in unison, "Me." Obviously, in this aspect, neither Laswas nor I were willing to admit defeat. I proudly puffed out my chest and said triumphantly, "My practical combat training back then was simply an art. Whether it was unarmed combat or weapon and magic combat, no one was my opponent, so of course I'm more amazing." Laswas glanced at me and said lightly, "Although I didn't get as many honors as you in the academy, I only win the crucial games. Didn't you shamelessly ask to marry me back then because you couldn't beat me?" I was not happy to hear that. It was clearly you who couldn't beat me, and that's how we got Mian and Noah, these 2 lovely daughters. We were at loggerheads, and our gazes seemed to spark as they met. As we talked, we decided to go out and have a little match. Mian was both excited and thrilled. "Are Daddy and Mommy going to fight? This is going to be a good show." Noah took her hand and wanted to go watch too. In the practice field, Laswas and I were stretching our muscles, while the 2 daughters sat on a long bench on the side, watching, with a portion of popcorn on their laps. Mian asked, "Sister is also very curious about who is stronger between Daddy and Mommy, right?" Noah looked expectant. "The teacher said that watching masters spar more is also helpful for improving our combat skills." Laswas rubbed her wrists and smiled brightly. "Speaking of which, your body probably hasn't recovered to the level of fighting a Dragon King yet, right?" I was doing lunges, warming up up before the fight. So what? The opportunity to fight the Silver Dragon Queen is not common. Of course I have to seize it. Laswas felt that just sparring was boring, so why not bet on something? What's the bet? If you win, I won't touch you for a month. If I win, you have to grant me one request. Although I didn't know what kind of perverted request the she-dragon would make, as long as I won, I could easily take a month off. This was something I couldn't even imagine in normal times. It was simply too tempting. I extended my index finger and pointed firmly at Laswas. Okay, I accept this bet. For my courage and guts. Laswas snorted with a laugh. You've got guts. Then let's begin. Mune on the side was eating popcorn and giggling. Then she accidentally knocked over the juice next to her and let out a scream. We both looked over at the same time. It turned out that just some pineapple juice had spilled. This also became the signal for us to start sparring. On the practice field, our speed was so fast that we turned into two afterimages. When the afterimages became solid again, I had already launched a surprise attack in front of Laswas, raising my fist and attacking her chest directly. The queen crossed her arms in front of her chest and blocked my full force blow at the intersection point. Then she swung her tail. Fortunately, I reacted in time and dodged the attack with a backflip, my hands supporting me on the ground. Then I quickly rotated my arms and kicked towards Laswas. She blocked it with her crossed arms, then slid back a few meters, muttering to herself, I'm not at an advantage in a physical fight with him. I'd better keep a safe distance. I saw a ball of furiously burning purple dragon flame gathering in her hand. I took the opportunity to tease her. It seems your majesty the queen doesn't dare to fight me up close. As long as I can beat you. Laswas finished speaking and threw several balls of dragon flame at me. The attack frequency of the dragon flame was very high, setting off many firelights on the practice field one after another. Waves of heat and tremors followed, but not a single dragon flame hit me. Mune said with a worried look, Daddy has been running away. Is he going to lose? Noah analyzed methodically. He's using pure physical attacks and dodging Mommy's attacks, while Mommy has been using dragon flame to harass and pull away, looking for an opportunity for a surprise attack. This shows that in close combat, Mommy is not confident she can win against him. Mune blinked her beautiful big eyes and praised her sister. Sister knows so much. Noah's little face turned shy. This is what the teacher taught in class. On the practice field, Laswas, who had the upper hand, looked smug. Aren't you very fast? Then try to dodge. I easily dodged the dragon flame and snorted coldly. I'm not only fast, I'm also hard. Laswas chuckled. Then how about this? She clasped her hands together and gathered magical energy again. A thick fog rose up, and her figure disappeared. Suddenly, a huge ball of dragon flame came roaring towards me, but after the smoke and dust slowly dissipated, not only was I fine, but I also provoked her. Your Majesty the Queen. That was too slow. Seeing the electric light flashing around me, Laswas was astonished. This guy is actually using thunder magic to strengthen his body. No one can take away my 1-month vacation. I shouted and charged towards her. Laswas was having a hard time defending herself, but she was very worried in her heart. His magic power hasn't fully recovered yet, but it's too reckless to use thunder magic to strengthen his body to this extent. I need to end the fight quickly. My keen senses found a flaw in Laswas. I supported myself on the ground with one hand, bent my back, and swept my leg to trip her. It was too late when she realized it. I smiled with a look of victory. It seems I've won. I was gathering thunder magic energy in my fist and was about to attack her, but seeing that she was about to fall because of her unstable center of gravity, I quickly reached out and grabbed her, then pulled her with a little force, and Laswas was pulled into my arms, held by her small waist. We were one high and one low. Our four eyes met, our hearts raced, and our little faces turned extra red. Laswas never thought that this stinking man would be so considerate of her. Thank you, she whispered softly. I looked down with a bewildered expression, and she had already slapped my chest. Startled, I flinched. The dragon flame is burning. Is there any water? But I was surprised to find that the dragon flame didn't cause any damage. It went out quickly, and it wasn't very hot. Laswas crossed her arms and said seriously, the battle isn't over. How can you be distracted? The two daughters saw this and ran over. Mien wagged her little tail and asked curiously, who won in the end between Daddy and Mommy? I said with regret, I was careless at the end. I lost this time. Laswas raised her head haughtily after hearing this. I have to admit you are indeed very strong. Without enchanted armor and a handy weapon, you can fight me like this just with physical skills. Before you, no one has ever been able to do that. I clenched my fists in my heart. Of course, if I fought with all my strength, I would definitely be able to beat you. Since you admit defeat, don't forget our bet. This remark was like being hit by several arrows. I had actually forgotten about the bet. Seeing me fall to the ground, Mien looked worried. Is Daddy dead? Laswas chuckled. He just used too much power and collapsed from exhaustion. He'll recover in a while. I first went to the two daughters' room to give my last words. After I'm gone, Noah, you have to take care of Mien. She's still young and doesn't understand things. Mien, you have to listen to your sister and not make her angry. The ones I'm most worried about are you two sisters. You're only over a year old. How can your mother bear to take me away? Noah asked with a puzzled look. Why does it feel like you're going to your execution? Mien on the side had a sudden realization after hearing my description. I saw it in a book. After the female mantis and the male mantis get married, she will eat the male mantis. What a filial daughter of mine, to be able to laugh so happily. At this moment, Laswas came and leaned leaned against the doorway, wearing a purple slip dress. She smiled and explained to the two daughters, "You two go to bed early. Don't worry." After speaking, Laswas pulled me away from the room. "You've said enough last words. Hurry up and come with me." After walking into Laswas's bedroom, there were 2 bottles of red wine on the table. She crossed her legs and swirled the red wine glass. "Won't you have a drink with me?" I politely refused her. Laswas's face immediately became stern. "You stinking man, I remember you promised me, and now you won't even have a drink with me?" However, my reason for her was that I didn't feel like drinking right now. Actually, I just wanted to stay rational and not be led by the nose by her. Laswas put down her wine glass. "Actually, I was hoping you would win." I was stunned after hearing that and looked up at her. "If you had won, I would have had to give you a month's leave, and in that month, you could have had a good rest." Hearing this from her mouth made me feel it was unreal. "If you're really that nice, then you could have just admitted defeat at the training ground today, couldn't you?" Unexpectedly, Laswas picked up the wine glass again. I thought of a better way to play. Then she poured all the wine in her hand onto herself, the bright red wine soaking her nightgown. She smiled wickedly. "What I like most is the way you look when you lose to me but refuse to admit it." The rich aroma of wine drilled into my nostrils, exquisite and intoxicating. I was once again trapped with no escape. Laswas actually bit her own lip hard. By the time I reacted, it was already too late. This feeling, "You didn't use that forbidden art on me, did you?" Red magical sigils appeared in my pupils. Seeing my uncomfortable look, Laswas said, "Ever since you used it on me 2 years ago, I've been missing its feeling." So I asked very seriously, "Do you know the price to be paid for this forbidden art?" "You have to think carefully." She smiled calmly. "Of course I know, but I slightly modified the formula to minimize the impact of the blood curse's cost on the dragon's body." This remark left me completely bewildered. Now I just feel so hot, and my mind is a blank. Laswas straightened up, excited. "Great Dragon Slayer, you have now become my captive again." My whole body became extremely hot. Laswas loved to see me like this. "Brave and fearless, upright and unyielding Dragon Slayer, you are about to lose your mind. Do you want to see what you look like now?" As she spoke, she slowly raised her right hand and summoned a mirror. Laswas smiled playfully. "I bought this in Sky City. It's a magical item that can briefly record images." "Leon, quickly tell me your thoughts." My remaining rationality was completely eroded by the magic of the blood seduction. I could only obey. The once cunning and scheming she-dragon had now become a pitiful and delicate wife. She was so beautiful. Laswas was surprised and looked forward to it. So this is what I looked like after being hit by the blood seduction. Time came to the next day. I opened my eyes and saw the morning sun shining on Laswas's silver hair, like unblemished snow in winter, pure and flawless. She had her eyes slightly closed, and her delicate face looked extremely relaxed and comfortable. "Get up. Aren't you usually very self-disciplined?" Even when I gently patted her little face, there was no reaction. I estimated that Laswas was affected by the blood curse and might wake up in a week. Thinking of this, isn't this a good opportunity for me to escape back home? With a normal human body, I couldn't run far in a week, but wearing the black gold armor would be different. Not to mention I still have stamina recovery potions and pills. As long as I run at full speed, it's enough for me to return to human territory. By the time she wakes up and finds me missing, it will be too late. Just as I was laughing out loud, I changed my mind and gave up this plan. It's just that things are not that simple. Thinking about it carefully, it has been 2 years since I left the Empire, and I have no idea what the situation is there now. Moreover, there are still many suspicious points about my capture. Rushing back also has risks. It's better to be cautious. Besides, I had already asked Laswas to investigate the recent situation of my master. Maybe I should wait for their news first. The most important point is that I can't leave my 2 daughters now. "Sister, quickly catch it. Slow down. Don't fall." If I left alone, that little girl Mune would be so sad. The kind that can't be coaxed. And Noah, although she is cold on the surface, she is just cold on the outside and warm on the inside, craving for family affection. I don't want to make them sad and disappointed. I love my daughters deeply. This love comes from the depths of my blood and will never change for any reason, so I still have to stay in the Silver Dragon Sanctuary now. After all, I haven't taken revenge on the she-dragon yet. In a daze, I felt more like a former dragon slayer watching over a dragon king waiting to be slaughtered. For every minute and every second that follows, I will stay by your side, Laswas. For a dragon slayer, a dragon is the most perfect spoil of war. Who says that staying in the Silver Dragon Sanctuary is not a hero? The 2 little dragon girls looked at their mother lying in bed for a day without waking up, Mune's face full of worry. "Is mommy okay?" She doesn't respond when I call her. Noah turned to look at me and questioned, "What did you 2 do last night?" I scratched my head guiltily and explained, "We talked on the balcony for a long time last night. Maybe we caught a cold from the wind then." Then I turned to look at the dragon maid Anna on the side. "It's nothing serious, right? Please rest assured, Your Highness. The sanctuary physician just came to check on Her Majesty. Besides being a little weak, everything else is normal. I will temporarily handle the clan's affairs for Her Majesty these few days. If Your Highness has nothing else, I will go to my duties now." After Anna finished speaking, I let her go. Mune leaned on the bed and gently stroked her mother's silver hair. "Mommy, get well soon. Mune will never make you angry again. She is such an obedient, well-behaved, but also very simple little girl." But I noticed that the she-dragon was sweating a lot. I'll have to help her wipe it off later. On the other hand, Noah, this iceberg little dragon girl, looked at me with suspicion. Are you planning to do something while mommy is unconscious? This remark sounded a bit strange at first. I don't know if Noah had noticed something. I looked at her and replied calmly, Noah, you're overthinking it. I just want to take good care of mommy now. Noah looked at me for a moment and finally said lightly, is that so? That's good. After speaking, she turned to go back and also told Myun to come and see mommy together tomorrow. Although Myun was a little reluctant, she still obediently said good night, daddy to me. For the next period of time, I did plan to take good care of her. I didn't want her to look sick and weak when she woke up and make my precious daughters worry, so I brought a basin of warm water and first washed her face. I gently wiped Laswas's forehead, nose bridge, cheeks with a towel, and whispered, I'm wiping this she-dragon for you because I'm afraid you'll catch a cold. Don't misunderstand when you wake up. She usually shows her big tail, but now she is so weak that she can't even show her tail. After wiping, I thought about changing her clothes as well. I opened the wardrobe and found that the clothes inside were dazzling. I decided to change them according to my own preferences. I touched my chin and thought, I have found similar styles for all the clothes needed, but how to solve the key ears? I can braid them with hair. 2.5 minutes later, everything was done. The Silver Dragon Queen's Beast-Eared Girl limited edition outfit, shining debut. The dragon sigil on my chest began to flash, and for a moment, I was at a loss. Honor in defending the home. I'd better recite the 3 honors and 3 shames of a dragon slayer 10 times to calm myself down quickly. It is a shame to defect to the enemy and betray. It is an honor to be loyal to the empire. It is a shame to collude with the dragon race. After reciting, the dragon sigil gradually dissipated, and I finally breathed a sigh of relief. But today I managed to dress up Laswas so beautifully, it would be a real pity not to record it. I remember that her room happened to have a home camera. After a while of searching in the drawer, I really found it. Come on, wife, give me a smile. Laswas's brow wrinkled, and she let out a sound, which scared me so much my eyes widened, but I quickly realized that I was just scaring myself. The next day, Myun came running over in a hurry. Sister. Noah stopped and asked what happened. Myun fiddled with the Rubik's Cube in her hand. My Rubik's Cube is broken. I want to find daddy to fix it, but I can't find him anywhere. Noah's brow furrowed. Could it be that daddy escaped from the dragon fortress while mommy was unconscious? But she didn't jump to conclusions and took Myun's little hand. I'll go look for him with you again. Along the way, Myun kept shouting, Daddy, where are you? Laswas's room was empty. My bedroom was empty, and the trash can was empty. Seeing Myun's simple and foolish look, Noah was speechless. How could he be there? Myun asked with confusion. We can't find daddy anywhere. Is he lost? Noah suppressed her disappointment and sadness. Some people are very good, but they will leave sooner or later, just like last time. Myun turned her little brain and recalled, like last. Before she could finish, Noah said with certainty, if I'm not mistaken, that man has already left. I always felt that my family was a little different. On the surface, it looked harmonious, but in reality, there were many fake things. Since I can remember, that man has been sleeping in the room, and mommy said he was our daddy. But when he woke up that day, he immediately thought of escaping. Mommy didn't explain anything and just captured him back. From then on, he didn't try to escape again, but I felt he wasn't willing to stay here. Later, he started to deliberately please me, teach me to study, and became a good father. But was this really out of his love for me, or was it just a plan to find an opportunity to escape while we were off guard? When there are unknown factors hidden behind a love, I would rather not have this impure love, nor do I want to be a tool for others to use. He doesn't belong here. He will abandon us and leave here sooner or later. Hearing her sister say that, Myun started to cry. Mommy is unconscious, and daddy doesn't want us anymore. What will we do in the future? Sister will protect you. Noah had always styled herself as an adult, and at this moment, she finally firmly assumed the responsibility of an adult, even though she didn't even have a kindergarten graduation certificate yet. Myun buried her face in her sister's arms and wailed. Noah looked aside and remembered something. Let's have a farewell ceremony for that man. Meanwhile, near the back mountain of the Silver Dragon Sanctuary, I was scouting a place where cherry blossoms were in full bloom. It seems that maid didn't lie to me. It was because I found Anna in the morning, asked her where the Silver Dragon Queen usually liked to go, and asked her to help me circle it on the map. I wanted to go alone, so I took the opportunity of the she-dragon being unconscious to come out and see, and then carefully investigate the surrounding terrain so that I could give her a big surprise when she woke up. Of course, investigating the she-dragon's favorite place was just a cover, a part of my revenge plan. I wanted to take advantage of the she-dragon's weakness when she woke up, to let her suffer humiliation in her favorite place, just like she did to me in front of my hometown before. I chose a sturdy cherry blossom tree, thinking it would be just right to pin the she-dragon against it. The ground was not soft enough, so I could spread petals on it later. From this angle, the entire Silver Dragon Sanctuary could be seen at a glance, so I was satisfied and included the cherry blossom forest in my choice. Now everything is ready, just waiting for the she-dragon to wake up. I will definitely make you pay. When I returned to the courtyard of the Silver Dragon Sanctuary, I saw all the maids gathered together. I walked over with confusion and asked the maid in front of me, "Why is it so lively?" A maid replied without turning her head, "The two highnesses said they wanted to hold a funeral, and they also asked us to prepare a bonfire." At this time, Myun was shouting there, "I'll give you the steak. Daddy, come back and see us." this. Noah was comforting her sister on the side. The person is already gone. Just get over it. I guess the two daughters were playing a new kind of house game, so I might as well cooperate with them a little. When I passed through the maids, they were startled on the spot. It's His Highness the Prince Consort. I quietly came behind the two little dragon girls. Who are you mourning? Your grandfather even taught me how to play the Swona horn. Do you want me to show you a thing or two? But when I saw that the photo on the table was actually me, I thought I was still quite handsome. Why are they holding a funeral for me? They heard my voice, turned around, and their faces were full of astonishment. Daddy appeared. I said awkwardly, what filial daughters? I was only gone for a day, and they're already holding a funeral for me. Mion's eyes were teary. Daddy's back. She threw herself into my arms and cried. Mion thought Daddy didn't want Mion anymore. I gently stroked her little head. My dear daughter, how could Daddy not want you? But Mion and I looked for you several times but couldn't find you. I thought you had already left. Hearing Noah say that, I quickly smiled and explained, Daddy just went for a walk in the back mountain today. Noah's eyes turned slightly sour after hearing that. She subconsciously hugged the wooden box in her arms, lowered her head and said nothing. It turns out I misunderstood Daddy. I picked up Mion and turned to look at the dragon maids, telling everyone they could disperse. Mion pointed to the offerings on the table and asked me if she could eat them. After getting my permission, she happily wagged her little tail and ran over. I don't know who she takes after for being so greedy. At this time, Noah slowly spoke. Next time you go out alone, remember to tell us. Mion, she will be very worried about you. Actually, I could see that Noah was also worried about me, but was too embarrassed to say it. I smiled helplessly and nodded. Sorry for making Mion worry. Noah glanced over again. Also, I have to apologize to you. I didn't trust you in this matter. Seeing her bow to me and say sorry, I was a little surprised. It turned out that the funeral was due to her misunderstanding, but she wouldn't have been known if she hadn't said it. But a precocious child will always consciously take on their own responsibilities and mistakes. The reason for this misunderstanding was because I didn't give her enough sense of security. I understand very well her desire for family affection and love, but she doesn't dare to take that crucial step. Even if I promise her something now, she won't easily believe it. I can only use my actions to slowly prove that I will be a good father. Then I reached out and patted Noah's head. Let's go eat dinner together. You have to go back to the academy tomorrow morning. The next morning, Mion was lying on Laswas's bed, looking at her with a worried face. Laswas's fingers moved slightly, and then she slowly opened her eyes. Mommy, you're finally awake. Mion wagged her little tail excitedly, so excited that tears welled up in her eyes. You've been sleeping all this time. Mion was so worried about you. Laswas raised her hand to wipe away the tears from her eyes, and then pinched her baby fat cheeks. Sorry, Mion, for making you worry. But when she tried to sit up, she found that her body was too weak to use any strength. She thought her Dragon King body could withstand the backlash side effects of the blood curse, but she didn't expect it to turn out like this. Could it be because she used that to save that guy before? Laswas learned from Mion that she had been unconscious for 2 days. She guessed that with my personality, I had already escaped from the Dragon Fortress, and looking around the whole room, she didn't see me. She closed her eyes in annoyance, regretting her miscalculation. But 2 days is not enough time to run far. Just as she was about to send people to capture me back, I walked into the room with a wriggling big fish. Mion, how about we have fish for dinner tonight? I just caught it in the back mountain. Isn't Daddy amazing? After hearing Mion's praise, I suddenly noticed that Laswas was already awake. She turned her head with great surprise. Why are you here? If not here, where else? I not only went to the back mountain to get some fresh air just now, but I also caught a big fish for my dear wife to replenish her body. Hearing me call her that, a blush quietly crept up her cheeks. Who is your dear? I didn't answer her, but instead gave Mion a glorious task, letting her take this fish to the kitchen. Mion raised her little hand and gave a salute. Don't worry, Daddy, I guarantee to complete the mission. Watching the little dragon girl run out of the room holding a fish taller than her, I didn't forget to remind her to eat dinner herself first. Daddy and Mommy have something to deal with. Then Laswas returned to the main topic. I thought you would take advantage of my coma, abandon us mother and daughter and run away. I took off my gloves and said playfully, we still have a lot of things to deal with between us. How could I run away? What things? Laswas opened her small mouth, her face full of confusion. I walked over and leaned close to her. Do you remember what you did to me when I just woke up more than a month ago? Laswas's thoughts stirred slightly, and she felt a sense of foreboding. You wouldn't be. She advised me not to make a move while she was weak, otherwise I would not have a good end. I chuckled. Wasn't I just awake for 10 minutes back then? I hadn't even had a sip of water before you carved a dragon sigil on me and pushed me down. Have you forgotten? Laswas tried to threaten me. When I recover, you should know what the consequences will be, so don't make a decision you'll regret. After hearing this, I leaned over directly. How could I regret it? This is the most correct decision I've ever made in my life. As I spoke, I had already reached out and picked up Laswas in a princess carry. It's your turn to be the war captive of me, this dragon slayer. I carried Laswas all the way to the cherry blossom forest in the back mountain. During this time, she was always disobedient, using all her strength to push me away, but it was useless. Otherwise, she would have sent me flying long ago. After arriving under a sturdy cherry blossom tree, I gently placed Laswas under the cherry blossom petals. Laswas frowned slightly, not understanding why I brought her here. I said quite proudly, during your coma, I have already investigated the places you usually like to go. This is just the first stop. Laswas gritted her teeth in anger. First stop? You mean you're going to take me to other places? I turned around and pointed with my hand. Do you see? The entire Silver Dragon Sanctuary can be seen at a glance. Laswas's pupils trembled slightly. You're not trying to get revenge for what happened in my hometown, are you? It seems you've already guessed. An eye for an eye is not a patent of your dragon race. I, a human, also have a strong sense of revenge and ritual. As we spoke, our dragon sigils began to flash. However, before she could say anything, I directly pinched her chin, forcing her to look at the distant Silver Dragon Sanctuary. Your palace is right in front of you. All your pride and dignity come from there, and now you can only be played with by me. Laswas, tell me, how does it feel to be humiliated by a defeated dragon slayer? Since the matter had already come to this and could not be changed, Laswas decided to welcome my revenge in her own way. She gently wrapped her tail around my wrist. I couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. She still has strength? I saw her turn her head to look at me. While you can still control the situation, do your best to make me feel ashamed and unwilling, because after this, I will take even more tragic revenge on you. I grabbed Laswas's tail with my backhand, pushed it aside, and smiled mockingly. Your Majesty, don't tell me about the future. I always live in the present. The night is long. The revenge carnival has just begun. The next morning, I brought Laswas back to the bedroom, and my stamina bar was completely empty. We changed places 3 times last night. It was really tiring, but seeing that she was still quite satisfied, sleeping so soundly, suddenly I realized something was wrong. Didn't I come for revenge? Never mind. Anyway, my revenge was successful this time. Before the maids came, I planned to go back to my own room, but as soon as I got up, Laswas subconsciously reached out her hand. Her eyes were still closed. Before I could figure out what was going on, she suddenly said, "So cold." It seems that when she was sleeping, she wanted to move towards a warmer place, which is the instinct of all living creatures. Although I thought to myself that I could not be confused again, the moment I held her hand, I regretted it again. Compared to going back to lie on that cold bed, it was warmer here. Little Mion had just woken up and came to the bedroom rubbing her eyes. She gently shook her mother's shoulder. "Mommy, get up. The sun is shining on your tail. Go find Daddy to play," Laswas said drowsily. Mion ran to my side and started shaking me. "Daddy, get up. The sun is shining on your butt." I also responded groggily. "Go play with your mommy. Let Daddy sleep a little longer." Mion stomped her foot in a huff, but she quickly calmed down. This is the first time Mion has seen Daddy and Mommy being so intimate. But why are there so many red dots on their bodies? In the next moment, a light bulb lit up above her head. This must be bug bites. Mion knows how to treat it. Mommy taught me before. She found the myriad dragon ointment she used last time in the room and showed a triumphant smile. "It's okay that sister isn't here. Mion will take good care of you." She carefully applied the ointment to those red dots. Every step was done very seriously. I don't know how long it took, but I was woken up by Laswas, and I only felt that my face was wet. We looked at each other, and in the next second, I burst out laughing. "Why did you put so much green ointment on your face?" Laswas was silent. At this moment, the little dragon girl raised her hand and said excitedly, "Mion saw that Daddy and Mommy were bitten by bugs, so I helped you apply the medicine." We didn't know how to explain it for a moment, but seeing Mion's face asking for praise, I gently stroked her little head and praised her for doing a great job. I didn't expect her to want to help next time, but next time I just want to lock the door. A few days passed. I brought a bowl of fragrant fried rice to the bedroom and then served a spoonful of rice to Laswas's mouth. "What are you doing?" Seeing her shrink back with some disgust, I directly force-fed her. "Eat, my queen. You haven't eaten for several days. Although the dragon race can go without eating and drinking during hibernation, you should be hungry now." Laswas glared at me while eating the rice I handed her. "It's quite delicious." Laswas subconsciously opened her mouth waiting to be fed, but I actually ate the second spoonful myself. My homemade love-filled fried rice. Of course it's delicious. Seeing this, the she-dragon got angry again. "Why are you eating what you made for me? Give me another bite." Just like that, 1 portion of fried rice. We two finished it quickly, 1 bite each. "Look at me these few days. I've served you bats and cooked for you. I'm so good to you." Hearing me say that, Laswas snorted lightly. "Why don't you mention the matter of tormenting me? How can you call it tormenting? This is clearly my overflowing love for you." Seeing me about to walk out of the room, Laswas started to be stubborn. "Every cheap thing you do now is a mark of shame I will nail on you in the future. You remember that. My dear wife, you're really good at scaring people. I'll punish you properly again tomorrow." Laswas gritted her teeth in anger. "Damn dragon slayer, you're really good at tormenting dragons." She directly punched the wall behind her with a crack sound, and the hard wall instantly showed cracks. Laswas was stunned for a moment, almost didn't react. My power came back so quickly. Meanwhile, I was still humming a little tune while washing the dishes, just hoping that the she-dragon would recover slowly. I still wanted to bully her for a few more days. However, at this time, I had not yet realized the seriousness of the matter. The dragon maid Anna pushed the door and entered. "Excuse me, your majesty. Drinking some of the decoction prescribed by the physician can help you recover your strength." Laswas, on the other hand, told Anna the truth. "My body has already recovered. It's okay not to drink it." Anna soon discovered that there were obvious cracks in the corner of the wall and asked, "Your majesty, what's going on?" "I just didn't control my strength well. Remember to find someone to repair it tomorrow. By the way, you wait a minute." Laswas's eyes moved moved slightly, and bad ideas began to bubble up in her stomach. Don't tell Leon about my recovery yet. I want him to take care of me for a few more days. If you meet him, just tell him I have to lie down for another week. Laswis averted her eyes, her face red. Anna was stunned for a moment, then covered her mouth and chuckled. Yes, your majesty, I understand. Laswis's mouth curved into a smile. Leon, your good days are coming to an end. 2 days later, Myun suddenly came to find me, saying she wanted to learn that magic that made her body sparkle. Hearing this, I tried hard to recall, and Myun added, it's the one you and mommy did at the training ground. I asked her curiously, you're too young now, why do you want to learn magic? Myun replied with a worried face, sister has learned a lot of things at school. Myun doesn't want to be left behind by sister. So you also want to learn something, right? Myun nodded excitedly. It turns out that the benefit of having 2 kids at home is that you don't need to supervise them. They will compete with each other and make progress together. She loves her sister so much, so naturally she doesn't want to be left too far behind. I pounded my chest and assured Myun, Daddy will definitely teach you magic. Let's start with a simple magic guide. Thank you, Daddy. Although Myun's comprehension is not as good as Noah's, her progress is also very fast. In just a few hours, she was able to guide the magic power out of her body. Maybe she will soon be able to receive magic enlightenment and awaken her original magic power. Could she be a genius? Just then, Myun's stomach rumbled. She looked at me helplessly. I'm hungry. I don't have any strength. I smiled awkwardly. There's no need to rush things. Let's just practice until here today. Let Daddy take you back to eat. I took Myun's little hand and walked to the kitchen. Not long after, in the Silver Dragon Queen's bedroom, Anna respectfully walked in. This is what you asked me to find. Thank you for your hard work. You can go rest now. As soon as Laswis finished speaking, I happily came to her room. Wife, I'm here. According to what Anna said before, Laswis's magic power would take at least another week to recover, so I still have 6 days to take revenge on her properly. Is there anything uncomfortable today? I'll give you a massage. Laswis, however, looked disdainful. What? You're not going to let me see the power of the strongest dragon slayer in the Empire today? I thought you had some great skills, but it's nothing special. Instantly, I even felt like I might have misheard. You, Laswis. I suddenly yanked off the quilt. Laswis pretended to be worried. Since you're so stubborn, I'll let you see my strength. You'd better not regret it. I've never regretted it. She smiled brightly at me, and my waist was wrapped by her dragon tail. I've fallen for Laswis's trick. Her tail tightened slightly, and she directly threw me onto the bed, revealing a triumphant wicked smile. Laswis, how did you recover your magic power so quickly? She said softly, a captive should just shut up, my dear dragon slayer. Then she uncovered the torture instruments Anna had brought, and I was instantly stunned. When was this prepared? It seems I've really walked into a tiger's den. My hands and feet were shackled, and my eyes were blindfolded. Laswis looked at me playfully. Don't think about struggling. I've received professional anti-interrogation training. I will never submit to you. Laswis, seeing my stubbornness, reached out to touch the recording stone on the table. Is that so? In the next second, the recording stone activated, and a voice full of pleading insincerity came out. I really want to kiss you, Laswis. Hearing this, my heart tightened, and my body went numb. She smiled. Does this voice sound familiar? Then who was it that begged me like that? Although we both knew it well, I was still trying to be stubborn. It's just that the voice sounds a lot like me. It doesn't prove that the person who said that was me. Oh, is that so? Then why don't you open your eyes wide and see clearly? I opened one eye and looked at the screen of the recording stone. This time I was completely numb. I now feel that simple revenge is no longer enough to satisfy Laswis. She has started to walk the path of psychological warfare. I quickly clasped my hands together and begged her for mercy. No need to play it again. I remember everything. It's good that you remember, Laswis said, picking up the whip on the table to threaten me. Repeat the learning content from just now a few times. If you don't remember clearly, I, the teacher, can repeat the explanation for you. Seeing me not speaking, she made me taste the taste of a whip on my flesh. It seems that with our vengeful nature, we will never stop like this. As the saying goes, to stop a war, you must start another war. A messenger dragon suddenly flew to the balcony. I could see it was a letter from the academy. Why would they send a messenger dragon so late? Has something happened? Laswis frowned and turned her head. The academy wants us to go over tomorrow. I looked at the letter, my face shocked. How did Noah get into a fight with someone? The next morning, Laswis and I hurriedly came to the principal's office and found that Noah was already there. 3 young dragons were all bruised and swollen, and the one in the middle had a bandage on his arm. Principal Wilson called us here mainly to deal with the matter of Noah fighting with her classmates. Laswis squinted her eyes slightly. Are you saying that 3 young dragons ganged up on my daughter? Her anger instantly ignited, scaring the 3 little children into trembling. I quickly came to Noah's side to check her carefully to see if she had any wounds. Noah, however, crossed her little arms and told me she was fine. Seeing this, Wilson explained helplessly, in fact, it was your daughter who beat them up. Laswis showed a surprised expression. Is that so? Seeing Noah's silence, it seems it's true. I secretly gave her a thumbs up, as expected of my daughter. Well done. Wilson pushed up his glasses on his nose. Although this matter is just a small squabble between young dragons, it also involves the conflict between cocoon-born and naturally born young dragons. The dragon race has 2 ways of reproducing offspring, cocoon-born and naturally born. After growing up, there is no difference between between adult dragons, but in the young dragon period, there are still some differences in ability between the two sides. Cocoon-born young dragons directly inherit power from their mothers and have a certain advantage in physical fitness and talent, and naturally born dragons need to grow and learn to master power. It can be said that within the same age group, the strength of cocoon-born young dragons is above that of naturally born young dragons. But Noah, as a naturally born young dragon, actually beat 3 cocoon-born young dragons who were several years older than her. What a promising future for such a young child. As soon as he finished speaking, the office door was pushed open again. This time, 3 male dragons came. The red-haired one at the head was Lal's father. "I heard my son beat up another kid. What's the big deal? I'll just pay for the medical expenses in full." However, when he saw his precious son beaten black and blue, he was completely stunned. "Son, how did you get beaten up like this?" The other 2 dragons also walked up to care for their own sons. Las was turned slightly and said in a low voice, "That guy is a member of the Red Flame Dragon King Constantine's clan. The Red Flame Dragon clan are all arrogant and hard to get along with." I also replied in a low voice, "The number of Red Flame Dragon clan members I've killed could circle the academy twice." Who knew the red-haired one would walk over with his hands in his pockets? "Isn't this the queen of the Silver Dragon clan? You, as a queen, don't even know how to discipline your own child, letting her bully other dragons at will? The Silver Dragon clan's combat power is not as good as our Red Flame Dragon clan, so you only dare to bully our clan's children with your young dragons?" Faced with the other party's verbal taunts, I stood in front of Laswis to prevent her from being impulsive, but the red-haired one threatened, "If you don't apologize to my son today, don't even think about leaving this door." Who's afraid of whom? My hands are itching anyway. Seeing us 2 at loggerheads, Wilson slapped the table. "Parents, please be quiet. I will recount the whole story of this incident. Last night at dinner in the cafeteria, Lal brought 2 classmates and had a verbal altercation with Noah. Noah's tray bumped into Lal, dirtying his clothes. Later on the way back to the dormitory, Lal and his friends blocked Noah in the backyard of the dormitory and a fierce physical conflict occurred, which resulted in this. Do you have anything to add? The 3 young dragons said no. Noah, however, raised her little hand. "I have something to add. Noah, please speak." "First of all, it was he who deliberately provoked me in the cafeteria. Tipping over the tray was just an accident. Later in the dormitory backyard, they rushed over and startled me. I acted in self-defense and accidentally broke his arm." "Right, Lal?" After speaking, Noah stared at Lal. "No, that's right." Lal hid behind the red-haired one in fear. I touched my chin and suddenly spoke. "I think you did do something wrong, Noah." Noah looked at me in surprise, her face full of grievance. I gently placed my hand on her knee and explained to her, "Next time he dares to bully you, you kick his knee first, understand? Because their jumping ability is not strong. Once the knee is injured, they will only be beaten on the battlefield." Noah nodded seriously. "I know. I'll pay attention next time." She even took out a small notebook on the spot to take notes, but the red-haired one couldn't sit still after hearing that. "Principal, did you hear that? This guy is publicly teaching his daughter how to bully my child. For a student with such violent tendencies, an apology is no longer enough to solve the problem. She should be expelled." Principal Wilson raised his hand and stopped Lal's father's incessant chatter. "Be quiet. Whether to expel her is up to the academy. What's more, many students usually report that Lal often bullies some naturally born young dragons. Last night in the cafeteria, many students also said that Lal deliberately provoked Noah." The red-haired one's eyes widened even more after hearing this. "You old fool, are you confused? It was clearly their daughter who beat my son, and now you're not punishing her, but saying my son deliberately provoked her." To this, I sneered. "Have you no shame? My daughter is only 1 year and 2 months old. May I ask how old your son with a broken arm is?" The red-haired one stammered. You don't care how old my son is. Anyway, I'm 7 years and 11 months old." Lal whispered from the side. I burst out laughing on the spot. If I encountered such a shameful thing, I would find a place to hide and let this matter rot in my stomach. The red-haired one was about to go mad. "You, who don't even dare to show your tail. What right do you have to talk about my son? I think your whole family is low class." He even pointed his finger at the Silver Dragon Queen and her daughter. I stepped forward, grabbed his finger, and bent it back sharply, making him howl in pain. "It's one thing to curse me, but you dare to point at my wife and child and curse?" The corner of Laswis's mouth turned up slightly, secretly pleased. Leon is quite protective of his own. The red-haired one glared at me fiercely. "You dare to lay a hand on me? Do you know who I am? I am a Duke of the Red Flame Dragon clan. Our leader is Constantine." I'm so scared. Laswis couldn't stand it anymore. This parent, a small conflict between children at school doesn't need to involve the identity and status of both families, otherwise it won't be good for you. I believe the academy will make a fair judgment. No matter what the final outcome is, we are willing to accept it. Wilson couldn't help but marvel in his heart. The Silver Dragon Queen really has a broad mind. This parent, if you insist on making trouble at school, then your esteemed son's school registration may be cancelled because of this. The red-haired one didn't dare to say anything else after hearing that. His arrogant attitude completely disappeared. Lal also hoped his father would let it go. He still wanted to continue his studies at the school, so the red-haired one explained that he had just lost his temper and agreed to accept the school's judgment. But in his heart, he was thinking, "I'll temporarily avoid a confrontation, and I'll deal with you after we leave the school gate. Principal Wilson glanced at him and continued, Law was at fault first. Noah was acting in excessive self-defense. Then the final outcome is, Noah will be verbally educated by her homeroom teacher afterwards and will seriously reflect on her behavior this time. Law and his two friends will each write a self-criticism and be responsible for the class's cleaning for a week. Outside the principal's office, Noah waved to us and said she was going back to class. Before leaving, I didn't forget to remind my daughter, if they still don't learn their lesson, you must kick their knees first. As soon as I finished speaking, Principal Wilson suddenly called out to me from behind. I was startled. Principal, is there anything else? Wilson was puzzled. Although we haven't met many times, I have never seen your tail. This remark made me a little flustered. I thought he had discovered my identity. It turned out he just couldn't tell which noble dragon clan I came from and hoped I would tell him if it was convenient. Laswas quickly took my arm and smiled. Principal, you are too exaggerating. My husband is just an ordinary dragon citizen. Where is he from a noble dragon clan? I'm just a commoner. Seeing us two singing in harmony, Wilson was full of praise. The union of you two can actually produce such a powerful young dragon. It's truly a miracle. Anyway, the academy welcomes more children like this. You know what I mean? Actually, the principal's thoughts were all written out. If you could have a few more, that would be great. The more the merrier. I believe that on the day Noah graduates, she will definitely be able to lead the dragon race to defeat more dragon slayers. I have to thank you very much, Principal. The red-haired one was still observing us from a distance, his heart full of fire. He took his two little brothers and turned to leave. We walked to the academy gate, planning to set off back to the Silver Dragon Sanctuary, but the red-haired one blocked our way, looking like he had been squatting at the school gate for a long time. Silver Dragon Queen, you two wait a minute. Is there anything else? Laswas's tone rarely revealed impatience. She really felt it was beneath her to talk to such a person. The academy has already given the outcome of this matter, so I don't think there's any need to talk about it anymore. Please step aside. The red-haired one had a gangster air. That was just a courtesy in the office. I gave the academy face by saying that. Now that we're out of the academy, we have to settle this according to our dragon clan's way. I want to challenge your husband to a duel here. Laswas glanced at the melon-eating dragons behind her, thinking that if she refused, everyone would definitely slander the Silver Dragon clan for being weak and afraid of battle. The red-haired one sneered mockingly. You're not scared, are you? Laswas leaned close to my ear and asked in a low voice, can you still fight with your current physical condition? I was excited and rubbing my fists. Since he asked for it, of course I have to go. Before the duel, Laswas also reminded me to be careful and not to accidentally kill the other party. And at this time in the academy, Noah was holding a box of cookies she made in her cooking class, but heard two classmates say that there was a dragon fight at the main gate. Noah suddenly had a bad premonition and quickly ran to the gate, just in time to see me and that lol's father squaring off, looking like they were about to fight. The red-haired one sized me up with a look of victory. This guy looks weak and frail. He hasn't even shown his tail. He's just all talk. He probably doesn't have much strength. Now that his son lost a fight, I, as the father, must definitely get back some face for my son. The red-haired one shamelessly said that their red flame dragon clan never bullies people. As long as I can last 3 rounds, he will admit defeat. To this, I impatiently picked my ear. Less nonsense. Let's start. Seeing my dismissive attitude, the red-haired one was about to explode with anger and roared, this is simply too much for a dragon. After speaking, he swung his fiery right fist and took the initiative to attack me, but I dodged it very easily. Sure enough, as I expected, this guy is even weaker than the dragons I encountered on the battlefield. I giggled and held up 3 fingers. 2 more rounds. The red-haired one was a little surprised, but thought I just got lucky. This time he directly punched the ground. You guy, you're not a coward, are you? Seeing me jump into the air to dodge his attack, the red-haired one spewed out hot dragon flame, but this kind of move was meaningless to me. Just as the dragon flame was about to hit me, in the next second, I flashed to the red-haired one's front, and this reaction speed scared him. It's finally my turn to make a move. I whipped my leg and kicked the red-haired one's calf joint hard, causing his knee to hit the ground on the spot, and the expression on his face looked very painful. After all, the knee is the weakness of the red flame dragon clan. Then I clenched my right fist and swung at him, punching him in the face. The red-haired one spat out blood, and his body was sent flying more than 10 meters away. I dusted off my hands and mocked, to beat a small shrimp like you, I don't even need to use magic. The 2 underlings' faces turned pale with fear upon seeing this. Duke Rel, are you okay? I swung my fist at them. You two want to try too? They were so scared they waved their hands repeatedly. No, no. Then hurry up and take your duke and get lost. If you bully my daughter again, I won't let you off. As soon as I finished speaking, the 2 running dog dragons pulled the wretched red-haired one and left in a hurry. I sighed with relief, turned around to tell Laswas to go back to the dragon fortress, but was surprised to find that my daughter was standing in front of me. Noah, when did you get here? She hid her inner excitement and explained, I just happened to be passing by. Noah came over with the cookie tin. This is for you too. Laswas took it with both hands, opened it, and her face lit up with joy. Did you make this? The teacher taught us to make it in cooking class. I only got 2nd place. Maybe the taste is not very good. You two try it. Laswas broke half of it and handed it to me. How could it not be good? Isn't this delicious? Leon, hurry up and take it and try it. it. After I took a bite, I also sincerely praised, how could a cookie made by my daughter not be delicious? You will definitely get first place next time. Noah nodded and plucked up the courage to say to me, Daddy, you were so handsome just now. Hearing my daughter praise me to my face, I seem to have understood the meaning of being a father. It seems that the relationship between her and me has taken another step closer. This, to me, is happier than receiving any gift. I smiled and scratched my hair. Of course, your old man is very amazing, and I didn't lie to you, right? The knee is really the weakness of the Red Flame Dragon clan. If you want to learn any other combat skills in the future, you can just ask Daddy. Laswas noticed a little scratch on the back of my hand, and a flash of heartache appeared on her face. Back at the Silver Dragon Sanctuary, I was in the nursery reading a compendium of dragon rearing, preparing to read it to Min tomorrow. Suddenly someone knocked on the door. I saw Laswas wearing a sexy nurse's uniform, holding a medical kit and slowly walking into the room. I curiously asked her how she got here, but she didn't answer me, but sat down directly next to me. I was instantly flustered. Is she going to play some new trick again? Laswas's little face turned red and she slowly spoke. Didn't your hand get injured? Coming to my senses, I looked at the back of my hand. It's just a small scratch. It will recover in 2 days. Laswas haughtily pulled my hand over. Behave yourself. Then she took out the topical medicine she had brought, dipped a cotton swab in it, and then applied it to my wound little by little. The medicine stung a little, and I subconsciously flinched my hand. It'll be done in a moment. As a battle-hardened dragon slayer, I've been injured many times before and just casually treated them. This is the first time someone has so thoughtfully applied medicine for me. Laswas's palm was very soft and warm, but her fingertips were slightly cool, and the places she touched were ticklish. I turned my head away to not let my thoughts run wild, trying to shift my attention from this simple physical contact. Laswas, with her head lowered, suddenly spoke. Today. Thank you. Thank me for what? I looked at her with a puzzled expression. In the office, Lal's father was so aggressive, and you took the initiative to stand up for me and Noah. Oh, that. It's what I should do as a husband. My own wife was being pointed at and cursed. How could I just sit there and do nothing? And I wasn't just defending you. I was mainly doing it for Noah. Laswas snorted lightly and raised her hand to smooth the hair by her ear. I knew you'd be stubborn. My sister sent a letter, inviting our whole family to visit her. Do you want to go? Can't I just go? I don't want to go to your sister's place. It's not enough to settle the old scores. Then let's settle the old scores. Alright, then can't I just go? 2 days later, a sonic boom erupted in the clouds, and a silver giant dragon flew into the sky above the Red Dragon clan's territory. Laswas slowly landed in the front courtyard of the Red Dragon Sanctuary. I slid down from the dragon's wing holding Myun, with Noah close behind. Sister Isha and several dragon maids had been waiting for a long time. Your dragon form is still so handsome. The Red Dragon Queen, who had just been elegant and dignified, was now hugging Laswas's dragon head and nuzzling against it. With a flash of light, Laswas transformed back into her human form, but still couldn't escape Isha's enthusiastic embrace, which was like a husky's. Little Luo is also beautiful when she transforms back. Let me introduce my husband and daughters to you. This is your first official meeting. Alright, my husband, Leon Kasmod. Isha looked him up and down. Hello, brother-in-law. I'm finally meeting you awake. Looking at you like this, you're even more compatible with little Luo. I smiled awkwardly. Laswas introduced the 2 little dragon girls again. These are our daughters, Myun and Noah. Myun happily greeted them as soon as she arrived. Hello, Aunt. On the other hand, the socially awkward Noah stood timidly by Laswas's side. Myun directly threw herself into her aunt's fragrant and soft embrace. Let me guess, you're Myun, and the one behind is Noah, right? Aunt's guess is correct. Little Noah, do you want Aunt to hug you too? Laswas had mentioned in her letter to her before that Noah was a quiet little girl. Noah hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Isha held Myun and Noah in her arms, nuzzling them left and right, feeling like she was about to be mesmerized. So happy to be able to get a whiff of 2 cute little dragon girls at once. I heard from little Luo that it's usually brother-in-law who takes care of the children. It must be hard for you. I smiled. It's not hard at all. I like taking care of children, so the children are also closer to me. Laswas was stunned for a moment, then raised her eyebrows and looked at me. They're clearly closer to me, right? Wife, you're really good at joking. Do I look like I'm joking with you? Closer to you. Closer to you. Do I need you to let me? Isha couldn't help but praise. You two have a really good relationship. For Isha's praise, which was not in line with the actual situation, we both stopped fighting and replied in unison, it's alright. To this, Isha was not surprised. Alright, you must be tired after such a long journey. Let's go inside first. After dinner, we went to the living room to rest. Isha brought a thick photo album to the 2 little dragon girls. Do you want to see your mommy's childhood photos? Myun excitedly raised her little hand. I want to see. But Laswas on the side panicked and went to snatch the photo album. Why do you still have those photos? Give them to me. Little Luo seems to be shy. Then Isha and I exchanged glances, and she threw the photo album to me with a whoosh. I easily caught it, eager to see Laswas's dark history. After all, there's nothing more embarrassing than looking at childhood photos. Laswas's little face was flushed. When I opened it, I was completely shocked. So you have this side to you too? Laswas was stunned for a moment, and the 2 little dragon girls also came over to see. So I took a photo out of the album. You were so energetic when you were studying. How did you grow up to be so cold? This was a photo of her as an outstanding student representative, giving a speech on stage. She wore the St. Heath Academy school uniform skirt, her silver long hair tied into a neat and crisp ponytail, and she looked very sunny and cheerful. Laswas unhappily stepped on my foot with her high heels, and I suddenly had a very bad premonition. A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory. Don't be so smug. Maybe my sister will tease you next. I saw Isha standing behind our two daughters. There are many more photos of your mommy as a child in the front. They are super cute. She was a white and soft ball, super comfortable to touch. The two little dragon girls excitedly flipped the album to the front. The young dragon Laswas was like a pure silver-haired version of Noah and Mune. The first photo was a funny one of her being scared to tears by a spider. The second was her sucking her finger while sleeping. The third was a handsome scene of her in battle. And the fourth was her receiving an Academy Honor Certificate. Mommy is so small. Mune wants to touch her too. Mune excitedly flipped another page. Mommy in this photo is so handsome. I also curiously leaned over. This was a photo taken on the day Laswas inherited the title of Silver Dragon Queen. On the throne, the queen with a silver crown on her head accepted the worship of the Silver Dragon citizens, looking heroic and majestic. I couldn't help but praise her. Wife is indeed quite handsome, she snorted haughtily. After the album was finished, the two daughters were still not satisfied. Mune wants to see more photos of mommy. Seeing this, Laswas quickly took away the album. Alright, you've seen them all. Sister, you quickly take it back and put it away. However, having not seen her for a long time, she underestimated her old sister's scheming. It's rare to reunite with her sister's family. How could she not express her sisterly love fiercely? Isha took out a crystal ball. It's not over yet. Look what this is. Laswas completely broke down. I quickly raised my hand and answered. This is called a recording stone. Do you want to see your mommy's video? Mune and Noah looked expectant. Want to see? Laswas said with a hint of pleading. Sister, I beg you, for the sake of me being your biological sister, don't release the things inside. Sister, I also beg you, for the sake of me being your biological brother-in-law, you must show us the things inside. I could no longer hold back my curiosity about the images in the recording stone, because Laswas's strong resistance meant there must be some unspeakable images inside. Isha appreciated our couple's reaction, very satisfied. Since it's Leon's first time visiting my home, I'll listen to him this time, and next time I'll listen to little Luo. Seeing my triumphant look, Laswas secretly vowed in her heart, I'll never come to your place again. Isha started to activate the recording stone, and a clear picture appeared in the center of the living room. This is a super precious video. After seeing the familiar scene, Laswas immediately became nervous and tried to cover my eyes with her hands. You're not allowed to watch this part, but how could that stop me? In the video, Isha was talking with Laswas about feelings for the first time. What are your standards for a future partner? At that time, the 18-year-old Laswas didn't really understand so-called feelings or love, but she had extremely clear standards. She thought for a moment and began to answer seriously. This person must be at least stronger than me in terms of grades, preferably having won many firsts or championships. Responsible, doesn't hate children, strong but not a bully, has his own principles of conduct, and is not affected by the clan and the outside world. Mune and Noah understood as soon as they heard it. Mommy is talking about daddy. Indeed, she is talking about me. Hearing me say that, Laswas was very stubborn. Have you no shame? Isha's eyes moved slightly. These 3 points are all very difficult, especially the last one. Many people lose themselves after gaining power and rights. The young Laswas looked up at the Milky Way in the night sky, her firm tone revealing a hint of longing and expectation. Who knows? If I don't meet such a person, I don't want to wrong myself by getting married. If I get married in the future, I will only marry such a person. As the video ended, I looked at Laswas in disbelief. So I am your perfect match? She shyly turned her head away. That was just something I said when I was young. I get it. You don't have to be so embarrassed. Now that Isha's purpose had been achieved, she asked curiously, who chased who first between you two? We both pointed at each other in unison. It was she who chased me first. Do you dare to say that again? I suddenly found that Laswas's gaze at me was not right, as if she could eat me up when we got back. Helpless, I had to admit defeat. She chased me first. I didn't know what was good for me at first and ignored her. Then I regretted it and chased her back. Laswas snorted coldly. That's more like it. Isha chuckled. Your relationship is really good. So next, do you want to see the love letters little Luo received back then? There's a whole box of them. We really want to see them. Why do you even have that? Let me burn it. When it was time to rest, Isha only arranged one room for Laswas and me. Looking around, there was a huge bathtub in the room, with many rose petals scattered in the water. The pink bed sheets were even more outrageous, with a heart shape made of roses. We were both stunned on the spot. What's going on? The room's decoration is simply shameless. Laswas shyly asked her sister what was going on. Isha squinted and smiled, smiling like a cunning old fox who had succeeded in a scheme. I specially prepared this guest room for you. You'll have to make do with living here for these 2 days. Are there any other rooms? What's there to be shy about between a husband and wife? Isha had already seen through Laswas's little thoughts. What a careless mistake. The she-dragon sister is not to be underestimated either. I wanted to leave this room, but was directly stopped by Isha. Where are you going? I made an excuse that my daughters missed me, so I was going to see them, but Isha told me not to worry about about the children. She had already arranged everything. The two children should be having a lot of fun now because she had turned the bedroom into a small young dragon amusement park. For this day, I, your sister, have been preparing for 2 years. You two have a good rest. Laswas and I sighed helplessly. It seems we can only sleep in this room tonight. I couldn't help but whisper, I didn't expect your sister to be so scheming. My sister is just like that. You'll know after spending more time with her. As she spoke, Laswas had already opened the wardrobe. She originally wanted to find a nightgown to wear, but the upper layer was filled with all kinds of uniforms. Seeing her quickly close the wardrobe door, I was bewildered. What's going on? There's only one bed and one bathtub in this room, so you sleep in the bathtub. Hearing her say that, I was a little unhappy. A bathtub is not a place for people to sleep, but the feel of this bed was a bit different from a normal bed. It was actually a waterbed. I lay down directly on it, feeling the undulation under the bed. It was quite elastic. Then you're in luck. She suddenly changed her mind, which surprised me a little. You're not going to do something improper to me, are you? Laswas clenched her fists in anger and suddenly pulled out a whip from somewhere. Are you itching for a beating? Do you want me to serve you well? I was so scared I waved my hands repeatedly. No, no, Laswas snorted coldly. Then I'll take a bath first. You're not allowed to peek. I pouted. Who would peek? Obviously she didn't believe me at all and kicked me out of the room. You go for a walk and come back. So I hummed a little tune and walked along, planning to find a place to get some air. But as soon as I reached the rooftop, I was stunned. Isha was actually here alone, drinking red wine, seeming to have something on her mind. She put the wine glass on the table and asked me how I got out. I explained that little Lua was taking a bath, so I came out to get some air. Isha casually picked up a bottle of red wine. Want to have a drink with me? Seeing that I readily agreed, she filled the wine glasses one by one. This is little Lua's favorite wine. Then she handed me a glass of red wine. Isha suddenly became sentimental. Little Lua, when I used to drink and chat here sometimes. You two have a really good relationship. I watched little Lua grow up. She spent the first 50 years of her life with me. Later, when she became the Silver Dragon Queen and left here, we switched to writing letters to each other to report our safety. She suddenly told me that she had married a low-key dragon king, a secret marriage, and was pregnant with his child. I blessed her in the letter, but she wasn't very happy, and her words were full of melancholy. She said in the letter that you were not in good health, always sleeping for a very long time, and couldn't be by her side. She was only taken care of by maids during her pregnancy. You should know, right? Twins are much harder than a single birth, both during pregnancy and childbirth. Isha's words also reminded me. Back then, Laswas was forced to conceive the child of me, her sworn enemy, and spend her pregnancy alone, only able to relieve her inner sorrow and depression by writing letters to her only sister. At that time, she must have felt that every day was like a year. Isha suddenly patted my shoulder, which startled me and brought me back from my thoughts. At that time, I thought she had married a lazy and irresponsible garbage male dragon. I smiled awkwardly. Do I look like that kind of dragon? Of course not. And through our brief interaction tonight, I'm even more convinced that little Luo married the right person. She really likes you. As soon as Isha finished speaking, I was a little incredulous. Laswas really likes me? I can't agree with that. The thought of that she-dragon's usual fierce look, and how she always likes to punish me, makes me think it's unlikely. Perhaps Isha doesn't really understand her sister either. Seeing me not speaking, Isha thought I was just being shy. I sighed lightly. In front of Laswas's sister, I still had to pretend to be a loving couple, so I scratched my neck and smiled. Sister, you're so right. We are indeed in love with each other. Isha excitedly patted my shoulder. Actually, I knew from the way you interact with each other, because you are relaxed and comfortable when you are together. You are both husband and wife and friends. Little Lua is particularly bad at expressing her feelings. Besides me, you are the first dragon she has treated so sincerely. Isha's eyes became a little scary. You are a responsible man. You know what to do in the future without me telling you, right? It seems that if I say I don't know, she will definitely kill me here. I will take good care of Laswas, I promise. Sister, you can rest assured and entrust your sister to me. I wasn't there to take care of her during the first pregnancy. If there's a second one, I will definitely stay by my wife and child's side. Seeing me pounding my chest with a serious look, Isha snorted lightly. You'd better be telling the truth, you brat. Then she pushed my shoulder and urged me to leave. Alright, stop showing off. Little Luo must be getting anxious. Hurry back. But I had only taken a few steps before Isha called out to me. Sister, is there anything else you need to tell me? She covered her mouth and smiled wickedly. Don't be shy tonight. That room's soundproofing is particularly good. My sister's thoughtfulness is unbelievable. You are the real Silver Dragon Queen. I thank you very much. But when I got back to the room, it was very quiet. I tried to call Laswas's name softly, but there was no response. When I got closer, she was already fast asleep. Not bad, not bad. It seems I won't be tormented by her tonight. Actually, I still quite like watching Laswas sleep, especially in this quiet night, with a faint fragrance in the room. She is as beautiful as a person in a painting. Although we are sworn enemies, I have to admit this. I was a little fascinated for a while. I saw the quilt on Laswas's chest, a faint purple light flashing. Could this be the dragon sigil activating? I don't want to be tormented, but I was surprised to find that the dragon sigil on my body did not resonate. What in the world is going on? Driven by curiosity, I slowly lifted the quilt and found that the purple light was actually a purple purple ambient light. Laswas slowly opened her eyes and smiled at me. Hi your head. Hi, you scared me to death. What are you doing with a light bulb in your quilt for no reason? I found this little toy in the wardrobe just now. I thought it was interesting, so I used it to tease you. Seeing your reaction, you're not disappointed, are you? I closed my eyes tightly and shook my head. Of course not. Don't overthink it. As I spoke, I turned my back to Laswas. I'm going to sleep first. Don't talk to me. Laswas clearly saw through me and laughed. You'd better not regret it. Don't attack me in the middle of the night. Just then, Laswas's arm suddenly touched something. A black furry spider appeared in front of her, followed by an uncontrolled scream. I quickly turned around and asked what happened. A warm and soft feeling came from my arms. Laswas had already shrunk into my arms. She held on very tightly, and tears welled up in her eyes. There's a spider. I remembered seeing a photo of her crying in fear of a spider as a young dragon when I was looking at the album today. Could it be a shadow left from that time? The Silver Dragon Queen actually has something she's afraid of. I first laughed at her a little, then reached out to grab the spider. It's okay, I'll get rid of it now. But when I touched the spider, my hand felt a little strange. Not like that furry touch, but more like rubber. Could this also be part of my sister's design? I dangled it in front of Laswas. Don't be afraid, it's just a toy spider. But she was still scared to death. Suddenly, a fierce dragon flame had gathered in her hand, its magical purity even higher than when we sparred. I don't care if it's real or fake, just destroy it. Seeing her look as if she was facing a great enemy, I quickly advised her to calm down. If you unleash a dragon flame, this room will turn into a sauna. Then I threw the spider out the window and immediately closed it. Alright, the little spider is dealt with. You can sleep peacefully now. Laswas pursed her lips, still a little scared. I suddenly thought, this spider must have been deliberately designed by her sister to make her show a scared and fragile side. She hesitated for a moment and said softly, I'll sleep on the inside, you sleep on the outside. Is that okay? I readily agreed. No problem, you can sleep wherever you want. She tucked her tail in and lay back in the bed, but was still a little shaken, staring at the ceiling with wide eyes. She couldn't understand how there could be a spider here. When she was scared by spiders before, Laswas would go to Isha for comfort, but now her sister was not by her side. At this time, I extended my hand and said in a deep voice, if you're still scared, you can hold my hand. Laswas was slightly stunned, then closed her eyes and snorted lightly. Since you said so. I extended my hand, and Laswas also brought her hand over, but it seemed a little wrong. I said speechlessly, what kind of security can you get from holding just one little finger? Her cheeks turned red. Then how should I hold it? Like this. Interlocking fingers. The sense of security instantly exploded. Laswas's mood was a little complicated at this moment. On the one hand, she was scared after being frightened by the spider. On the other hand, my suddenly holding her hand made her a little shy. Although she was reluctant to admit it, her hot and flushed face was the strongest proof. How can this person hold my hand so nonchalantly? Am I the only one who feels awkward? No, I, the Silver Dragon Queen, dare to do what I dare to bear. It's just holding hands. What's there to be embarrassed about? I'll just hold it. I asked her in a low voice, why are your hands always so cold? I'm naturally cold-bodied. You've lived for 200 years and haven't treated it. I said it's natural. Are you nervous? Why is your palm sweating? Laswas began to relax, feeling the old calluses and fine scars from long years of holding a sword on my hand. It was slightly rough but also very warm. The places where our fingers interlocked felt as if an electric current was spreading, but the night was long, and I had no intention of sleeping. I asked about her standard for a partner. It's been over 100 years. Don't take it seriously. Then what are your standards now? I don't have any standards now. After a while, I still felt no sleepiness, so I stole a glance at her. She seemed to be asleep. My hand had been in one position for a long time and was a little numb. I secretly tried to move my fingers, but this unintentional move accidentally created the illusion of stroking Laswas's back of the hand. Laswas thought to herself, this guy, just holding hands is fine. Why is he still not behaving? You're a captive, but you're really bold. Then I won't be polite either. Laswas also moved her fingers, and her warm and smooth fingertips brushed over the old wounds on the back of my hand, which also made me feel a little uncomfortable. The feeling was so strange. A feeling that couldn't be described was growing wildly in my heart. Just a tiny touch could stir each other's heartstrings. Laswas's ears were already burning hot. We both turned our heads to look at each other, then nodded in tacit understanding. Without needing to say anything, a thought flashed through our minds at the same time. I slightly got up, my right hand still interlocking with hers. The sexy nightgown slipped from her fragrant shoulders. She was unbelievably beautiful tonight. I gently leaned over, and we could both hear each other's breathing, but the dragon sigil didn't react at all. It was because the dragon sigil was a magic used to add to the fun. When both parties had the purest appreciation for each other, even without the dragon sigil, everything would happen naturally. She closed her eyes and met me, but just as I was about to kiss her, my left hand accidentally pressed some mechanism, and a small black spider suddenly fell in front of us, followed by Laswas's scream. Don't be afraid, I've already caught it. You must not release dragon flame. On the other side of the rooftop, Sister Isha had a wicked smile, thinking that we should have discovered the surprise she had prepared. Laswas was scared and snuggled into my arms. I gently stroked her little head. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. The spider has been thrown out by me. I just carefully checked the bed again, and I didn't see any mechanism. Laswas's body gradually relaxed, and she snuggled into my arms peacefully, letting me hold her. Her body was very soft, completely unrelated to that silver giant dragon, and today she happened to be wearing a sexy and close-fitting lace nightgown. She enjoyed this gentle embrace with a hint of shyness and embarrassment, and suddenly blurted out, "Your heart is beating so fast." I quickly explained that I was also afraid of spiders. In the end, Laswas chose to pretend nothing happened, promising that she would never let me hold her to sleep like this again, and that this matter was not to be mentioned after tonight. I also readily agreed. Unknowingly, her sleepiness came over her, and she fell asleep soundly in my arms. The next morning, the birds were chirping. Laswas was awakened by the noise and suddenly opened her eyes, then sat up with a puzzled look, unable to remember when she had fallen asleep last night. When she saw that I was not by her side, she was a little surprised. This guy actually got up so early. Laswas sat up and lifted the quilt, thinking it was better this way, because after what happened last night, she still didn't know how to face me. After all, it was the first time she had broken her own principles, exposed her weakness in front of a human, and fell asleep in my arms. She quickly put on her clothes, and was about to go out after a simple wash, thinking that she had been too shameful last night and absolutely could not tell anyone. But before she had taken a few steps, she saw her sister Isha, who had been waiting at the door for a long time. "Why are you here?" Isha leaned against the door frame, her arms crossed. "My good sister, was last night exciting?" Laswas clenched her little pink fists in anger. "Very exciting. Please don't do it again next time." If 2 more spiders had appeared last night, she would have probably blown up her old sister's nest. Isha's eyes lit up, and she brought her face close to Laswas's ear. "Then the little props I prepared for you, did you use them?" "No." Isha sighed lightly. "That's a pity. Why don't you pack a few more when you go home? You can practice with them. By the way, my red dragon sanctuary still needs an heir. Where are you going to have another one?" Laswas was so shy she quickly grabbed her sister's wrist. "You don't have to worry about our affairs. Let's go have breakfast first." And at this time, the 2 little dragon girls and I were already in the dining room. Mion's little face was soft and fluffy, so comfortable to pinch. When she saw her mommy and aunt coming together, she excitedly jumped off my lap. "Great, we can eat now." After everyone was seated, breakfast began. The 2 little ones ate obediently, while Laswas and I became more and more awkward. A delicious breakfast was eaten by us with a feeling of being hard to swallow. We both didn't speak, and it felt so awkward. You know, I almost kissed her last night under the influence of the atmosphere, and I even held her to sleep. At this moment, 2 different voices appeared in my mind. The little angel thought that I was throwing myself into the arms of an enemy, which was a treacherous act. The little devil felt that we were a couple. So what was this? As they spoke, they started fighting. I chewed on a piece of bread in my mouth, feeling the taste was a little bland. Just as I was about to reach for the peanut butter on the table, I accidentally touched the she-dragon's hand. It felt like an electric shock, and we both looked at each other with a bewildered expression. Finally, Sister Isha will explain the secret of the waterbed. This is the heart-pounding, emotion-accelerating big waterbed I specially customized for little Luo and them. Trigger buttons were set up on both sides of the bed. Touching the buttons will drop the toy spiders that little Luo is afraid of. The 2 of them can only avoid triggering the mechanism by hugging in the middle of the bed. So do you know what to do? It seems we were really calculated by our sister. Our hands shot back as if electrocuted. To make matters worse, the hands that touched were the same ones that had been interlocked the night before. The memory flooded back, and our faces turned red in a flash. "You go first." Isha noticed our small movements and squinted with a smile, teasing, "Is it hot in the dining room? Why are you both blushing?" Laswas was a little flustered. Isn't her sister asking the obvious? But she couldn't say anything rash in front of the children, so she could only nod and say, "It's quite hot." Isha immediately suggested, "Why don't you go back to your room for a bath after eating?" We both said in unison, "No need." Isha covered her mouth and smiled wickedly. No matter how many times I tease them, their reactions are always so interesting. At this moment, my sister suddenly asked about the friction we had with a duke from the Red Flame Dragon clan a few days ago. Laswas explained that duke's son tried to bully Noah but got beaten up instead, and then he dared to come to us for trouble and was dealt with by Leon. Thinking of that scene, I couldn't help but laugh. That dragon was so weak, I knocked him down with one punch. Isha stroked Noah's head with a doting look. "Our Noah is really amazing, but I heard that guy went back and found their leader Constantine and greatly exaggerated the matter." Laswas clenched her fists in anger. This despicable guy. Listening to the conversation between the 2 sisters, I suddenly remembered that Constantine was described as a heroic figure who expanded the territory for the dragon race in that book of dragon history. He was a relatively old dragon king, so his strength was naturally not to be underestimated. Isha also reminded us to be careful. Constantine has been very active in expanding his territory recently and may take the opportunity to cause trouble. Laswas also knew about this matter. If Constantine really attacked the Silver Dragon Sanctuary for a useless duke, then she wouldn't mind trimming the Red Flame Dragon clan a bit. After eating, we planned to set off back, because Noah had to go back to the academy tomorrow. Laswas and Isha hugged and said goodbye. "Be careful on your way back." "Okay, sister, we'll come see you again when we have time." Isha handed a gift box to Laswas. "A farewell gift for you. Open it when you get home." Then Isha knelt down to say goodbye to the 2 little dragon girls. You two eat more meat and grow up quickly. Come and play with me again next time. Then she kissed Myun and Noah's little faces. Finally, it was my turn. Out of politeness, I shook hands with Isha and did not hug her. Isha's smile became a little serious. Don't forget what you promised me. I will do as I say. Laswas on the side was bewildered, curious about what I had promised her sister behind her back. Then, she spread her wings and transformed into a giant dragon. The silver dragon flapped its wings and soared into the sky, taking us away from the red dragon sanctuary. Seeing us go far away, Isha also turned back to the sanctuary. Young dragons are so cute, I wonder when they'll have another one. She walked to that lewd suite, wanting to see the scene last night, but as soon as she opened the door, a black spider suddenly fell in front of her. Isha was startled, and when she came to her senses, she found it was the spider toy she had made. She pinched this little thing and snorted lightly. You stinking brat, so protective of your wife. At this time, I sneezed hard. It seems Isha has already discovered the surprise I specially left for her. She and Laswas were completely different from the other dragon kings I had come into contact with before. After getting along with them, I found that they were more friendly and peaceful, and also paid more attention to family. Although the dragon race's lifestyle and educational philosophy are very different from humans, they also have the purest original intention in terms of feelings, and you can feel their full love for their families from them. At this time, I muttered something under my breath. She actually entrusted her most cherished sister to me. Laswas suddenly turned her head and stared at me. What did you promise my sister just now when you were leaving? Ah, want to know? I'm not telling you. After a few hours of flying, our family of 4 returned to the Silver Dragon Sanctuary. Noah and Myun were a little tired and went back to the sister's room to sleep. We both stood at the door of our respective rooms, seemingly waiting for the other to say something. Finally, she turned the doorknob, and I took the initiative to speak. Laswas turned her head and looked over. Can you perform what was in the video yesterday for me on the spot? It was because my revenge plan for today was to use her dark history to deal a spiritual blow to her so that she couldn't sleep well. I even imitated her appearance at that time. I love to take a bath. My body is so good. Oh, rub my tail and blow bubbles. Oh. Laswas's heart suddenly filled with fire. Stinking man is so cheap. It turned out that last night in the living room, Isha asked everyone to watch Little Luo's other videos. In the video, Isha made a shushing gesture, then pointed the recording stone at the bathroom door. A familiar voice soon came from the bathroom. I love to take a bath. My body is so good. Oh, rub my tail and blow bubbles. Oh. I burst out laughing so hard that tears almost streamed down my face. Wife, your singing voice is as beautiful as a nightingale's. Being told that by me, she was so angry that she wanted to destroy the recording stone. Fortunately, Isha stopped her in time, so this family heirloom was spared. It turned out that while I was working hard on my homework, Laswas praised me for grasping the main points so quickly. 2.5 minutes later, I looked up at her. My homework is done. Of course not. This is just a small after-class exercise. Leon has not yet submitted his homework. I knew the she-dragon wouldn't let me off easily. The great dragon slayer was once again defeated by the silver dragon queen. Due to the influence of the activated dragon sigil, my mouth became drier and drier, so I had to borrow some lip balm from her. I started to write my homework, holding the pen and writing furiously in the notebook. The tip of the pen rubbed against the smooth white paper, making a rustling sound. Because the pace of writing was too fast, there were inevitably some flaws and mistakes, so Laswas prepared enough correction fluid for me. 2.5 hours later, I submitted my homework. Teacher, can I leave class now? After speaking, I was about to leave, but Laswas suddenly reached out and grabbed my clothes. You only submitted homework for one subject. There are still 6 more subjects to submit. I was bewildered after hearing that. Teacher, you're really a homework maniac. Less nonsense. Leon, cheer up and prepare to do homework all night. The classroom was brightly lit, and I, buried in my studies, wrote furiously. This was destined to be a long night. The next morning, our family of 4 stood in the front courtyard waiting for the giant dragon Leviathan school bus. I had 2 heavy dark circles under my eyes, and my feet felt floaty. I felt like I couldn't even stand steadily. On the other hand, Laswas was full of energy and radiant. Noah and Myun looked at me curiously. Then Noah asked with confusion, why do you look like you haven't slept all night again? I answered groggily, I stayed up too late doing homework. Myun raised her eyebrows and thought, do adults also have homework to do? Laswas smoothed things over on the side. Of course they do. The 2 little dragon girls nodded after hearing that and didn't ask any more questions. But Myun blinked her big eyes and looked at us again, then raised her little hand excitedly and said, Myun has discovered a super amazing pattern. That is, when mommy is in good condition, daddy will become very weak. Then when daddy is in good condition, mommy will become very weak, right? I didn't expect Myun to so easily see through the truth that ordinary people couldn't discover. I patted her little head. My dear daughter, you are so smart. If anyone says you only know how to be cute in the future, daddy will be the first to fight them. Just then, Noah turned her head to look at the sky in the distance. A Leviathan's figure gradually appeared and then slowly hovered above the sanctuary. Noah waved goodbye to us. Laswas reminded her to be careful on the way. Myun was very reluctant. Sister, come back quickly to play with Myun. Myun will miss you when you're not here. I also waved my hand. Good luck with school. See you next weekend. Noah's little face turned red and she said she had some something to say but kept it in her heart. I'm leaving. A pillar of light shot up from below and transported Noah to the Leviathan's back. The giant dragon slowly left and disappeared into the sky. I picked up Myun. Sister has gone to school. What are we going to do today? Myun turned her little brain and thought, Daddy always looks so weak, so he must be lacking exercise. Mommy looks very worried. Sister is not here. I have to supervise Daddy to exercise and become stronger. After making up her mind, Myun took my hand and trotted. Let's go to the practice field for a run today. Without thinking much, I nodded and agreed. Laswas found it very interesting and wanted to come and watch. It turned out that after Myun took me to the practice field to run, I explained a few simple warm-up movements to Myun, and she also learned them by imitating, but she didn't understand why she had to do them. So I told her that warming up before exercise is very important. By stretching, the body can gradually relax, increasing flexibility and reducing the risk of injury during exercise. Seeing this, Laswas also wanted to join. I saw that she had already changed into a light sportswear, her long silver hair tied into a high ponytail, and she looked tall and capable. She was also followed by a maid. Myun was very happy and clenched her little fists. I didn't expect Mommy to run with us too. Laswas bent down and rubbed her little head. Then Myun will have to do her best later. Mommy won't go easy on you. Myun said she wouldn't go easy on Mommy either. I teased Laswas on the side. You stay in the office all day and don't move much. Don't accidentally twist your ankle later. I tried to save some face for my last failure. To correct you, that was a narrow victory. I just wasn't using my full strength. Not convinced? How about another match then? Great. Daddy and Mommy are going to fight again. Myun cheered, looking every bit the part of someone who loves watching a commotion and doesn't mind stirring up trouble. I quickly knelt down and covered my daughter's mouth. Little children shouldn't always talk about fighting. It's impolite. Myun tilted her head and asked innocently, is it because Daddy can't beat Mommy? My daughter, at such a young age, had already learned how to deliver a critical emotional blow. My face instantly turned red. How could I not be able to beat her? Daddy just didn't want to hurt Mommy, so I was letting her win. Laswas lightly drew a starting line on the ground with her tail and then challenged me. You sure talk a big game. How about we compete right now to see who can run for a longer time? I rubbed my fists, ready for the challenge, and declared, let's see whose stamina is better. Then our family of three stood at the starting line. Myun stood between us, full of passion and fighting spirit. Myun will never lose. The dragon maid acted as our referee. Start. Our family of three started running. To take care of Myun, Laswas and I both deliberately slowed down, letting Myun run in the front. I turned my head and curiously asked Laswas, don't you need to tuck your tail in when you run? But she smiled very proudly, because the dragon's tail can maintain balance when running, which I can't envy. You can also show your tail. You underestimate me. I can beat you without a tail. The track of the practice field is 400 meters per lap. Myun had just started practicing and was out of breath after running 2 laps. Lying on the ground panting heavily, the dragon maid thoughtfully handed her a glass of pineapple juice. Your Highness, Myun is already very amazing. Let's cheer for His Majesty and the Prince Consort on the side. And this also meant that Laswas and I had entered the real competition stage. We both wanted to compete in everything, but the Silver Dragon clan is a race with full speed points. I have no advantage in running against her. Not to mention I had submitted 7 assignments yesterday, and after finishing cultural classes, I had to come to physical education classes. A normal person would have collapsed long ago, but since I stood on the starting line, I had no way out. For this, I bet all the dignity of a dragon slayer. I absolutely cannot lose to her here. The first sentence of the dragon slayer's creed is, born to fight, fight to the death. Half an hour later, I was so tired that I lay on the track, closing my eyes and panting heavily. It's a pity. I still lost in the end. Laswas was very happy to see me like this. Now you admit defeat, right? I stubbornly said. I don't admit defeat. Still not admitting defeat? Then get up and continue running. Let's fight another day. Give me 2 days to practice. I will definitely win you. Laswas knelt down and laughed at me. 2 days is too short. I think you can't beat me even if you practice for another 2.5 years. As she spoke, she poked my face with her tail. Loser Leon, can you perform that now? I love to take a bath. My body is so good. I'm really at a loss for words. She-Dragon, you're so vindictive. You're definitely going to suffer a great loss. That's how vindictive I am. Laswas turned and walked towards Myun. Let's go. Myun, Daddy is too weak. Mommy will continue to do other exercises with you. Myun trotted over, and she even turned her head to remind me, Daddy's body is too weak. You need to exercise properly. Hearing this, I was petrified on the spot. Mother and daughter are in this together, right? You just wait. 30 years east, 30 years west. Don't bully an old man for being weak. It turned out that after our family of three's running competition, at dinner, there was a table of delicious food. Myun took a spoonful of meat and carefully fed it to my mouth. Daddy, open your mouth. I opened my mouth for my dear daughter to feed me, and in the next second, I lay my face on the table. Myun was a little worried about my physical condition, but Laswas on the side teased, you're already old. Don't force yourself. If it weren't for being too tired from running yesterday, I would definitely have won against you today. Hearing me say that, Laswas held back a wicked smile. Then do you want to continue today? Hearing this, I was startled and sat up. What did you say? Then I quickly held Myun in my arms. Tonight I have an appointment with Myun to tell her a story. Myun blinked her eyes blankly. Did we have this appointment? We didn't before. before, but now we do. Laswas snorted with a laugh. Then don't tell stories too late tonight. Remember to rest early. Got it, Mommy. Mune was overjoyed. I, on the other hand, let out a long sigh of relief. On her way back to her room, Laswas caught a glimpse of a graceful figure on the balcony. Knowing that someone had come, she said, "Come out." The person who came was the dragon maid Shirley. She respectfully bowed to the silver dragon queen. Laswas asked her if there was any new news. Shirley said she had found the hiding place of Teg Laurens and his wife, but they had already left the empire a year ago. They also donated all their property to the orphanage before they left, and the cattle and sheep they raised on the farm were given to the surrounding neighbors. Laswas raised her eyebrows. Except for what? Except for a donkey. The neighbors said that when the Ted couple moved away, they specially took that very precious donkey with them. Laswas instantly thought of the donkey I had mentioned to her before. Is this donkey the family's mascot? Why is he so fond of it from childhood to old age? She was a little speechless for a moment, and even wanted to laugh a little. Laswas asked Shirley to continue searching for Teg's whereabouts outside the empire and to report any news immediately. Yes, Your Majesty, your servant takes her leave. As soon as she finished speaking, the graceful figure flashed and Shirley disappeared in front of Laswas. She walked to the balcony and looked at the distant mountains and jungles shrouded in the night, her thoughts stirring slightly. Why did Leon's master leave the empire? A few days later, Noah came home from vacation and brought back a piece of news. Family Sports Day. Noah nodded. The academy is holding a family sports day next week. It's said to be a new attempt. Sports Day. I also participated in it when I was at St. Heath Academy. Laswas also recalled the past. It's just that parents didn't need to participate back then. Then what place did Mommy get back then? Mune asked with curiosity. Laswas supported her chin with one hand and smiled, holding up one finger. Of course it was first place. Mommy is so amazing. Mune looked at me again. What about Daddy? I don't have a rank. Mune tilted her head and asked why. Because every time I participated, my total score was so much higher than the second place that the academy suspected me of cheating and did not include my score in the public ranking. Then did Daddy cheat or not? I gently flicked Mune's forehead. Of course not. Later, the academy secretly gave me a supplementary medal. I melted it down and made a gold bracelet for your grandmother. Laswas raised her eyebrows. Aren't you usually very concerned about honor and championships? You just melted it down like that? I shrugged nonchalantly. An honor that can't be taken out openly is not worth having. You have a stinking temper just like that donkey. Then she looked at Noah again. So you plan to sign up for this sports day too? This family sports day is an entertainment competition. Although the results are not counted in the usual course grades, I also want to get first place. Noah's obsession with being the best is much stronger than that of ordinary young dragons, completely inheriting the competitive nature of Laswas in me. But it's not a bad thing. Laswas and I looked at each other and both nodded in tacit understanding. Then let's participate in this family sports day together. Besides, our obsession with first place is no weaker than Noah's. Mune moved closer to her sister. Sister, I want to participate too, but this competition can only have 3 people at most. Noah couldn't do anything either. I looked at my little daughter's wilted cowlick and patted her head. Mune can be in charge of cheering. With Mune's encouragement, we will definitely get good results. Mune's eyes lit up. Mune will definitely cheer for Daddy, Mommy, and sister with all her might. Our whole family will work hard together, and winning first place in the sports day is not a problem. In order to win first place a week later, she and I came to the training ground for special training in advance. Laswas was still in that neat and simple sportswear, her long legs and curves fully revealed. The she-dragon was indeed a typical clothes hanger, looking good in anything she wore. The daughters were not up yet. She suggested we run 2 laps to warm up first. I readily agreed. During the slow run, I curiously asked her what events the Dragon Race School Sports Day had. When Laswas participated, there were the Dragon Race Endurance Triathlon, running, high jump, long jump, and so on. It sounded similar to the Human Race's Sports Day, but she told me not to be complacent. The Dragon Race's Sports Day is not as simple as I thought. I chuckled. As a dragon slayer, I'm not that simple either. But the she-dragon brought up the one thing I didn't want to hear. A few days ago, someone ran a few laps and lay on the ground unable to get up. Angry. I wished I could show her my strength right now, but I could only say in a huff, you know the specific reason in your heart. Laswas turned around and jogged in place. Then I'll give you a little more motivation. If you can win first place in this family sports day, how about I give you 7 days off? I was overjoyed after hearing that. Really? Laswas nodded. If I lie, I'm a little dog. At this moment, I felt my body instantly filled with power, and my desire for the championship had never been so strong. The school sports day championship must belong to our family. Seeing me as if I had been injected with chicken blood, Laswas was surprised. I didn't expect this trick to be so stimulating. After the warm-up phase, I sat on a long bench to rest. Laswas walked over. Not bad. Very energetic. All your joints and muscles are awake. Not just awake, it's like I've taken dragon vigor right now. Laswas felt that this sports day was held as a family unit, so there must be changes. So we not only had to practice basic physical fitness items, but also cultivate our tacit understanding. Seeing her take out a rope, my heart skipped a beat. She-dragon, what are you doing? You haven't had enough of the teacher game. Now you want to do this too? Laswas was speechless. What are you thinking in your head? Haven't you heard of a three-legged race? I know this. When I was in the Dragon Slaying Academy, the instructor also made us do this kind of training, saying it could increase the synchronization between teammates. So, Laswis wanted to start with the most basic chemistry exercise, the three-legged race. Our inner ankles were tied together with a rope, but we were too close, and it felt so awkward. I suggested we finish the practice quickly. She closed her eyes and said nothing, probably also feeling a little awkward. But as soon as I lifted my foot, I found it was stuck. She-Dragon, what are you standing there for? Why aren't you walking? You didn't say where to go. To that lawn over there. It won't hurt as much if we fall. After finally arriving at the lawn, when adjusting our running posture, our arms kept bumping into each other. I reminded her not to slow down my rhythm later, but she smiled. Thank you for telling me a joke so early in the morning. I started running and shouted the command. Laswis reacted quickly and started running with her long legs, but I was thrown behind her. As a result, I lost my balance and my body fell to the ground. I knelt down to tie my ankle. Don't you know what tacit cooperation is? You've grown so big, but you can't even keep up with my steps. I couldn't be bothered to argue with her. How about this? When I count 1, we step with our outer legs, and when I count 2, we step with our tied legs. Then I put my arm around Laswis's small waist. She blushed and looked puzzled. What are you trying to do? I explained that this could bring us closer, making it less likely to fall and also faster. She wanted to refute my approach, but after thinking about it, this seemed to be the only way for us to do the three-legged race smoothly. Just like that, the chemistry between us, one person and one dragon, started to improve little by little. To improve my physical fitness, Laswis made me do 1,000 push-ups with her on my back. This she-dragon really knows how to enjoy herself. When I was exhausted and about to give up, she made me do push-ups face to face. Seeing my arms trembling, Laswis smiled wickedly. Hold on, otherwise you'll kiss me. I gritted my teeth and persisted, absolutely not letting her succeed. Finally, 1,000 push-ups were done, almost taking half my life. Laswis's face broke into a brilliant smile. The St. Heath Academy Family Sports Day was held as scheduled. The venue was large enough to hold several human dragon wars. Vice Principal Wilson announced on the stage, the first St. Heath Academy Family Parent-Child Sports Day now begins. The audience cheered thunderously, and Mian happily waved to us. Daddy, Mommy, Sister, go for it. The person in charge of the race commentary was a beautiful and sweet-voiced dragon girl named Xiaoluo. Today, I will be reporting the race situation for everyone. The first event is the relay race. Each family sends 3 dragons, including the enrolled student, to participate. The total distance is 3,000 meters, with each person running 1,000 meters. The family with the shortest time wins. Now we will distribute the number bibs. Players who get the bibs, please put them on and go to your respective starting points to get ready. Noah handed a number bib to Laswis. Then Mommy is the first leg, I'm the second, and you're the third. Is that okay? Noah subconsciously wanted to call me Daddy just now, but she seemed a little reserved and couldn't say it. I really want to hear it again. I said I had no objection to my daughter's arrangement. The relay race was about to start, and Laswis was already at the starting line. She reminded me and my daughter that it was time to go. I looked at her and nodded, silently cheering for each other in my heart. Laswis smiled and shook the relay baton in her hand. Noah, don't be nervous. Mommy will definitely be the first to deliver the baton to you. Noah's stern little face also broke into a smile. I accompanied Noah to the second leg position. The whole time, neither of us father and daughter said anything, because Noah was very serious about this sports day, so I didn't make any light-hearted jokes to relieve her pressure. It was not until we stood at the starting point of the second leg that I said with concern, I'll be waiting for you at the third leg. Be careful not to get injured. I held out my clenched right fist. Give your old man some encouragement. Noah understood and slowly raised her little fist, gently bumping it against mine. Just like the day we took the admission test, the two fists, one big and one small, could clearly feel each other's strength. The family relay race now begins. Please, the first leg runners, stand on the starting line. The little Milan, acting as a cheerleader, shouted from the stands, Go Mommy, go! I saw the referee's fingertips gathering a ball of dragon flame. With a dazzling dragon flame exploding in the air, Laswis's silver figure shuttled like lightning, so fast that it was astonishing, causing a burst of cheers from the entire audience and the commentator Xiaoluo. The 7th runner from the Silver Dragon clan, Laswis, is leading the way. She has already taken the lead over the other opponents from the very beginning. However, in the next second, another she-dragon actually caught up. She was the 10th runner from the Electric Dragon clan, Misty. I couldn't help but sigh in a low voice. Someone can actually keep up with Laswis's speed. The skinny dog next to me snorted with disdain. Of course, it's not just your Silver Dragon clan that's good at speed. To this, I couldn't be bothered to reply, because although this group of skinny dogs from the Electric Dragon clan were not strong in combat, they were good at running away, often launching feigned attacks on the battlefield to annoy people. The commentator Xiaoluo was full of passion. Misty has already overtaken Laswis and is leading by 2 body lengths. Then Xiaoluo turned to look at the sports day event chairman, Duncan. Both the Silver Dragon clan and the Electric Dragon clan have an advantage in speed. Who do you think will complete the first leg exchange? Duncan felt that it was hard to tell until the last moment. The skinny dog snorted with disdain again. Although it's an entertainment competition, it can also reflect the gap between the two races. My wife wife is so far ahead. You don't need to look to know the result, right? I glanced at him. Yes, your wife is really great. Although I was praising him, he felt that something was not right. Before he could retort, I continued to add, but my wife is even better. Was charged up a blow, and in an instant, she charged ahead of Misty again, also pulling away by 2 body lengths. Misty gritted her teeth in anger. Why does she still have such strong explosive power? Laswas's mouth curved slightly. You've been running in front all this time. The wind resistance must be great. At this time, Misty's stamina was obviously not as good as hers, and she couldn't catch up no matter what. I saw Laswas burst into another acceleration, rushing to Noah's position to complete the handover. Noah was the first to start the second leg. Misty also successfully handed over, and that little electric dragon followed closely behind Noah. Laswas calmly looked at my third leg. I raised my arm from a distance and gave her a thumbs up. She looked serious and responded with a fist pump. The rest is up to you. The runners of the second leg had all set off one after another, and the she-dragons who had completed the exchange were all panting with their hands on their knees. At first, Noah was still ahead of the 11th little electric dragon, Dien, but soon Dien, with his physical advantage, surpassed Noah, and even turned back to mock. Bye-bye, little short legs. The highly competitive Noah would not give up easily. She had only one thought in her mind. I must not be left behind by the other party. She chased desperately behind. Mian shouted with all her might from the stands, "Go, sister, go!" In the commentary box, Xiao Luo and Duncan discussed again. Dien has a clear advantage in age and height over Noah. Do you think Noah will be left far behind? Duncan laughed. It's hard to say until the last moment. The 2 runners came out of the last corner and were about to make the final sprint. The 2 little young dragons were running side by side on the track, neither giving way to the other. So who will hand over the first baton? In the end, Dien, with a slight advantage, was the first to hand over the baton to the third leg runner. Noah also followed closely and successfully completed the exchange. I took the baton and immediately chased after that skinny dog. The dejected Noah walked up to Laswas. Sorry, mommy, I wasted the advantage you created. Laswas gently rubbed Noah's little head. Noah, you're already amazing. Your opponent is older than you and has a physical advantage. Let's go to the finish line together and cheer for Daddy now. Noah nodded obediently. Mune in the stands was even more excited. Go Daddy, go! Daddy is the best. This little dragon girl really has the potential to be a cheerleader. At this time on the track, Gordon's playful voice came from ahead. I'll be 5 seconds ahead of you in a moment. After speaking, he accelerated again and instantly pulled away by 3 body lengths. I gritted my teeth and kept squeezing the strength out of my body. Don't underestimate my obsession with vacation. The race entered a white-hot stage. The second runner, Gordon, and the 9th runner, Leon, are still accelerating. Who will be the final champion? Until the last moment, nothing is certain. A voice clearly entered my keen ears. It was not Milan's. I looked up at the finish line and saw Noah shouting at the top of her lungs, "Go Daddy, go!" Noah called me Daddy. At this moment, there was only one belief in my heart. I absolutely cannot lose. What speed talent-filled electric dragon, what insurmountable physical limit. In my eyes, they were all broken by Noah's small figure. I suddenly burst out with amazing speed and caught up with Gordon. Gordon, seeing that he was about to be overtaken, had a bad idea and wanted to make me suffer a little. He leaned towards me, and a dangerous electric light flashed on his shoulder. I was originally a thunder magic practitioner and was extremely sensitive to the fluctuation of thunder and lightning elements. I had already guessed his little trick. Just as he was about to attack, I ran in front of him, kicked the ground hard, and a large amount of sand instantly flew up, covering Gordon's face, and many sand particles went directly into his eyes. Gordon's vision went black, and his body instantly lost balance. The commentator Xiao Luo exclaimed, "Oh, what a pity! Gordon fell before the finish line. Then this race is no longer in suspense. Leon is the first to cross the finish line. Congratulations to the Melkwai family for winning the relay race championship." Noah and Laswas ran up with smiles on their faces. I was so excited that I picked up Noah and asked with a smile, "What did you just shout?" Noah's little face turned red, and she averted her eyes, muttering, I didn't shout anything." I dotingly rubbed her soft little face. "Ah, comfortable, say it a few more times." Noah turned her head away completely. "Let's talk about it after we win the sports day." Laswas asked me in a low voice if I was injured. Not only did she see Gordon's little trick, but she was also angry about it. I said I was fine. Who knew that Gordon would actually report me to the referee team, saying I cheated by throwing sand at him, a serious foul. I was so angry when I heard that. I directly cursed at Gordon. "You little brat, you've even learned to complain first?" I also immediately went to the referee team and reported with justification. "This guy just tried to sneak attack me with electric current during the sprint. The evidence is the obvious electric current marks on his shoulder." I was so scared at that time, so I ran for my life, and may have accidentally kicked up some dust. "You can't blame me for that, right?" The referee wanted to ask Gordon to cooperate with the inspection, but his wife immediately protected him. "My husband was injured by Leon's fall. Why should he be investigated? What happened?" An old and majestic voice came. Laswas and I looked in the direction of the voice. Gordon shouted as if he had seen a life-saving straw. "Clan leader, you're here." The white-haired old dragon at the head, Sol, was not only the leader of the Electric Dragon clan, but also the chairman of this sports day's arbitration committee. I just don't know if he will be partial to his own clan. Looking at Gordon and his wife's sinister smiles, they probably thought that the clan leader would definitely be partial to them because they were of the same clan. But Sol had a stern face and was very serious. I have repeatedly checked the competition records with the other referees just now. The evidence of the second runner Gordon's foul is conclusive. According to the rules, your family's subsequent participation is cancelled, and your existing results are also voided. This remark was like a bolt from the blue, directly stunning the Gordon family. Gordon was obviously not convinced. Just as he opened his mouth to shout clan leader, Sol's fierce eyes swooshed and glared at him. Shut up. Gordon immediately wilted. Sol turned his head and walked up to our family of 3. My clansman has caused trouble for your family. I deeply regret this. Melkwai. Laswas smiled faintly. Clan leader Sol, I hope you can manage your clansman well. Fortunately, my husband was quick-witted and not injured this time. If he was really injured, it wouldn't be solved with just an apology. I will definitely discipline them strictly when I go back. After Sol finished speaking, he left the field with the other dragons. I chuckled and moved closer to Laswas, flattering her. Io, wife, your face is really big. Laswas snorted. As long as it's a normal dragon clan, not as arrogant as that bunch of stupid dragons from the Red Flame Dragon clan, they should all come and apologize to me. As soon as she finished speaking, she suddenly realized something was wrong. Who's your wife? Don't call me that intimately. Husband is just praising you. At this moment, Shaoluo's energetic voice once again resounded throughout the field. Minasan, the first family relay race has come to a successful conclusion. Now let's cut to the various sub-venues. This sports day is a family total score system. The points obtained by each family member participating in the competition will eventually be counted into the family's total score. Each competition could earn points, and the higher the ranking, the more points. After all the competitions were over, the top 3 families in the total score could take home the luxurious grand prize awarded by the Academy, and finally reach the final stage, called Cooking with Love. The rules were quite simple. Make a family meal full of love, and what to make was decided by drawing lots. The competition time was 1 hour, and finally the judges would score. The key point was that during the whole cooking process, the rope tied to the ankles could not be untied, so that this love could be transmitted to the other party through the rope. Laswas and I were in awe. Your academy really knows how to play. Walking to the lottery box, I volunteered to reach in and grab a piece of paper. I took it out and looked at it. Cream puffs. But how would we make this thing? Fortunately, the staff provided the production steps. It was really inconvenient with our feet tied together, so we had to help each other tie our aprons. Ready. I stared at the tutorial and started to work. Pour the milk into the small saucepan. Oh, good. Laswas obediently handed it over. Meanwhile, Shaoluo's passionate commentary was broadcast on the big screen of the field. Our balloon escape has reached a white-hot stage. There are only 4 little young dragons left on the field, 2 from the Claw Dragon clan, and 1 from the Ice Dragon clan. Strangely, these 3 seem to have reached some kind of tacit understanding and are besieging the 9th runner from the Silver Dragon clan, Noah. Faced with the siege of 3 larger young dragons, can little Noah break out? Let's wait and see. Unbeknownst to them, Noah was particularly powerful. Just as the 2 young dragons pounced, she directly did a sliding tackle and easily popped their balloons. Then she rushed to the last opponent in one go. With a pop of the balloon, the final winner was Noah K. Melkwai. She is the youngest student in the young dragon department, but she easily broke out of a siege of 3 against 1, and the 3 little guys who lost the competition were crying on the ground. Mune in the stands was extremely excited and showed off to the young dragon next to her. See that? That's Mune's sister. Super amazing. I couldn't help but praise. I knew Noah could do it. Laswas proudly rubbed her nose with her hand. Of course. Whose daughter do you think she is? As a result, she accidentally wiped the flour on her hand onto her face. I hurriedly and attentively went forward to wipe it for her. Don't move. You've got something on your face. But this scene was just caught by the sharp-eyed host. What a loving couple. To be able to integrate their love for each other into such subtle care. Laswas and I froze there. I remember they are the Melkwai family from the Silver Dragon clan. Principal Wilson also followed up with praise. A qualified family meal not only requires high-quality ingredients and fine craftsmanship, but also the love and care for family members. I really look forward to their results. Let's applaud this model couple representative of the dragon race. On the big screen, Laswas and I smiled and waved to the camera. I couldn't help but mutter under my breath, which dragon should I slaughter to end the sports day early? Laswas suggested slaughtering all the eyewitness dragons. After this small social death, the cream puffs were also made. We carried the tray to the judges' table. I said with forced composure, "Judges, please enjoy." After tasting it, Principal Wilson commented, "This puff has a full appearance, a crispy and delicious crust, and a smooth and delicate cream inside. I believe you too often make it at home, right?" Laswas bumped me with her shoulder, signaling me to answer this extremely embarrassing question. I had to bite the bullet and volunteer. "That's right, Principal. My wife and I do often make desserts at home. She particularly likes cream puffs and enjoys the process of making them." As I said this, I kept telling myself in my heart that puffs are pure. It's just the human heart that's dirty. Principal Wilson laughed after hearing this. "It seems you two have a colorful private life. Then do you have any exclusive secret recipe for making puffs?" Laswas and I very tacitly immediately made a heart shape and said in unison, "We've added our strong love to it." The judges were very satisfied with the taste of our puffs, and all three gave high scores, which was also the highest score in the Cooking with Love stage. At this time, I was in a great mood. First place in the total score is definitely stable. Haha. I'm coming from my 7-day vacation. As all the competitions ended, the ranking of the first St. Heath Academy Family Parent-Child Sports Day came out. Third place was the Alex family from the Claw Dragon clan, and the reward was 10 boxes of Teswa Noodle exchange coupons, valid for 50 years. Second place was the Ross family from the Wind Dragon clan, and the reward was a B-level magic secret manual. And the first place was the Melkwai family from the Silver Dragon clan, and the reward they received was a luxurious 7-day hot spring tour. This reward made me want to cry but had no tears. I wanted to have a good vacation and rest, but a 7-day tour meant a week without rest. On the other hand, Laswas was very happy. Let's go on vacation together. Why didn't anyone tell me the first place prize was this? My vacation was thus ruined. At the celebration banquet in the evening, the family raised their glasses to celebrate this wonderful moment. Mian happily held Noah's hand. Our family is number one. Daddy, mommy, and sister are all super amazing. Mian also worked hard to cheer. Noah held a glass full of drinks. To be able to win the school sports day championship, I'm really grateful to you all. Laswas had a smile on her face. We just did what parents should do. The most important thing is your own hard work. I listlessly echoed. Your mom is right. Laswas immediately glared at me. You've been sullen ever since you saw the prize. Do you hate vacationing that much? Noah's little face was flushed, looking cute in the candlelight. Can you all close your eyes for a while? Although the three of us had question marks on our faces, we still did as we were told. Noah deliberately lightened her footsteps and walked to Mian's side, giving her sister a sweet hug. Then she walked to Laswas's side and also gave her mother a big hug. At this time, I closed my eyes and guessed that Noah probably wanted to give us a surprise. Finally, she came to my side, put her arms around my waist, and whispered, "Thank you, Daddy." It turned out to be a hug of thanks. Because she was shy, she asked us to close our eyes. I dotingly stroked her head. Just then, Noah suddenly pulled my clothes, stood on her tiptoes, and quickly kissed my cheek. A warm touch came, and Noah immediately turned away shyly. "You can open your eyes now." I was so surprised I stuttered. She explained with a red face. "I promised you before that if I won the championship, I would call you Daddy. That was also to thank you for supporting me." Touching my right cheek, which still had a lingering warmth, I shed tears of happiness. "But even if you didn't win the championship, I would still have let you call me that." Mian looked at Noah curiously. "Sister, your face is so red." Noah quickly covered it up. I was happy tonight and couldn't help but drink a few more glasses. Laswas advised me to drink less, as we still had to take the children to Sky City to buy swimsuits for the vacation tomorrow. The next day, our family of 4 went to Sky City to buy swimsuits. I sat in the shop listlessly waiting. My 7-day vacation was gone just like that. A little dragon girl pointed at me curiously. "That dragon looks so strange. You'll get infected." Just as I was mourning my lost 7-day otaku vacation, Laswas came over in a swimsuit. "What do you think of this one I picked?" I didn't even turn my head and said, "It's nice." Her face showed some displeasure. "Are you just perfunctorily agreeing with me?" I had to give Laswas a thumbs up. "Trust me, you look beautiful in anything, but I think there's a little too much fabric." Laswas looked down, slightly troubled. "It's also a little tight." So she picked another one. This time it was a style with surprisingly little fabric, so bold in design that even without being worn, it was enough to make one blush. "This one is not bad, right?" she asked expectantly. A picture instantly flashed in my mind, and a hot stream rushed to my head. If she really wore this to the hot springs, my dragon sigil would be like a neon light all night. I quickly closed my eyes and tried to pretend to be disgusted. "This one is not good." Laswas looked a little disappointed. "I thought you liked this style. What a pity." Not long after, the 2 little dragon girls' swimsuits were also chosen, one pink and one goose yellow. Laswas glanced at me, still sullen, and said coldly, "Are you not happy to be out with me?" "How could that be?" I quickly denied. She said kindly, "I know this is a vacation you worked hard to win, but the date of the hot spring tour can't be changed. Look at the daughters. They are all looking forward to this vacation. If the daughters are happy, you, as a father, will also be happy, right?" I forced a smile. Ha ha. "I've never been so happy as I am today." Laswas sat down next to me, her tone exceptionally sincere. "Don't worry. I promise I won't do anything to you these 7 days." "I don't believe you," I immediately retorted. "Anyway, your hands are on you. How can I control them?" Laswas held up 3 fingers and a tail. "I swear on the honor of the Silver Dragon Queen." "Then it's a deal." Hearing that there was hope for a vacation, I naturally had to fight for it. Laswas suddenly brought her face close to my ear, lowered her voice, and said with a hint of cunning laughter, "But if you make a mistake yourself, don't blame me." The warm breath made my old face turn red. I immediately widened my eyes and braced myself. What a joke. "I am the strongest dragon slayer in the Empire. Would I be interested in a she-dragon like you?" Laswas snorted with a laugh. "Remember what you said. If my dragon sigil lights up once in these 7 days, then your good days are over." "Who's afraid of whom?" I responded with great disdain. The next morning, our family of 4 arrived at the hot spring resort, Flowing Cloud Valley. We came to the castle lobby to check in. "Excuse me, are you the model champion family from St. St. Heath Academy? The front desk staff asked politely. Laswis responded elegantly, yes. I complained inwardly. Champion is champion. Why add model? It's definitely the vice principal's private edition. St. Heath Academy will cover all your expenses at the resort. Please enjoy all the projects. The waiter smiled and handed over 2 enchanted room cards. The 2 daughters have 1 room. So doesn't that mean I can only be with Laswis? I quickly asked the front desk if there were only 2 rooms. The front desk obviously misunderstood my meaning and enthusiastically recommended the top-tier couple's honeymoon suite. I quickly waved my hand and said no need. Then I wish you all a pleasant vacation. On the way to the room, the thought of having to share a room with Laswis again made my back feel cold. I must find a way to save myself. I pinned my hopes on my 2 lovely daughters. Babies, do you want to share a room with Daddy? Daddy can tell stories. Myun refused without thinking. No Daddy, I want to sleep in a room with my sister. Anisha said that whether you're an adult or a child, you should have your own private space. You can't disturb us. I was instantly petrified. Oh, thank you, Myun, my little padded jacket. You personally blocked my last way out. Noah on the side thoughtfully added, Daddy, don't worry. I can take care of Myun now. You two can totally enjoy your own world. I wanted to cry but had no tears. Thank you, Noah. You're so considerate of us. But Daddy sincerely advises you not to think about it anymore. Laswis smiled and handed a room card to Noah. This room card is for you. You must call us if anything happens. Myun happily took her sister's hand. Let's go open the door. Watching the daughters skip away, I knew my last struggle had failed. Laswis shook the remaining room card in her hand. What are you still standing there for? Let's go. I took a deep breath. The real test for a dragon slayer was about to begin. The window of the room offered a view of a private hot spring pool. The scenery here was quite beautiful, and it seemed Laswis was very satisfied. I asked curiously, have you never been here on vacation before? She shook her head. It turned out that this was also her first time. She had always been busy with the affairs of the Silver Dragon clan and had no time to take Noah and the others out to play. So this time she specially prepared a camera to take more photos here as souvenirs. Hearing the word camera, I became nervous. Could it be the one I used before? I immediately opened my luggage to check, and my heart sank. It was indeed the prize I won at the school sports day. This is trouble. The camera still has photos of Laswis in a bunny girl outfit. Those photos are my secret weapon to intimidate the she-dragon. If they fall into her hands, it will definitely be a death sentence for me. I must get the photos developed and hidden before she finds out, and finally completely delete the evidence from the camera. Just as Laswis reached out to ask for the camera, I subconsciously held it tightly in my arms. She was stunned. What? You're protecting it like a treasure? I smiled awkwardly. Leave the photography to me. I'm a professional photographer. Laswis looked at me with suspicion. Isn't your profession dragon slaying? When did you learn photography? I pounded my chest and guaranteed. I've even been photographing my master's donkey since I was a child. You can rest assured. Laswis finally relented. Since you want to take pictures, then go ahead. The fireworks show and outdoor barbecue are at night. We'll go out for a walk during the day first. I was relieved. No problem, wife. Our family of 4 began our vacation trip, and I, the temporary photographer, confidently took on the task. In front of the female knight statue in the hotel garden, the 2 daughters left a sweet group photo. At the zoo, a gentle Sika deer stood quietly next to Myun, while Noah carefully fed it carrots. I looked at Laswis next to me. I saw her gracefully extend her hand, accepting the deer's affection, as if accepting the worship of her subjects. That queenly majesty and feminine gentleness were perfectly displayed on her. Even the 2 little dragon girls couldn't help but whisper in admiration, Mommy is so beautiful. After playing for a while, we came to the amusement park. Myun excitedly rushed to the claw machine. Laswis also enthusiastically tried a few times herself. I took pictures with the camera on the side and was lucky to capture the joyful smile that instantly bloomed on her face when she successfully caught a doll. Just as I was admiring this rare photo, Laswis also came over. Io, not bad. I thought you would take ugly pictures of me. I smiled proudly. Don't underestimate my skills. After walking for a while, everyone was a little thirsty, so I took the initiative to queue up to buy cold drinks for the family. Unexpectedly, Laswis followed. She said she was afraid I would be bored, but her eyes were a little wandering, and she was still holding the little bear doll she had just caught, looking like she had something to say but was hesitant. I saw her hesitation. She shyly turned her head and handed me the little bear. Remember the one you gave me in Sky City before? I couldn't help but laugh. The one I gave you was a bear king. This one is at most a little bear cub. Laswis's little face puffed up with anger. This is what I worked so hard to catch. If you don't want it, forget it. Seeing that she was about to reach out and take it back, I quickly said, I didn't say I don't want it. Not far away, the 2 little dragon girls sat on a bench by the street. Myun sighed looking at us queuing up. Daddy and Mommy are so slow. Myun really wants to drink pineapple ice quickly. Noah pursed her lips and suddenly said softly, actually, sometimes I envy you. Myun raised her little head and asked blankly, why does sister envy me? Noah lowered her head, gently swinging her little shoes, and said slowly, I envy you for being able to say whatever you want and for being able to express anything to Daddy and Mommy without any scruples. Myun still didn't quite understand. Sister, you can too. Noah shook her head. I'm different from you. I'm already a big kid. Big kids can't always be as whimsical as little kids. Noah's precociousness was not innate. As a twin sister, she She was only born 20 minutes earlier than Myun. They should have grown up carefree together under their mother's meticulous care, exploring the world and learning knowledge. In their eyes, their mother was the most powerful and omnipotent being, until one day, Noah saw her incredibly powerful mother sitting alone by the bed of her unconscious father, looking sad and dejected. At that moment, Noah's world seemed to be gently shaken. It turned out that her mother also had such a soft and fragile side. It was from that moment that a thought quietly sprouted in her heart. If I grow up quickly, can I help mommy share some of the burden? This seed of desire to protect her family quietly took root and sprouted in little Noah's heart. She began to try to imitate adults, forcing herself to be independent and mature, and striving for perfection in everything. All these efforts stemmed from a simple and firm wish. She never wanted to see that sad expression on her mother's face again. Her sister's voice interrupted Noah's thoughts. Myun doesn't really understand those things, but Myun also envies sister. Noah was very surprised. What do you envy about me? Why do you envy me? Myun jumped down from the long bench. Sister is both smart and capable, always taking care of me like an adult, and has won so many first places. Myun's eyes were full of sincere envy. In the future, I also want to be a person like sister. This unexpected direct praise stunned Noah, and her little face instantly flushed red. She thought for a moment before replying softly, "You don't even know what kind of person I will become in the future." Then what kind of person does sister want to become in the future? Myun asked curiously. Noah's gaze happened to capture the figures of me and Laswis returning with drinks. She thought for a moment and answered seriously, "I want to become the kind of daughter they should have." Then Myun is the same as sister. After everyone had a refreshing glass of pineapple juice, the happy daytime came to an end. At night, it was the fireworks show that our family had been looking forward to. The brilliant light bloomed in the night sky, illuminating the surprised faces of the two little dragon girls. Laswis and I found a stone step with an excellent view and sat down. She looked at her excited daughters not far away, the corners of her mouth slightly raised. Seeing them so happy, this trip wasn't in vain, right? My heart was full of warmth. I'm glad we came. As their father, I instinctively wanted to raise the camera to capture this beautiful moment, but my hand fumbled around and couldn't find it. My heart skipped a beat, and I suddenly turned my head. "When did the camera get into your hands?" Laswis leisurely flipped through the photos taken during the day. "I'll see what you've taken today." I was so nervous on the side that my adrenaline was soaring. During the day, I had secretly run to a photo studio on the pretext of going to the toilet, but unfortunately, they didn't have a photo developing service, so the bunny girl photos were still in the camera. She would see them if she just flipped a few more pages. Then the trump card I had been saving to counterkill Laswis later would become a merciless blade piercing me. I quickly racked my brain and then took out the candy I bought during the day from my pocket. "Dear, do you want some candy?" Laswis was still focused on the camera screen, just slightly opening her mouth. The meaning was obvious. I can't help her. I unwrapped the candy and carefully fed it into her mouth. Laswis, with the candy in her mouth, her cheeks slightly puffed up, looked quite cute. She came to her senses and was stunned for a moment, then shyly shrank back. "Why are you so close to me all of a sudden?" I explained awkwardly. "Didn't you ask me to feed you?" She glanced at me out of the corner of her eye. "This guy has been taking pictures all day, and there's not a single photo of himself." Thinking of this, she raised the camera. "Why don't we take one too?" Don't get the wrong idea. I'm just trying to avoid the daughters asking why we don't have a photo together. While emphasizing the reason, she naturally leaned over. I didn't expect the she-dragon to be so stubborn but soft-hearted. I crossed my arms and teased, "Your Majesty, the Queen is really far-sighted." Laswis seriously adjusted the viewfinder. "Come closer. Your face is too big and it's out of frame." I couldn't help but retort, "You're one to talk. A 200-year-old dragon still making a peace sign. How childish. Why don't we do it together?" I also playfully made a peace sign. With a click, our first vacation photo together was captured. Not long after, Laswis and Noah started playing with sparklers. Watching the mother and daughter frolic, I couldn't help but marvel that two people who were usually so serious could have so much fun. I looked down at Myun in my arms. "Why don't you go play with sparklers with mommy and sister?" The little dragon girl closed her eyes, her voice soft. "Myun is tired and needs to rest. Sister is usually at school, and mommy is also busy with work. They rarely get to play together like this, so Myun wants them to spend more time together." I smiled with satisfaction and gently stroked my daughter's little face. "Myun, you've grown up." But she shook her head. "Myun hasn't grown up, and I don't know what growing up is. Myun just wants to make sister happy, and make daddy and mommy happy too." Hearing this, I was so moved that tears streamed down my face. Noah's intelligence and sensibility, Myun's delicacy and thoughtfulness, they were all deeply loving this family in their own way. "How about daddy takes you to A?" Before I could finish, the little one had already fallen asleep. Myun was probably just tired from playing. Not long after, the mother and daughter who had had their fun came over. Laswis lowered her voice. "Is Myun asleep?" I carefully picked up the sleeping Myun. "Let's go back." Laswis nodded and looked at Noah thoughtfully. She suddenly knelt down and smiled. "How about mommy holds you too?" Noah's eyes lit up, and a shy blush appeared on her tired little face. She looked away with some embarrassment, but her voice was filled with unconcealable joy. Okay, our family of 4 went back to the hotel. After saying goodnight to each other, I threw myself onto the soft big bed as soon as I entered the room and sighed comfortably. What a fulfilling day. Laswis stood on the side side and asked softly, "So you're going to sleep in the same bed with me tonight?" I sat up with a start. "How could that be? I'm going to the hot spring. You go to sleep first." I slipped into the private hot spring in the backyard of the room, closed my eyes and leaned against the edge of the pool, enjoying this rare moment of rest. If I want to be comfortable on this vacation, I absolutely can't sleep in the same bed with her. I must think of some reason to avoid her. Just as I was thinking, footsteps suddenly came from my ear, and a pair of high heels stopped in my peripheral vision. My heart skipped a beat. "Why is this she-dragon here?" Laswas was puzzled. "Why are you so nervous?" "I'm not going to eat you." She paused and then continued. "The grand finale of the fireworks show is about to start. I want to take some pictures. Where did you put the camera?" My eyes involuntarily glanced at the stool next to me, and I stammered, "The camera is just..." She spotted it at a glance. "So you brought it in. No wonder I couldn't find it. Then I'll take it." As she spoke, she bent down to pick up the camera. My heart instantly panicked. I absolutely cannot let the camera fall into her hands. It contains the dark history of the she-dragon that I finally managed to capture. In a moment of desperation, I quickly stood up from the water and invited Laswas. "Don't go. Let's go to the hot spring together." Laswas stopped and turned back in surprise. "Say that again?" My old face was burning hot, and I repeated with a stiff upper lip, "Let's go together." Laswas's eyes lit up, and a wicked smile appeared on her face. "Alright, I've prepared a super sexy swimsuit. If your dragon sigil lights up then, don't blame me." I pretended to be calm and snorted coldly. As a battle-hardened, strongest dragon slayer, what kind of big storms have I not seen? A mere swimsuit can do what to me? You said it. I'll be back when I've changed. She smiled and slammed the door shut with a thump. I frantically comforted myself in my heart. What could happen in a hot spring? Saving the photos is the top priority. Before she comes, I'll first recite the 3 honors and 3 shames of a dragon slayer a few times to stabilize my morale. Not long after, the door opened again, but what I saw in front of me was a great disappointment. It was a swimsuit so conservative that it almost did a disservice to her good figure, covering her up so tightly that no dragon would give it a second look even if she wore it on the street. I couldn't help but yawn. "Ha ha ha, this is the sexy swimsuit you were talking about? You're testing me with this? Which dragon slayer can't stand such a test? Even if you had 2 pounds less fabric, my dragon sigil wouldn't light up." Laswas shouted and said with dissatisfaction, "Look at you, so amazing. This is a gift from my sister." "Less nonsense, help me down." I helped her into the water while continuing to tease. "Your sister's aesthetic is quite unique." This was our first time in a hot spring together, and it felt even more awkward than I had imagined. Fortunately, her swimsuit was safe enough, and I relaxed a little, but she suddenly smiled and asked me, "You don't dare to look at me directly. Are you afraid of lighting up my dragon sigil?" I reluctantly turned my head. What's there to be afraid of? But the scene in front of me instantly stunned me. "What's wrong with your swimsuit?" Laswas looked down and saw that her swimsuit, upon contact with water, quickly dissolved, gradually turning into a thin layer of black gauze, outlining her amazing curves. Her little face turned red. "I'm so stupid. I should have guessed my sister had bad intentions." She snorted with a laugh, and instead became more composed, bending down to approach me, her eyes flashing with cunning. "Surprised? I don't know if I'm surprised or not, but I'm definitely shocked. Why don't you go back and change into another one first?" Seeing my evasive gaze, she boldly moved closer and provoked, "The strongest dragon slayer who has defeated countless dragon kings. Are you afraid of falling for this little black gauze swimsuit of mine? Now that I've fallen into the she-dragon's trap, I might be led by the nose by her. It's too late to retreat now, so I might as well turn the tables." After spending so much time with her, I had already figured out her tactical routine after falling for her tricks every time. The first step is always provocation. "Dragon slayer, why don't you dare to look at me? Are you feeling guilty?" The second step is to start gentle teasing. "Stop pretending. Let go of your pride and submit to me." The third step is to skillfully shift the blame. "It was you who took the initiative to cross the line just now. It has nothing to do with me." I was instantly alert. The she-dragon had already started the first step. It was too late to escape now. The only way was to fight back and try to get some favorable conditions for myself. So I decided to turn the tables and interrupted her precasting. "Don't be so self-centered. I'm not scared at all, okay? As long as it's a dragon, I won't be moved by what it wears." I turned the tables on her. "But what if it's my dragon sigil that lights up in the end? How will your majesty the queen handle it? When one party's dragon sigil lights up, it means the other party is thinking about them." She snorted with a laugh, full of confidence. "I can control it perfectly. I've never lost control." I raised an eyebrow. "Since you're so confident, do you dare to a challenge? What's there to be afraid of?" Laswas readily accepted the challenge. "Let's call it the Don't Let the Dragon Sigil Light Up challenge." I pressed on. "Since it's a challenge, there must be a winner and a loser. What if you lose?" She smiled frankly. "If you win, I'll give you another 7 days off." "No problem." I was overjoyed in my heart. As long as the she-dragon takes the bait, it will be easy. In terms of cunning, she and I are on par. It's just that she's better at taking the initiative. "The fireworks are so beautiful. Let's watch them for a while." She pointed to a burst of fire that had just exploded. "Do you think that firework looks like my dragon sigil? Where does it look like it?" "I'm not falling for that. I know her advantage is that black gauze swimsuit. Out of sight, out of mind. As long as I don't look at her, I can stay calm." Unexpectedly, she suddenly started humming a song. "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, the dragon sigil sigil is like a little star. How do I sing? I closed my eyes in resignation. It's not as good as the song I love to take a bath. But she looked down and exclaimed, my dragon sigil is lit. You lose. How is that possible? My heart panicked, and I subconsciously looked over. The dragon sigil showed no reaction at all. You lied to me. I quickly turned around, but she laughed even more happily. Maybe if you look a little longer, it will light up. Shut up, evil dragon. I will never look at your dragon sigil again. Since she had already started trying to trick me, I couldn't fall behind. I had a sudden inspiration and reached out to gently hold her dragon tail, which was her most sensitive spot. Her body trembled, and she looked down, her eyes both shy and annoyed. What are you doing? I chuckled and replied, wife, tonight is a beautiful night. Although I can't hold your hand to enjoy it, holding your tail should be fine, right? She blinked her eyes. She reached out to take back her tail, but I directly hugged the tail. See if I can't easily take you down. My fingers tightened slightly, and her face turned red, her breathing also becoming a little chaotic. Laswas actually reached out to me, her voice so soft it was unlike her. If you just want to hold hands and watch the fireworks, what's wrong with that? This move is really something. She just said to hold hands, and my heart started to race. She gently interlocked her fingers with mine. This little bit of ambiguous attack is simply unstoppable. She leaned over, whispering in my ear, her voice warm and soft. Don't pretend anymore. Let the dragon sigil light up. Let's end this torturous challenge early. Wouldn't that be good? I won't admit defeat. I hugged her waist and held her tightly, whispering, aren't you also trying hard to restrain yourself? Laswas's pupils trembled slightly, seemingly not expecting me to make this move. At this moment, the proud silver dragon queen's heart was pounding, and our dragon sigils actually started to flash at the same time, like a broken light bulb, flickering but illuminating each other's emotional eyes. The night was deep, the fireworks were bright. I gently kissed the silver dragon queen in front of me. This was also my and her precious first kiss. The next morning, the two little dragon girls ran to knock on the door. Mian said naively, why aren't daddy and mommy awake yet? Noah supported her chin, with a look that said I've already seen through it. According to their pattern of one of them not being able to get up every once in a while, this time it should be mommy's turn. Mian continued to ask, then what about daddy? Should we offer some tribute for him to appear? Noah was speechless. You just want to eat steak, don't you? She took her sister's hand. Let's go eat first. Even if they don't show up, sister can still play with you. In the suite, Laswas and I were still fast asleep. I don't know how long it took before I opened my eyes. I sat up and rubbed my temples. The scenes from last night gradually became clear. Our don't let the dragon sigil light up challenge failed, and I even kissed her. Looking at her sleeping face, my gaze unconsciously fell on her lips, and I couldn't help but blush. This was our first real kiss. The time with the blood seduction doesn't count. I subconsciously touched her soft lips, my heart beating so fast it was out of control. I quickly went to the bathroom to wash my face and calm down. I muttered under my breath, why did I have to do that challenge? Now I've completely messed up. In the moment I closed the door, Laswas, who was pretending to be asleep because of embarrassment, quietly opened her eyes. She touched her lips, her face full of confusion. This guy secretly touched my lips first thing in the morning, making me think of last night again. I finally kissed that dragon slayer. That was my first kiss. Thinking of this, her ears turned slightly red. Why finally? It's like I really wanted to kiss him. It's all the dragon sigil's fault. We took our daughters to the pool to play. Mian held a water gun and giggled, and while Noah was not paying attention, she squirted water at her. Take my water splash attack. Noah reacted extremely quickly, immediately scooping up water to fight back, and in a blink of an eye, she turned the tide of the battle. Seeing the two daughters playing so happily, Laswas asked me why I didn't play with my daughters. I was a little embarrassed. Isn't it because I soaked in the hot spring with you for too long last night? Now I just want to stay away from the water. She was about to say last night was just, but was interrupted by a gentle voice. What cute little kids. Are you two their parents? We turned our heads and saw a young dragon couple approaching. The short-haired she-dragon smiled and introduced herself. Hello, I'm Yuna, and this is my husband, Zai. Is it convenient to sit down and chat for a few minutes? Laswas nodded politely. I'm Laswas, and he's my husband, Leon. Yuna held Zai's arm and said, we were originally planning to go to the Azure Sea for our honeymoon, but we heard there have been some dragon conflicts there lately, so we came to Flowing Cloud Valley to avoid trouble. Laswas didn't expect Constantine to be so fast. Although the Azure Sea is far from the Silver Dragon clan's territory, she still had to keep an eye on their movements. Yuna looked at us with envy. You've been married for so many years, and your relationship is still so good. It's really rare. Laswas smiled, her eyes crinkling. Many friends have said so. I complained crazily in my heart. Good relationship. The two kids are already running all over the place, but we only had our first formal kiss last night. Yuna looked at Noah and Mian who were playing in the water. I really envy you for having such cute children. We are also considering whether to have a baby. As seniors, can you give us some advice? Laswas was suddenly a little restless and stammered. Actually, at that time, I didn't think too much. I just agreed to him. Actually, it was because of the blood seduction. There was no chance to think at all. I quickly took over the conversation and said in a gentle tone, this kind of thing should be natural. You don't need to deliberately force anyone, and you don't need to be afraid. Just let nature take its course. Zai then asked, then do you usually fight? How do you handle disputes? Yuna covered her face shyly. I'm sometimes sometimes a little too assertive, so I will argue with him over some small things. I secretly glanced at Laswas. I can't answer this question. Don't look at my wife's usual cold and queenly appearance. She actually likes to act cute and coquettish in private, doesn't she, wife? Seeing me secretly mocking her, Laswas reached out and gently pinched my waist, but her surface was smiling. It's so embarrassing to say such things, dear. Zai's eyes flashed with a hint of disappointment. Is that so? I continued to say seriously, actually, no matter how assertive a woman is, she always has a soft side that needs to be protected. When she shows that side, no matter what kind of person you usually are, you should stand up and firmly defend her. This is what a responsible and good man should do. We returned to the Silver Dragon Sanctuary after the hot spring trip. Shirley came to the Silver Dragon Queen's room and respectfully reported, Your Majesty, we have found the Ted couple. Laswas's eyes lit up. Shirley reported everything in detail. I discovered their hiding place by chance while scouting on the outskirts of the Empire. That hidden place is surrounded by magic formations, and it's impossible to get in without the ability to fly. Laswas frowned slightly. Why are they hiding there? And how did two humans get up there? Shirley's tone carried a hint of lingering fear. That human named Ted is very strong, so strong that he's on a completely different level from other dragon slayers. If he wanted to, he could easily kill me. Laswas knew that Shirley was more skilled at intelligence gathering than frontal combat, but she was still a master of the Silver Dragon clan and her own confidant. Even the top dragon slayers of humanity might not be able to easily kill her, but for Shirley to give such a high evaluation, this Ted was definitely not simple. Shirley continued, Actually, I was discovered as soon as I entered his domain, but he didn't make things difficult for me after he knew I was from the Silver Dragon clan. Instead, he asked me to bring a message to you. He said he wants to see you. Laswas was stunned for a moment after hearing that, and then made a decision. Then I'll go meet him. Two silver dragons streaked across the sky, flying towards the borderlands of humanity. A few hours later, they landed in front of a majestic waterfall. Shirley pointed to the area behind the water curtain. The Ted couple are in the cave behind the waterfall. He only asked you to go in alone. Laswas nodded. If I don't come back in an hour, you know what to do. Your Majesty, please be careful. Laswas walked slowly into the artificial cave behind the waterfall, keenly aware of the shielding magic formations around. She looked up and saw a white-haired uncle sitting at a stone table. His eyes were fixed on her, and his body exuded a calm and murderous aura. Laswas felt an unprecedented sense of pressure. She thought to herself, I have fought against countless dragon slayers, and Leon is the only one who has made me feel troubled, and the charisma and pressure of the person in front of me is even above his. Ted got straight to the point. It's been 2 years. I've been waiting for such an opportunity to meet you. How is Leon? Laswas sat down gracefully, picked up a teacup and replied softly, He's still alive. He's my war captive. He's been tortured but never gives up. He always wanted to escape back to the Empire before, but he failed every time. Ted snorted coldly. That stinking brat. His temper hasn't changed at all in 2 years. As long as he's still alive, I'm relieved. Although I don't know what deal you two have made, for you to personally send someone to find me, it seems he's still useful to you. Laswas replied lightly. He has already paid the corresponding price. Ted's expression suddenly became serious. I hope you won't let him escape back to the Empire in the next year. Laswas was a little surprised. She originally thought the other party would find a way to save his beloved disciple, but she didn't expect him to want to keep him in the enemy camp. She directly asked for the reason. Ted told the truth. 2 years ago, the dragon-slaying army returned from a major defeat at the Silver Dragon Sanctuary. The Emperor was furious, and public opinion also criticized the army. Someone had to take the blame for the defeat. The high-level officials of the Empire unanimously determined that there was a traitor in the dragon-slaying army. Laswas immediately understood, and the missing dragon slayer hero Leon is the best person to take the blame. Ted nodded. That's right. If he goes back now, he will only be killed. It's better to stay with you and save his life. Laswas agreed. But you have to meet one condition for me. I want to know all his information, especially his childhood dark history. Ted's face showed some surprise. Your request is quite special. He turned around and dragged out an old wooden box from under the bed. This contains all the love letters Leon received from his school days to graduation. I've kept them all for him. I originally wanted to give them to his future wife, but since his life is in your hands now, you can do whatever you want with them. Laswas took the box of love letters, secretly pleased. Leon, you have this day too. She laughed as she flipped through them. The contents were extremely cheesy. Ted watched silently from the side, muttering to himself, why is she so interested in a captive? Is it some new kind of torture? Laswas held a ridiculous portrait and asked curiously, who is this painting of? Ted laughed out loud. This is Leon's dream girl when he was 6 years old. He said he likes pretty girls with silver hair, tall, and a cold temperament. There was a girl in school who met this standard and confessed to him, and he hesitated for a full 5 seconds before rejecting her. If it were any other girl, he would have rejected her in 1 second. As he spoke, Ted suddenly realized something and carefully sized up the Silver Dragon Queen in front of him. A cold beauty. Why does this standard look more and more familiar? He was shocked in his heart. No way. No matter how bold Leon is, he wouldn't dare to make a move on the Silver Dragon Queen, would he? Laswas then asked a lot about my weaknesses. The master also told the truth. Leon hates carrots and faints when when he eats eggplants. Also, his waist is particularly sensitive. He doesn't like people touching it. At 2:30 in the morning, if you ask him questions while he's fast asleep, there's a certain chance you'll hear his true feelings, and he can even do things according to orders in a sleepwalking state. I used this trick to make him do a lot of farm work before. At this point, Ted couldn't stop laughing. Laswas didn't expect the master to be so ruthless in betraying me, but she felt it wasn't enough and continued to ask if there was any more explosive information. Ted waved his hand. No more, no more. I can't betray my disciple anymore. Laswas took out a few photos and shook them in her hand. Don't you want to see your beloved disciple's recent photos? Ted immediately turned around and walked into the cave. Wait a minute, I'll let you meet Leon's white moonlight. Laswas was a little surprised. White moonlight? Don't tell me Leon has a woman he liked. Ted brought out a she-donkey, who was still in a bad mood because she had been woken up. Laswas was dumbfounded. Leon's white moonlight is a donkey? Ted couldn't help but laugh. Leon has tamed countless fierce beasts since he was a child, but he just can't do anything with this donkey, so this kid revolves around it all day. You could say they are childhood sweethearts. If you touch his nose bridge carefully, you can feel a slight depression. That's from the first time he tried to shoo it and got kicked. Laswas was relieved, so that's it. But she quickly realized, it's just a donkey. What am I so nervous about? She put a few of my recent photos on the table. I'll leave the photos here. Before I go back, I need some of your keepsakes, something that can prove you're still alive. Ted threw over a letter. Give this letter to him and he'll understand. Laswas took the letter and turned to leave. This may be our first and last meeting. She turned her head halfway, her voice cold. But what I want is not just 1 year of Leon. After speaking, she spread her dragon wings and flew out of the waterfall. Ted stood there stunned, muttering to himself, as expected of the decisive silver dragon queen. But what does she mean by that? At this moment, a photo on the table was blown away by the wind. When Ted saw the photo clearly, his eyes widened. This brat actually had a pair of twins with the silver dragon queen. What kind of captive gets this kind of treatment? A woman slowly walked up from behind Ted and asked softly, is Leon okay? She was my master's wife, Poseidon. Ted chuckled and handed her the photo. A single good is not enough to describe this brat's life now. He really has surpassed his master. Poseidon looked at the photo, her emotions a little stirred. She turned her head and saw Ted taking out a knife. Then have you made up your mind? Ted's gaze was firm. It's time to clear my disciple's name as a traitor and restore his reputation. Just treat it as a meeting gift for my granddaughters. In the evening at the Silver Dragon Sanctuary, I sat at my desk. The more I thought about it, the more I felt something was wrong. Laswas had mysteriously disappeared for 2 days, and even the dragon maids didn't know where she had gone. She suddenly said she would cook herself today as soon as she came back, which was too abnormal. She walked in with 2 plates, a sinister smile on her face. Dinner is ready. Let's eat together. Mian cheered happily. Mommy's steak looks so delicious, and I stared at the dish on my plate, dumbfounded. What's this on my plate? Laswas smiled. It's a vegetable salad. I couldn't help but complain. Isn't this whole plate just carrots? Laswas smiled and corrected. It's a carrot vegetable salad. Mian asked me curiously, doesn't daddy like carrots? I stammered. Carrots are a little. Before I could finish, I was interrupted by Laswas's gentle voice. Who is it that usually tells Mian to have a balanced diet and not be a picky eater? When it's your turn, you don't eat? Mian also nodded seriously. Daddy is always dizzy. You can't be a picky eater. I gritted my teeth. I'll eat. Okay, this she-dragon is definitely doing it on purpose. Where did she get my weaknesses from? Just as I was feeling confused, she suddenly took the initiative to say, tonight you clean the room. I'll come and check. I was so scared I almost choked, and I had a bad premonition in my heart. An hour later, she pushed the door and came in, wearing a cool slip dress. I pretended to be calm and sat on the sofa, glancing at her. She smiled and walked to the big bed, slowly sat on the edge of the bed, and ordered me in a queenly tone, come here. It turned out that when Laswas came to my room, she called me over in a queenly tone. I couldn't help but complain. It's only been 2 days, and you're already like this. She smiled slightly. Yes, now turn off the lights. After the bedside lamp was turned off, I closed my eyes and lay beside her, my whole body tense. But half an hour passed, and she didn't make a single move. I quietly turned my head and found her eyes tightly closed, so I asked in a low voice, is it really that simple? She replied softly, what are you expecting? I immediately turned my back to her. Of course not. I'm going to sleep first. But I thought to myself, this is good too. I can conserve my energy and counterattack when she's at her most complacent. However, she wasn't sleeping at all. At 2:29 in the morning, those silver eyes quietly opened. She quietly sat up, took the clock on the table, and recalled Ted's words. At 2:30 in the morning, if you ask Leon questions while he's fast asleep, there's a certain chance you'll hear his true feelings. Laswas's mouth curved into a wicked smile. Let's start with a simple question. She gently pushed my shoulder. Leon Kasmod, what's your little daughter's name? I answered drowsily, Mian K. Melkwai. Laswas's eyes lit up. Success. She continued to test. What kind of girl do you like? I said vaguely, silver hair. She pressed on. Then why did you reject a girl who met this description when you were in school? I muttered. Although she was pretty, I didn't like her. Laswas snorted lightly. Stinking man, you didn't like her but you still hesitated for 5 seconds before rejecting her. For the fourth question, she boldly pushed forward. Besides looks, what else do you like? I unconsciously revealed, mature women, black stockings. feelings. Laswas held back her laughter. She had asked out a little secret so quickly. Then do you want to see your female classmate wear them? I shook my head. She leaned in curiously. Then who do you want to see wear them? I whispered softly. Laswas. She was stunned on the spot. Her cheeks flushed red, her little heart pounding. You, why do you want to see me wear them? You wish. Because I fell fast asleep before I could say the truth. Laswas clenched her fists in anger. You're lucky this time. Next time I'll definitely make you do something embarrassing in your sleep. The next afternoon, we went to the Silver Dragon Sanctuary City Gate to pick up Noah from school. I took the opportunity to ask her in a low voice, when did you leave last night? She was calm. After you fell asleep. Are you disappointed? I pretended to be relaxed and spread my hands. The entire Silver Dragon Castle is yours. You can sleep wherever you want. She pretended to be nonchalant and said, but I heard you talking in your sleep when I left last night. My heart tightened. What did I say? She pretended to recall. It seems you regretted not accepting the confession of the female classmate who confessed to you back then. I really can't tell. You have a moving unrequited love story. I quickly denied. Absolutely impossible. At that time, I was dedicated to serving my country. I had no time for love, let alone a crush on someone. She continued to tease. Who knows? What you say in your dreams is the truth, right? I waved my hand helplessly. Why don't you believe me, you she-dragon? I really don't have a crush on anyone. At this moment, Mune saw the school bus Leviathan slowly descending. With the teleportation light pillar lighting up, she happily ran over and shouted, Sister. Noah and Mune walked up to us together. Mommy, Daddy, I'm back. I noticed that Noah was holding a piece of paper in her hand, and I pointed to it and asked, Noah, what's that? She handed it to me and said it was homework from school. Laswas and I read the topic together. Write an essay of no less than 800 words on the theme of family and happiness. Is it an essay competition? Noah nodded. Most of my classmates will write about family affection because many of them are from cocoon-born dragon families. But I want to stand out and play to the unique advantage of our naturally born dragon family. Mune asked curiously, what is the advantage of a naturally born dragon? Noah explained seriously, it's mommy and daddy's love. Laswas and I were stunned on the spot, thinking we had misheard. We looked at each other and asked in unison, love? Noah sincerely requested, Daddy, Mommy, can you please cooperate with me and provide some material and inspiration? Mune excitedly raised her hand and said she wanted to see. I smiled and agreed. Of course, no problem if my daughter asks. Laswas knelt down and asked gently, how do you want us to cooperate? Noah had obviously already thought it through. You can go on a date in Sky City tomorrow. The next day, we put on the couple's outfits prepared by our daughter and came to Sky City. I stole a glance at her and took the initiative to say, then let's start our date. She sighed lightly. Not far away, Noah and Mune were quietly following behind and observing. I whispered to Laswas, does Noah really know what a date is at her age? She shook her head. Noah is not an ordinary child. She knows a lot. I looked at her. Have you ever been on a date before? She confessed. I was busy with my studies for the first 100 years, and busy with my career for the next 100 years. I had no time for love or dates. I spread my hands. I was busy with my studies for the first 15 years, busy with my career for the next 5 years, and busy taking care of kids for the last 2 years. Obviously, neither of us had any dating experience. We were both newbies in this area. Laswas smiled confidently. Don't worry, I crammed on this knowledge last night. Although what she read were all romance novels like Me and My Evil Dragon Girlfriend and My Beloved Albatross. I cleared my throat twice. Actually, I also referred to some materials and specially listed the dating items of ordinary couples. There are no strange couple games, no overly intimate contact, and it can also show the warm theme of parental love. As long as we follow the plan, we won't mess up. We can definitely give Noah perfect date material. First, we ate dessert together and visited the zoo. Noah hid in the distance and seriously recorded our interactions. Then I accompanied Laswas to buy clothes, and she asked me if they looked good from time to time. After that, we went to the theater to watch a dance drama adapted from a romance novel, The Albatross's Sunset Ensemble. The two daughters quietly hid in the back seat behind us and continued to gather material. But I didn't expect that just as the main drama ended, the theater actually prepared a bonus segment. The host chose us to go on stage and reenact the final proposal scene. We could only go on stage with a stiff upper lip. I knelt on one knee, held up the prop ring, and recited the lines from the play. Dear Judy, will you marry me? Laswas's cheeks turned red. The daughters, wearing disguised costumes, were looking forward to their mother saying that important line in the distance. When Laswas whispered I do, I personally put the ring on her finger. After the proposal, Laswas went to the restroom to touch up her makeup. I took the opportunity to sneak to a self-service photo printing shop and had those bunny girl photos of her printed. 10 minutes later, we came to a fortune teller's house. The female fortune teller called herself Aphrodite. Laswas was originally just trying out astrology for fun. Aphrodite said confidently, Madam, you are a Scorpio, right? Laswas was very surprised. How did you know? My birthday is October 25th. Aphrodite said eloquently, Scorpio girls are cold as ice on the outside, but passionate and unrestrained on the inside. They dare to love and hate. Once they fall in love, it's a pursuit of success or death. I whispered to myself, this thing is just to fool children. Aphrodite suddenly turned to me. Sir, you are a Leo, right? I answered with some surprise, yes, but she shook her head. You're too zodiac signs are not compatible. My eyes instantly became devout. What a master, I thought to myself. No wonder Laswas and I look at each other with displeasure every day. It turns out it's the fault of the zodiac signs. Aphrodite added, your wife's zodiac sign is very insecure and quite sensitive to changes in the surrounding environment. You need to give her enough sense of security and express your love more. Laswas and I looked at each other. Expressing love? In the next second, we both blushed and turned our heads away. She whispered, why is it suddenly so hot? And even fanned herself with her hand. I also echoed, it's a little hot. Aphrodite smiled and looked at me. I'll use the crystal ball to divine your recent fortune for you. Please put your hands on it. I placed my hands on the crystal ball with suspicion, and the crystal ball suddenly became very dazzling. She excitedly shouted, I see it. Iron bars and weeds. This gentleman, you will have a prison disaster. Laswas couldn't stop laughing, but I was bewildered. Aphrodite continued to promote, as long as you pay 100 gold coins, I can help you break the disaster and turn your luck. My face was black. Do you think it's possible that I've already experienced this disaster? Laswas smiled and added, if you want to spend money to avoid disaster, I can provide you with financial support. I stood up to leave. This is just a trick to cheat money. Aphrodite tried to keep me behind. Don't go. I saw something else. You will have a lot of children in the future. I really didn't see that wrong. We left the fortune teller's house without looking back. Laswas smiled and asked me why I didn't continue to play. I asked helplessly, did you hear what she said at the end? We will have more children in the future. Do you think it's possible? She thought about it, and it was indeed not very likely. But today I experienced many things I had never done before, and it felt pretty good, as if we were really on a date. Seeing the sweet smile on her face, I was actually very satisfied in my heart. As long as you like it. Next, we'll go to the beach to watch the sunset. Dragon Squad. The little dragon girls formed the Dragon Squad and also quietly followed behind. We arrived at a beach not far from Sky City, which was also the last stop of today's date itinerary. As far as the eye could see, there were couples showing affection. Laswas frowned slightly. The atmosphere here is a bit too cheesy, isn't it? I smiled awkwardly. After all, this beach is a dating mecca. We can go for a walk in a less crowded place. The sunset dyed her silver hair a pale gold. She still looked so beautiful. I was a little fascinated for a moment. She turned her head and caught my gaze. Stunned for a moment. Why are you staring at me? I turned my head away with a red face. Who's looking at you? I'm looking at the sun. She teased, still being stubborn. You didn't admit you dreamed of your female classmate last time either. I rolled my eyes at her. I swear, the only female creature I have a relationship with is you. Why do you keep bringing her up? I think I understand. You're so concerned. Could it be that you're jealous? She immediately reached out and covered my mouth. Actually, you said a lot of explosive things in your sleep that night. Do you want to know? I nodded, signaling her to hurry up and say it, but she just smiled and ran away. I'm not telling you. You can guess. I chased after her angrily, not knowing what other dream talk I had said. Not far away, behind a big tree, Mian whispered, Mommy is laughing so happily. Noah, however, was annoyed. Damn it. I looked for the camera for a long time this morning but couldn't find it. Otherwise I would have taken a picture of this scene. The dragon maid Anna on the side said gently, actually, it's not a pity. Noah turned her head and asked why. Anna looked at us playing by the sea and recalled what the Silver Dragon Queen had said to her. Her Majesty said that the life of a dragon is too long, and any beautiful thing will expire one day. So for her, the fleeting beauty is the most worth cherishing. Noah and Mia nodded as if they understood, although they didn't quite understand. What Mommy said must be very reasonable. At this time by the sea, Laswas and I were having a water fight in the shallow water. You she-dragon, you just wait. She suddenly slipped and let out a scream. Just as she was about to fall into the water, I quickly rushed forward and steadily caught her waist. Our four eyes met, and our heartbeats gradually accelerated. She suddenly closed her eyes and gently kissed me. Anna gently covered the little dragon girl's eyes. Little children can't watch. We were both a little embarrassed. She looked up at me, her silver eyes carrying a hint of cunning and probing. Whether a story is perfect, the ending is the finishing touch. Then, dear Leo, do you dare to hold the hand of the Scorpio who is most incompatible with you? I snorted lightly. What's there to be afraid of? I unhesitatingly took her delicate hand. Just like that, my and Laswas's first date came to an end with our fingers intertwined in the warm sunset. Noah also successfully completed her essay and won an outstanding award. She read on the stage, my daddy and mommy are a loving and strange couple. The she-dragon and I listened attentively in the audience. After dinner, I started to hide the photos of Laswas in a bunny girl outfit. Just as I was thinking about where to hide the last one for more safety, I heard the sound of high heels from outside the door. It was her. My heart panicked, and I quickly opened a drawer and stuffed the photos in. When she opened the door, she only saw me lying on the sofa reading a book. I glanced at her. Are you going to sleep here again tonight? She smiled brightly and asked back, I can go wherever I want, can I? I put the book on the table and pretended to be nonchalant. As you wish. But I was secretly pleased in my heart. Now I have the trump card in my hand. No matter what trick this she-dragon pulls, I can handle it. She seemed to see through my thoughts and asked with a smile, so you like bunny girl outfits? I was startled, wondering if she had found the photos I had hidden, but I still pretended to be calm. How did you know? She crossed her arms and said leisurely, you were talking in your sleep that night, saying you wanted to see your female classmate wear it for you. I was astonished. I would never say that. Even if I did, it would definitely be that I only want to see you wear it. Laswas was slightly surprised. This guy, taking advantage of this momentum, actually said what was on his mind. I might as well tease him a little more. The she-dragon tried to discourage me. In your dreams, I will never wear it for you in my life. I secretly glanced at the drawer of the bedside table. It seems she didn't find the photos. The advantage is on my side. I took the opportunity to provocatively ask back, what if you wear it for me? She confidently crossed her arms. Don't waste your time. Charm and hypnosis are useless on me. Your little tricks can't escape my eyes. If you really have the ability to make me wear it for you, you can do whatever you want with me. I raised an eyebrow to confirm. Are you serious? Her eyes shone with a dangerous and charming light. But Dragon Slayer, you have to think carefully what the consequences will be if you fail. You know better than me. I no longer hesitated, stood up, calmly opened the drawer to take out the photos, and looked at her with full confidence. My dear queen, I don't need to make any plans, because I've already done what I needed to do. I threw the photos on the table one by one. This one, the light and shadow are just right, a masterpiece. This one, the expression is perfectly captured, a rare find. Laswas's face was dark all along, until I threw out the last one and announced loudly, and this one, I would call it the ultimate art. She couldn't bear it anymore and raised her hand, a dragon flame burning the photos to ashes. But I didn't care at all, because I had plenty of backups. But seeing the she-dragon angry was so satisfying. She gritted her teeth and asked, when did you take these? I quickly waved my hand to try to calm her down. Don't be excited. Don't be excited. Do you remember the few days you were in a coma after using the blood curse last time? She glared at me, both ashamed and angry, her snow-white teeth biting her lower lip. So, you're going to use these photos to threaten me?